Gak pernah menang.
Kita lagi nobar DOTA Grand Final. Mari 03-kan PSG.LGD.
In which team spirit have looked to be completely in their comfort zone, and it does
apakah jadi grand final? Apa grand turismo? Kita nggak ada yang tahu kan nih.
Kok bagus itu TPA.
Jadi Tokyo Drift menang terus.
Si turun ke Tokyo. Coming out from LGD, but I feel like they have the makings of a good draft. You know, when I look at it objectively, if this was like a first game of the series, I haven't seen either of these two teams play. I would have favored LGD's draft. I like what they're coming into this game with.
Apakah
Di Toronto Solo
apakah ya Toro? Apa ya udah?
Ya turu kalau sudah menang.
Ya Allah, kalau kalah.
Ya main lagi, masih kurang kalah 3 kali lagi kok.
apakah tetap menjadi kolaps? Apa menjadi no-laps?
Beneran kolaps sih dia, dengan pingsan dia bro.
Jadi ame apa kapok ame-ame.
Kalau kena reverse sweep sih gue kolaps bro. Gue benar-benar kolaps, ngorok gede.
Main game kok gampang banget katanya.
Aduh. Padahal
PSG.LGD.
Gini doang PSG.LGD.
Makanya ngomong menang lawan Uji nothing spesial, makanya PSG.LGD aja kalah.
PSG.LGD. PSG.LGD.
Yang gitu bang. Orang-orang yang
Apakah PSG.LGD apa Persija.LGD? Nah, cabut kan abis ini. Gak usah collab lagi kalau lo kalah. Ding lo mau babang. Tapi ini PSG ini bro, collab sama apa? Air Jordan. Ya, gambar basket.
Paris.
Kayak pengen ngedang. Si Yatoro cukup banyak.
Yeah, so if you think about how the lane is structured, Bloodseeker Rubik, they want to slowly like harass you out of the lane. And if you think about Disruptor, it's a similar story. But Disruptor PA have killed
Jadi itu tahunnya Tinker banget, cok.
Heboh banget langsung. Coba ngedamage ya, soalnya kan diputer-puter. Ya. Tadi hancur.
He should easily be able to run to the top one and pick it up for himself. Yeah, up top, Collapse is taking a lot of pressure here from the Spectre on dying.
Iya, hampir mati jujur.
Because you won't really see the Spectre connecting as much as the PA is to his carry and helping him, but he'll provide the vision from the dagger. There will always be that slow that enables Ryan to get more hits.
Sure, and you feel it's unlikely for the Mag and the Willow to ever really get on top of the Spectre in the
Untuk solo.
So the idea for Colin is that Undying's gonna tank a lot of damage. He's gonna be in your face. You're gonna have to be hitting
Pagi menjaga klinik, malam adu mekanik. Siang menjaga COVID demi negeri, malam main di Grand Final TI. Enggak, malam menghantam PSG.LGD.
Tokyo is going to have to take the walk back, so a bit of space given.
Kayaknya dokter Tirta itu dokternya itu ini sih apa?
Yep, and the Invoker's
sampingan sih, fokusnya tim Dota.
Karena TI gak mulai-mulai jadi dokter.
Kalau kerja apa? Biasa bang, mid, blend Dota.
Denies himself the tower, blocks the ancients, TP's mid, refills the bottle for nothing to say. This doesn't look like a phased team to me, you know? We were a little bit worried that maybe they're going to be maybe feeling a little bit of tilt or pressure, but the way they're playing right now, looks like their heads in the game.
Bang terus minum dulu. Aduh sudah banget.
Solid start on the lane so far.
Naruto.
Toronto Tokyo, he wants to try and play for the 4-minute rune, but won't manage to do so. Extra backup was on its way over for PSG.
Terus langsung ini bro. bunyi
Yeah, so you
lagunya
notice both
kadap
fours
yang
are
situ.
rotating for the runes, right? And in this situation, the Bloodseeker's pretty fine bottom. He can't really be harassed out of the lane because of how the thirst functions, and he just keeps regaining
Emang susah sih.
HP for every last hit that he
Landing
gets.
pakai
Meanwhile, the
Spectre.
mag up top, who's laning against the Undying, runs into this impossible block where he can't really rock up to the lane and get gold. And I think as long as they play this rune game where they force the position for in Mira to
Iya,
rotate towards the
supportnya
middle
juga
lane,
bukan
LGD's
support
gonna come
haras
out with a
juga
little
sih.
bit of an edge out of the lane.
Iya, support ini
Oh, the core's
Apa?
definitely looking comfortable so far.
lane support apa ya? Nahan. Bisa sih haras.
Seam and Poshka rotating over mid, setting up vision.
Iya.
There's
Ini
so
si
much vision
siapa?
around this
Si
middle
Y
lane
ini
for
ngepick
the dire side.
Andain gara-gara kan collapse
They don't want
strength.
this Tinker to go
Terus
down.
ngepick Rubik
Yeah, almost
karena bisa beta
impossible to
RP
close in
terus
on nothing
beta
to say
apa
with this sort of
empower.
setup from
Jadi
the team.
lebih
It's
fokus ke
going to ensure
musuh
that he
sih.
does get this good start.
Bisa mungkin dibikin
Yeah,
nyaman
absolutely.
Ame.
And if you take a look at the CS, you notice the Invoker's really falling behind. The Tinker almost has as many
Ame
denies as the
apa
Invoker has last set. So,
skin apa sih
like
namanya?
No Tail and Seb
Skin-
mentioned, right, this is one of the best Tinker players
Apa
in the
namanya,
entire
Demar?
world. And he's living up to that
Itu, dia bro,
praise
joki
that
itu,
he
bro.
received on the panel.
But would you imagine that even though it did
itu
get through
susah
to the
itu.
last pick, do you think it was
Itu
something
merah
Team Spirit would have had in mind? They
mega
knew
kill
that this
streak
was
itu
going to be...
berapa
Yeah, there was
Iya.
potential of this
Iya.
coming up as the last
Itu
pick.
itu tuh. Joki itu tuh.
If I'm being
30
honest,
mah
I don't
dikit,
feel
tuh.
like they really addressed the Tinker in their draft. I think this Invoker was more like a, this is what we're going to
Nice
go with,
scene,
as
emang
the
ribet.
Poshka's in trouble.
They're going to try and chase him down. He doesn't
Seribu.
get the kinetic field off. Yutoro
Seratus
tries to
doang,
turn
gampang,
towards Faith
anjir.
behind, but the backup's there
Ah,
for Faith. He's trying to
ada-
beat Yutoro,
ada yang
but
tuh,
can he get the
ada
kill
yang
in
banyak.
time? The stick charges. Yutoro's going to
Soalnya
try
PA
and
aja
down
nih ya
the
Tot ya.
Faith
Dia
He's
tuh
out to the
butuh
side.
100 win game.
Yutoro's not got the further vision. He is going to be able to jump out of the
Gila.
top right though. Over
Clutch.
the creep wave.
The zombie gives vision.
See if they can chase him under the tower. They
Zombinya gak
can't.
ada.
Mati.
Oh, they can.
Aduh,
Oh, they get him.
gara-gara zombie kena vision.
The zombie vision.
They
Enggak sih.
still manage to
Gara-gara
see him
Duit
there as
oh zombie.
Jinju reaches in with a
Kan
hard
zombie
hitting
kan
fade
ngejar,
bolt.
Ya,
Actually,
nggak
Duke
perlu ada
knows the
zombie juga
thirst.
ada Bloodseeker kan ketahuan bro.
Oh iya
Now
deh.
Poshka.
Aduh,
I mean, this is going to be
kalau
potentially
nanti
another one.
dikasih
Could
tahu
they get him
main
as
di
well?
Pine juga nih.
There's
Yeah,
another
that's
no
out.
pick, but he
Ayo,
has
Strum.
boots.
Harry
Jinju,
Potter.
he wants to dive in for this. He is
Asdas,
taking
Plados,
quite a bit
Plados,
of
Plados.
time. It's Toronto
Yeah.
Tokyo will TP over Jinju.
Nah,
Get punished
Ayo
for this
Pak,
dive.
dokter
See
Tirta.
Toronto Tokyo can find anything more here. Why still in the
nggak ada
town? No
TP
TP,
lagi,
no mana.
kocak nih zombie.
So they do dive in
Muncul
to get an extra
nih,
kill on the
muncul
disruptor of
nih.
Poshka, but they lose 2 heroes for it.
Kita
Toronto
Isami.
Tokyo. Pretty nice kills for him as well, considering the slower start
Ya
he was having
kelihatan
in
meskipun
comparison
lu
to
ngejep
nothing to
di
say in
mana
the
aja
mid. So being able to make that
kelihatan
move and pick up
anjir.
2 kills on the Invoker,
Aduh.
that's going to get his early game back
Ya
on
gak ada
track.
mana tuh
Yeah, absolutely.
zombinya.
So we touched on this
Iya.
Delay.
VP
Delay.
versus Team
Halo.
Spirit draft, how
Delay,
it's
Jay.
very important that you get earn charges on the Invoker, right?
Delay,
This is what
Gua
enables
delay
the
ya?
Invoker to play his game and be fast.
Dan
from the
654
jump. Unfortunately, he has
Tolong
not
deh.
yet bought his earn, so despite getting these
Tolong
2
dong,
kills,
hype-nya
he
tuh
doesn't
baru.
fulfill
Belum
the
gua
objective of getting 2 earn
sekali.
charges in the early
Yang
game.
kompak dong, yang kompak.
Atau
So while
nonton
it is good
streamku
for them,
aja.
it also has its drawbacks, and this is in large
Oh,
part
ada
due to
stream.
how well Nothing to Say played his
Oh,
lane out.
emang lu share screen enggak kan?
Enggak. Aku stream di YouTube.
It's been
Malah
Lopez.
makin delay.
Focus now around top has collapsed. Happily farming here in the lane against Armate, getting just as much as the Spectre. And that's got to be a, after game 2's
pala
performance,
mekanik.
probably
Ame,
something to
sama
fear if
collapse.
your PSG.LGD collapse. I believe ending 2-0 and 20 in game 2 on his Mac.
Yeah, absolutely. Middle
Aminnya
lane,
yang
Nothing to
collapse.
Say is getting pressured. But you see here what
Nothing to Say.
Seb and
Magnus
Local talked about. They
Kupakai,
don't really have the damage to
musuhku
punish him.
bantai.
They don't have the tools to really kill him. The Invoker is good at
Yeah.
catching
Keren
him,
sih.
but he's not a hero that can stay on top of him and keep outputting damage.
Keren.
Because as soon as you've used your
Keren,
cells,
keren.
that's kind of all you have in the tank.
Di
And in the
saat
bottom lane, you notice here how
empowerku bergetar.
Yatoro doesn't feel as safe sitting on the lane. When the wave is pushed out, he's forced to move away from there because the
Di situ?
rupture's up now and they have the ability to go on it.
Gitu.
Kau
So
beli
they're-
tiket
you can
untuk
look at Team Spirit's positioning. They're
pulang.
expecting something to happen down here.
They certainly are. Yutoro just trying to farm with the dagger from the blur.
Invoker's resetting back on the lane as well in the middle lane to set up for a potential TP.
Let's see if Xingqiu and Faith Bian feel that they can strike. They're being careful. They know that a reaction will come out if they decide to try and dive in on Yutoro, so they won't fall for it.
But yeah, so far you notice as soon as the wave goes out of his tower, he's forced off.
Ya, Tinkerin.
And Spectre's just
dihabisin
comfortably
mana.
sitting top. He knows that he can lane against the mag at this
Dihabisin
point. And
terus
doesn't really
mananya
feel the
Tinker
pressure.
itu anjing.
However,
Gimana ini Mas Andra?
Uh,
Apakah reverse sweep
You
ini
know,
Mas
despite
Andra?
all of this, Spirit does have a slight
Kalau di
all around.
batak mute dulu ini ya.
Kemarin
Gua sih
Close though.
rada percaya gara-gara IG bro, IG. Tapi IG sendiri juga
Ready
emang
to
gak
join them on a
gitu
dive
kan.
here for Yutoro. They commit with the rupture here. Horn over
Ngerasa
as well.
persoalnya
They use the PA.
Tinker
Yutoro
yang
will
Nothing to Say
fall.
itu bagus.
So if they can get
Tapi
the
ya,
pressure as well with the four of them and
mid-nya
the
Toronto
tombstone
juga
down,
bagus.
they certainly
Itu
can.
ada
The
yang
pressure
sama
amounting
PA ya,
for
PA lawan
PSG
Spectre
down on this
menurut
bottom
gua
lane.
bukan
They know
yang
that they can
bagus
get
sih.
in
Soalnya
and
PA
get
kan
away with this, especially
chartnya
with the
itu bisa
global
nge-break
backup of
apa
Arm.
pasifnya
Yeah,
Ame
absolutely.
itu
And this is one of the
Spectre.
strengths of Undying in
Ya,
early game.
itu
Because once you
Onolon
place
pasti
that
kalah
tombstone,
sih.
the enemy team doesn't really want to TP in. They
Kalau nggak
couldn't
ada,
really respond
walaupun
to
ada
their
apa
heroes
gitu.
the way they
Wah, kalau
wanted to.
nggak ada
Mirror started
breaknya
his TP,
pasti
but
menang.
immediately
Ada
canceled it,
orang baru ya?
recognizing that, you know what, I can't TP into the tombstone. It's not going to be a good fight.
Tapi kan fokusnya ini, fokus damage-nya malah bukan dari Amenya nanti.
Trying to play around with Jinky.
Kalau
They do
kamu lihat
have
Amenya
further
mungkin
members coming up.
build
Team
agaknya
Spirit
gitu
off the
nanti.
back of those deaths
Iya,
down
pasti.
bottom.
Ya,
Soalnya dia
Toro,
kan
he'll
fokus
move
ke
himself up to the top
apa,
half of the
bantu
map to
Vision
farm up
Tinker.
here. Tier 1 tower
Damage-nya
will be
fokus dari
lost.
Tinker semua.
PSG.LGD with an early objective.
Nah, Blue Chip
Toro
They're
membara.
just evening out the map, swapping sides here. You
Nah,
see even a scan
ini
going out of the
bandara.
trees, making sure that nothing's here setting up. And
bagus,
one of the
bagus.
best ways
Ya
to deal with
semoga nggak
Tinker is
tidak
that you
kosong
want to
anjing,
try to get these
malu-malu
early
itu
towers.
overforce
Because
tidak kosong.
Tinker
Bukan
abuses the
gitu
towers on the
masalahnya.
map in order
Masalahnya,
to fight. It provides them with
lu
safety,
tahu
a place
odds-nya
that he can
3-0
TP
Team
to,
Spirit
come in and
nggak?
out, use all of his mana,
Berapa?
activate, do it again.
17 anjir.
So it's important for Team Spirit to try to get
Uri,
towers
Jangan
early
kan
because
jangan.
once Tinker comes online,
Malu-maluin
it's
anjing
going to be
lu
very
tidak
difficult for
kosong.
them to do it.
Iya.
Masa tim
Yang
Cina tuh
diusung-usung anak emas dan pasti
Iya.
grand
Together,
finalis.
we'll take some of
Overforce-nya
the
yang paling
jungle away from
kuat loh.
PSG.LGD.
Terus lawan
Yeah, so
top
Tinker just finished up the
top
blink.
satu
This
bisa
is going to be their
dibilang
first time to
satu
fight.
tim.
You have
Wah,
Rupture up. Let's do that
ambil
Rupture and
tekannya.
Toss combination once more with a Tinker TPing in and dropping lasers and rockets.
First time
Tapi emang
PI
tim
langsung.
saja.
To be done
Oke,
without the
2-0 tuh
horn.
kayak
Still
bener
out for about
kuat,
80
kelihatan
seconds.
banget. Kayak kelihatan tiba-tiba kuat gitu. Dapat kekuatan
And it
anime.
looks like they're playing it patient.
Habis
They
lawan
don't feel
OG
rushed to
nih
make
dapat
this move yet.
buff.
Ini
And
nih,
this is
makanya
another of the
lu
nice
jadi wibu
parts of
jangan
Undying. Unlike
toxic
most fights,
kayak
he has the ability to
EE
farm
apa
jungle
ikut
camps
apa
quite
ikut
easily
IE
because he just
gagal
drops the
mulu
tombstone
kan.
and the
Sama-sama
tombstone
wibu
deals
pada.
damage over time and spawns all these
Ya tuh,
zombies
cengar
that allow him
dingin,
to farm
tulis
these
nama
camps and get some
Death
extra
Note.
gold. So he's closing in on a 6.
Jadi, salah.
Yeah, Toro, space is here.
Apalagi dia kalau gambarnya dapatnya no, yang amplified
Keeping his
damage.
farm on par with that of
Saya nggak
Arm.
sih kayak
Amplified
kalau
magic.
Having an equally good time, of course, building straight
Yang
into the stats right now.
Shaul,
Completed
Shaul,
the
apa sih Nether
SMY, he
Shaul,
has the
Nether
buff
Shaul.
up with the Empower.
Itu nambahin
As soon as that
magic
Empower runs out, look at
6%
Collapse,
atau
he
7%.
immediately runs over. And this goes
Yang
back to
banyak
what Seth
dong,
talked
satu
about,
malam.
right? This game is more about the Empower.
Loh,
They're
kan
not
bukan
playing around
ML
Obscura in the
Sandra,
same way
itu
that
juga
they were in
itemnya
the
kan
previous
gratisan.
games. As a
Tier
small
kedua
coming
juga lagi.
So if the three
Yang
members
full
of
zone
Spirit
aja ya,
can find
yang
some action, they do have
18%
6
Emang ada ya
on the
tirinya?
supports.
Emang coba-coba.
Tier 4
Storm
gitu kan.
and the Fear ready to play with.
PSG emang ada
PSG.LGD, they're doing a
ya.
great job of avoiding this.
Potensialnya
He is
masih
down here
orang
on
sih,
his own.
possible ke tim Spirit sih.
Yeah, it looks like they're waiting for the haunt, but Am is about to get caught. Spirit have sniffed him out.
Let's see if the three have the damage. Try and set up with the root, but not going to get the connection.
Ame
The
kena.
glimpse back is there into the static storm. TPs are coming over.
Nah.
Ame is
Ayo.
tanking up to the through the
Wait.
static storm. He's still alive,
Gila.
and in fact, he's able to turn the
Lawan
tornado.
lawan
Does
Selamat
catch him,
parah ya.
but it isn't enough damage. Ame will
Ame yang
live.
ngasih ini ya.
It will be Spirit that lose the two heroes off the back of that
Digocek, gocek
attempt.
manja dulu
Yep.
ya.
And in the meanwhile, you
Itu
see,
arkananya
as
merah
always, Team
cuma
Spirit really
satu.
smart about their map movement. Yet Toro moves into the enemy jungle, starts
Masa
farming
mega kill
here.
doang?
Tinker's forced to come top and defend the tower. And despite losing their two supports, they're applying the pressure. And
Ini ada yang
whenever
delay nih,
tombstones
Jaya
used,
nih
you're going to see
delay.
LGD kind of wait up. So
Ame
this is
udah
40
pasti.
seconds that they know Yatoro is most
Gak
likely
pernah
going to
gak
run
delay
pretty
dia.
freely. And that's why
Suara
he's
lu
up here in the
bocor,
top
anjing.
lane
Gua
so
ya,
aggressively.
gua ya Toro udah di atas ini. Balik nih
Collapse
ya
is the
Toro.
next target.
Collapse yang balik, Pak.
Trying to chase Faith beyond. Gonna get
Oh,
in
ini Adrian,
range-
anjing.
range for the
Yang
rupture.
ini, yang delay.
Collapse into the trees, hard to find. They won't get the setup. And halfway
Yeah,
towards
yeah.
his blink dagger collapse.
Yep. Much better vision game this time around for
Adrian
LGD.
tuh.
Their wards are not getting the awarded the same way they were
Adrian
in
yang
the
mana?
previous
Kalian semua
games. They
drill.
actually have quite a lot of vision here to play with.
Oh, yang
Not all the
drill.
information that we've seen
Ya,
in
real
the previous
Adrian.
year-
Drill.
games
Ini yang
of the
drill ini.
series.
There's a calm start here once again, but very close. 13 minutes,
Oh, main
less
santai
than
dulu nih, kita
1k in it.
Gak langsung vessel.
PSG.LGD, despite
Udah
the two
sih.
rough games they've had so far against Spirit,
Dia kalau pakai
seemingly
invoker pasti dah.
regaining
Networknya
their
di bawah tapi
control
aktif banget.
that's managed to drive
bisa
them
ngelit.
straight through the upper bracket into this grand finals. See if they can keep it up.
Invoker ya.
Bottom, Spirit.
Yes.
Start for a bit of a
Ngapain
poke
itu?
onto White.
Berdiam
Nggak bakal
diri.
mati.
Just the two of them is
Waduh.
not enough
Punya
to
ulti.
deal with the
Zombie.
Undying.
Habis mana?
Gonna look to commit anything else
Dia
here,
minyak
Spirit. They
keluar,
know there's
90
potentially
detik.
backup behind the Undying.
Oh,
Tapi
lebih
gua baru tahu
nih.
2
And
menit, 2
Tinker's
menit
deciding
deh.
to go for
2
the
menit
Aghanim
ultinya,
sector.
anjir.
The way this works is whenever he
Yang
gathers
level
someone,
3.
they lose a chunk of
Kalau
their
nggak salah.
maximum HP. So versus
Apa? Level 3.
these type of heroes that
90
Team Spirit has, he's
Yeah,
going to be
90
very, very
detik.
quick at killing
Aktif
them out.
banget dia ini anu.
It's
Team
alright.
Spirit.
He's in on a Fabian, they're looking to try and burst the blood, but the counterplay comes in. Arme with the horn, looks to
Ini
collapse,
sih,
jumps over towards
ya
Tori,
kan.
Tori driving the TPO,
Oh,
he's
mantap.
away, but collapse, there'll be no
Nah,
escape for him.
kan? Rookie.
Yeah, just
Oh
great
my God.
presence here from LGD.
Rame-rame.
Now they're the ones that are
Mau
allowed to
nge-gank
respond,
tapi
and
keramaian
it seems
anjing.
like they understand now how Spirit's playing the pace of the map, and
Di
they
Rupter
understand
nggak
what
sih itu?
Spirit wants to do. They're gonna make
Ini ya,
such a
Magnus
space
ya?
better
Magnus yang
and
di Rupter.
and it feels like LGD are
Pakai
getting
tuh.
it better and better
Magnus
week
yang
on
di-
week. And
yang
yeah, I
di
think that's
Rupter
largely
itu.
due to the fact that they're able to establish more vision.
Tinker
on the
sekarang
map this time
kemampuan
around.
farmingnya dikurangi ya.
Siapa? Ame.
Tinker.
Skill
Gara-gara
tujuan ya.
ganti
Back to
skill
the
ya.
farm. Wants to at least get his S
Gua
and
lebih
Y done
bagus
before
sekarang.
turning up to the fights.
Karena
Or even with just that,
Ancient
the BKB may be
level-
something that he wants to
Karena
hold back
lebih anu ya,
until he has
lebih
as well.
bisa
I think
kabur
the
ya.
laser will never be fun to play against as a
enggak.
PA when
Jadi
he's
itu
trying to
skill
focus
10
targets.
itu AOE.
Bottom lane.
Wow.
Ayo,
Oh,
jadi
sekarang
lu
bisa
tapi
bisa.
ringnya
This time round, they have enough damage. They've got the
Makanya
kills.
lu
Nice.
bisa
He's trying
apa
to get away,
namanya
but he will
bisa
fall.
pakai
This time
Aduh,
round,
Tinker
Spirit
atau
gets
Ancient
the big
level.
kill.
Berarti nggak
But
perlu
it has
tadi
costed
maunya
both
sekarang.
supports lives. We'll see
Nggak perlu,
Toronto
kalau
Tokyo trying
dulu-
to escape, but they got any way to find him here.
There's one
Waduh,
more
masih
sentry.
He's
And
in the
the
trees.
AOE
He's out the
There is a
trees.
loop, technically.
Gak kelihatan.
Dulu tuh nektok, lebih tepatnya nektok.
Not quite able to get round to the trees to get
Mantul.
that set up.
Sama sih guys, sekarang
Toronto
masih.
Tokyo makes it out of
Dulu
there. They lose
mantul
two
kan
supports.
kalau
They get the
Iya.
Spectre. You happy
Kalau
with that,
sekarang
Spirit?
tuh
Spirit's
nambah
okay
range
with it.
sama
I think this is like
misilnya
LGD
nambah.
recognize that our Tinker is so strong right now.
Tahu
There's no
gue.
real counterplay.
Coba
Even if the
kita
PA gets on
baca
top of
dulu.
him right now, the PA doesn't deal enough damage to burst him. So
Upgrade Tinker
I
Rush
think
itu
for
granting
LGD, you want to try to
300
use this timing
serenan.
where your
Oh
Tinker's very
ini
strong.
ngecilin
He's outputting
mana?
damage.
Ngecilin
And
HP.
Ahmed
Jadi
dying
kayak
Oh.
or twice here or
skill
there,
satu tim
while he
besar.
doesn't have
Kalau
haunt, isn't the
musuh
worst for them
strength.
as long as
Ini
they get some
PD
sort of
Oh, iya,
response.
iya, iya.
nahan gara-gara PA ini.
Nah, the lesser
Empowerment.
bones once on the farthest target up to
800 or
70
so.
range
The
from
axe
the
to be done on
time
Arme.
rule.
They are on track to hit a very good timing. We've seen already the responses from
Bisa enak
PSG.LGD
orang sih.
each and
Tinker
every
pakai
time
anu,
Spirit try and make a move.
Bisa farming
Have
anu
been
dong.
top tier.
Bisa
Ancient.
But now the move that
Ancient
Spirit
dong.
can make,
Iya,
it's
kan
going to be
pure
much
itu.
more deadly.
Makanya
Collapse,
enakan sekarang.
the blink dagger on its way
Lu
over to be in his
apa,
hands. We
pasnya
saw what he was
beli sepatu
achieving
travel kan
last game when he
jadinya.
was jumping all over the place. Let's see if he can pull it
Soalnya
off
udah ada
again.
sepatu
and start
travel,
to
jadi lu bisa
literally tear
Soldering langsung
PSG.LGD
keras,
apart with his abilities to just
dagger.
grab them and
Enggak.
throw them around.
Sepatu travel
Yeah,
dari mana?
absolutely. But this game is
Dari
much more
itu
challenging than the
skillnya
previous ones. There's
level
going to be
6, kalau
rockets
lu
flying at
ambil
you. There's
rearm,
going to be tombstone
otomatis
zombies. You
lu
have
dapat
many things that are
harus
going to get
skill,
in your face,
skill
as
yang
well as
bulat
the
gitu loh.
Bloodseeker Bloodright. So
Cek aja
he's
dah.
going to have to both
Tapi
navigate these spells and make
skill
sure that he
level
doesn't get
satunya
caught
itu
before that.
lu cuma bisa
Plus
ke
on top of that,
tower.
there's a haunt, right? To
Level
provide all
2
the
lu bisa
students
ke
for
creep,
LGD.
level
So I
3
feel like
baru
the way
bisa
the
ke
game
hero.
is shaping
Jadi
up,
ya
it's
itu
falling a lot into Yatoro's hands, and he's
Parah
proven that he
gitu.
can do it.
Jadi lu nggak
Yes,
perlu
his
pakai
farm
trap.
and the way he plays this team fight out is going to be very key in order
Oh,
for them to be
jadi
able to stand a chance against
Di
LGD.
WA juga ngaruh gitu sebenarnya.
Absolutely. As I say, this BKB, if he can get this quickly,
Berarti kayak
that's going to
travel
be a
anu ya,
huge,
gratis
huge.
ya.
Iya,
There's not
makanya
too
lu nggak
much
perlu
they can
pakai
do
travel.
through it. The rupture being the main one. But if the setup's there and
Jatuh lebih milih
collapse,
ini dulu,
Maposka.
nangis dulu kan.
Mirror, they're able to
Kalau ini
hold
berarti
the
mah
heroes in
bukan-
position.
bukan
This
bagus.
PA is not going to have to step around the
Bukan
fight
lebih
too
bagus,
much.
bagus banget anjing.
As long as they're able to stand in position and get the hits in, they can have the
di
heroes
balas
brought
smoke.
to them.
Absolutely.
Terus
Ahmed
sekarang kan
finished
ada
up his
skill
agonists,
tambahannya
and
tuh yang
once he
ngasih
get this,
shield.
timing coming,
Itu nggak
you
ada.
see LGD
Iya, aku
immediately
baca
split
yang
up.
shieldnya
They're
itu kayak
checking
nggak terlalu
forwards. They drop
bagus.
a sentry to block the
Shieldnya itu
inside
kayak punya
playing
TA.
in this area. Unfortunately, they
Buat
just made the
di-hit
wrong
masih
guess.
bisa
So you either
nge-blink.
here are going to assume that he's at the
320 doang sih. Tapi ya enaknya lu bisa rearm kasih temen rearm.
He sniffs it out.
It's so hard to catch this man. He's
Nggak
just
terlalu
always a
overwhelming
step
lah.
ahead.
I
Itu
mean, the
kenapa
way
nggak
they're
bisa
reading the
di-stack
map
ya
is
itu ya?
very intelligent. I think they realize when the Spectre runs back to base that
Nggak bisa
hey,
di-stack
something's
ya?
probably happening.
Waduh,
right?
kalau
He's not
di-stack
just
kayak
running back to
gitu
base because
sih,
he wants to. They
Tinker
know
bisa
that
jadi
the damage is
tanker
very
bro.
likely coming.
Terus
And then
tanknya
when
yang
the heroes
lebih
that
nih.
disappear,
Lu maju nih,
that is like
blok damage
another
lu
sign for
3200.
Yatoro to be like, okay, I can't show up.
Maju cuek aja.
Tokyo down bottom.
Kan ada durasi
He'll
ini
jump
apa?
over, sentry still down, Toronto Tokyo
suhu.
trying
Iya.
to hide himself in the trees, but
Tapi kan
they'll stay
ada
on top,
3.000
same time over
dan
towards the
durasi
net
15
now.
detik itu
All
lama
the way
loh.
beyond. The
Tapi
counterplay was
offline
made by
bisa
Spirit.
ngomong.
So the TP out as well.
Cuek aja jadi.
Mirror gets back to safety, so 1-for-1 across the
Wizen,
map here.
2 seconds for the skewer. Glimpse, skewer back.
They've got the dagger slow to set it up. He's able to
Ya,
dodge the decay nicely so that he
skewernya
didn't get hit,
bagus
but
ya.
still
Ini
get
malah
the blink off.
tapi-
And now
tapi.
Arme, he's ready to come back in. Yatoro's off to the side. The rocket's
Turun
on it up,
tutup
but
yuk.
nothing to say. Jumps in to finish him off. The fear, the counterplay
Oke,
here from
aduh,
Spirit.
bangsat kali,
Nothing to
Cok,
say. It's
damage-nya.
caught underneath the tower.
Lu lihat gak itu maju lagi Mas NTS. Nah,
kabur.
iya balik Onanco. Kill.
Nggak mati itu.
Sumpah damage-nya Tinker. Ini amat kok.
Anda ini masih selamat. Tapi gak ada mana tapi.
Gokil collab.
Ya kolabnya bagus cuy asli.
Wah, sumpah anjir banget ini. Asli Pak, anjir banget.
Ada tertirta.
Bosch, can they help him out? They
Amin,
try.
amin, jangan kayak anjing.
Able to finish off Toronto Tokyo as well.
That was beautiful. I love the way Nothing to Say
Gila,
played that
chat-
team fight. He
chat
recognized
mate
that if
namanya.
his PA is dead,
Itu lihat
there's
gak
no
tuh,
damage
Sinki
coming out of the
ngambil
Spirit
defending
Draft.
blast.
So trading his life for PA is really what enabled this entire fight to happen. You'll see a lot of Tinker players just, they're like, I'm not going to go in, I might die. But he recognized that my death is worth it if I can take the PA with me.
Karena lu udah
Just
ngamen
beautifully
Dota lagi.
executed there from LGD. Ame also, small thing in the fight, TP's back to base, heals
Enggak,
up,
ngamen
uses
Dota.
Aghanim Scepter to jump back into the
Apa?
team fight
Aku?
and get those last couple of kills.
And I mean, it's crazy.
Kenapa?
We're seeing the
Ngamen
power of
Dota
that
lagi.
shadow step. He's in and out.
Enggak, karena
Consistently,
koneksinya
that
enggak
30-second cooldown. Easily
Oh.
able to do it a couple of times in a team
Main di
fight.
rumah pingnya 100.
Yeah,
Anunya
Mira, nice play.
10
There's
sampai
also
anunya
that can
itu
catch him
apa?
here,
Yang
so
loss.
there's no skewer on the Rubik, he's not going to get caught during that.
20.
We have another big
Angel,
interesting item coming up. There's going to be the
Main
Golden
kayak gitu
Locket
mau
for
main
Flying,
apa?
and once he has Solar maxed out,
mending
he already
ngorok
has
sih
Solar
Gondra
maxed out.
daripada
Together
main
with
main.
that Holy Locket, this healing is ridiculous. So basically
Main
the way it
paling
works is
main
the more
arca,
units
tapi
there
lama-lama
are,
gak ada
the more you're
temennya.
going to heal.
Iya,
And with
bete
Tombstone
juga
and the way it
anjir.
functions, you just spawn a bunch of extra units.
Main
So you're
Dota
almost always
biasa
going to get that maxed
kalau
out
nggak
heal.
kompetitif
So
mah
any
bar
sort of
doang.
healing tool together with Spectre's Dispersion
Iya.
just deals
Untuk kapan
incredible
dulu
amounts of
berapa
damage in
angkat
team
dulu?
fights.
Apa?
I feel like
Angkat.
LGD's draft is really coming together now.
Divine.
Absolutely.
Define.
So in a way that we just haven't seen from them so far in this
Oh,
series.
Divine G.
Mid lane, they're looking to jump in onto Toronto Tokyo. Will be able to turn with a quick tornado.
Tur kena
The
saya.
attention from PSG.LGD will turn over to
Oh, wow.
Mirror.
Ini
The
belum
shadow
kelihatan.
realm though. They still want to dive. This dropping down the tombstone just full
Itu
of
pas
pressure for PSG.
baru
He's
ada
diving
laptop,
past the tier 1
gua
tower.
lumayan ngeras
The
itu
Rockets,
dari
they're coming in on Toronto
Sakit,
Tokyo.
dari
He's looking
hari
at everything.
keempat.
Come on, Ame! He's in straight on top of
Terus
him.
main
Ame
They're
sama
abusing these vision
Wah,
tools
wah,
so
kalau
much.
Tinker
main,
bagus ya ngasih
Tombstone
vision
and
terus
emang
di
ngubah doang.
rocket.
There's so many
Aku
ways to
di
get vision in
5
these team fights.
mesti nge-stack terus itu
I
nggak
mean,
pernah.
this Ame
Saya
Citra
Spectre's
juga ngasih
looking
vision
pretty
buat
spooky.
roketnya
He's
Tinker
picking up
terus
the
jalan.
kills, the
Gara-gara dulu
involvement
Suwarnet
here.
yang 5 kan
PSG.LGD
main
just
aton-aton
fighting in
aja,
a way that we haven't seen from them so far in this
Oke.
series. We'll see the jump forward onto Faith Pian underneath the
Tanpa
tower.
BKB
Before the heal
berani.
comes out, he is trapped in the static storm, trying to run, but the Thunderstrike finishes him off. TP's coming in from Spirit. Why?
Oke,
Trying to
lemah
dive in onto your
ini.
turret. Another soul rip,
Oke,
healing
lemah
way up.
ini,
He's
collapse.
going to stay on top of the PA, but the hits
Nothing to
come
save
out.
in
Your turret
trouble.
takes him down.
Siapa yang mati?
He's able to get away.
Ini lebih ke
Oh,
NTS-nya
close.
sih.
They can pick up Mirror as well. They can.
Iya,
Iya,
saya
sama.
Nothing to
Ini.
say.
Efeknya
In
cuma
with
dari
the
NTS.
laser.
Spectre
And out he goes as
sama
well, picking
Bloodseeker
up the
ngasih vision
action.
buat
2K
roketnya
lead now
NTS.
for
Ah,
PSG.LGD. They're starting to
Iya,
break
sama
down
Tom main.
Spirit.
Kenapa
Yep, they
Tinker
absolutely are,
dikasih
but
range
a
yang
very,
jauh?
very important item
Karena biar
is about
mainnya
to
nggak
come into the game,
deket-deket.
and that is the PA
Simple
BKB.
itu.
He's
Sementara
100 gold off of
Akbar
it, and he's going to have it in the next
yang
team fight. And the way
bapaknya
this
masih hidup.
changes the game is the Tinker can no longer just laser the PA and force him to
Main
reset out.
cuek aja,
The
maju
Thor's going to have
anjing.
9 seconds where he decides what he wants to
Aku
do.
taruh.
Bisa aja gue
And if
pakai
those 9
Attacker
seconds
carry
get him the
darah
right kills,
4.000.
that's going to be
Iya,
everything
yang
they
di
need in order to
depan
win the
gua.
fight.
Itu kenapa Mas?
Aku
And
Tinker.
during that time, you know, you
Aku I'm kuku bro,
Where's
I'm not
he looking
scared.
first? Is it sort of this Tinker? Does he have to just commit onto Nothing to Say to eliminate the threat for the rest of his team?
I mean, the ideal scenario, right, is that you kill the Tinker with
Ah,
a PA
pemain
BKB.
kayak
Mungkin dia ini.
The only thing really
Dia salah
covering you
baca
against the
Tinker,
is that
aku
BKB.
baca
Once that
Tanker.
BKB runs out, you're gonna see
Ah,
Tinker
nggak perlu
lasering you, rocketing you,
Jadi ya
rushing
udah.
you, laser rocket again.
High ground
So
doang ya.
the ideal scenario for him is he's
Shotnya itu
allowed to meld
opsional.
and kind of hang
Karena
around the
lu
fight
kalau
as it
buat
breaks
nge-push
out, and
doang
then once
skill
the
1
Tinker
juga
commits in,
cukup.
that's when he jumps.
PA
Iya.
skill 1 gitu aja.
Kalau buat
Smoke
ngedep,
coming in from PSG.LGD.
paling buat ngedep
They
doang
are
biar
very
nggak
ready to
perlu ke high ground.
Iya.
Especially with Arme's heading back to
Oh,
the
Ya
base.
bisa
Ready
bisa
to
juga lu
shadow step
pakai
if needed.
binding.
Ya bener Magnus,
Sure.
situ yang kudu dianu
Collapse is
duluan.
just keeping out. Excellent kinetic field from the
Iya,
podcast.
lawan
Stops
LGD itu
them
tinggal
from
PP.
being able to chase in. Put a stop to the escape here from Spirit.
Stunnernya siapa? Anu Rubik doang dah.
Looks like Spirit might want to chase into this though, but they
Siapa?
should recognize that Tombstone's
Stunnernya
been
dari
knocked out, and it might be a
LGD,
hard fight
Rubik
for them.
doang kan ya?
I mean, Toro,
Iya,
he's going to commit with the BKB. Just goes to
akhirnya
work
ada
straight
BKB.
away onto Y.
ngebuang satu
Should be able to
BKB
get this.
cuma
Yeah,
buat
Y's dead for
zombie
sure.
man.
The
Kita
click
keras
comes in.
banget anjir.
Iya makanya perlu di anu itu.
LGD are hanging
Gak ada
around,
ini sih, gak ada
recognizing the
defense
importance of this
ini yang
BKB.
jebolnya.
Aduh.
Yeah, they've got a bit of a window now to maybe punish your Spirit stick around, but they
Ketika
won't.
ke silence
Back
masih
behind the
jalan
tier
ya
2
skewernya.
tower, Spirit will hold back.
Ya masih lah.
Ya, Toro masih belum buka.
Tapi nggak bisa di
Yeah.
cancel.
Tense game.
Aku
This BKB
kira
really
langsung
is
skewer
really
kalau
important,
jalan
so
bisa di-cancel.
using the first 9 second
Aku
charge
kira
while
enggak.
dying, it's okay, but it needs to lead to something. You know, this
Bisa
opens up
ya?
some time.
Aku
This
kira
gives them
bisa.
some time to
Kayaknya
farm.
ada
Hopefully they
pernah
can
dulu
keyword some of the
enggak.
vision that
Nggak tahu
LGD are
lagi.
playing
Nggak
with.
tahu.
Bisa deh, nggak
And
bisa, nggak
if
bisa.
they manage to
12.
do these things and they can
Mungkin mungkin
reset
di
the map
cancel
to
sendiri
a
paling
position
gue
where
lihat.
they can farm up,
Main
they can
jarak
get to the
doang.
PA shard, they can get
Nggak
these
bisa
items that the
di-cancel.
PA needs
Nggak bisa
in order
di-cancel.
to punish the LGD draft, then it's all good. But if those BKB charges get wasted for support kills that don't
Ini
lead to
cuma
more,
musuhnya cuma
then
satu
it's
PA
problematic for
10
them.
tuh. Gak ada anunya, protnya. Nggak ada serunya.
PSG
Nggak ada kan yang nonton.
trying to sneak the
Oh
rush.
iya,
Nonton
pada
offline.
crowd.
Won't be the quickest though.
Jadi nggak
Already
bisa
actually
lihat
deciding that
reaction mereka gitu.
they don't want to spend any further moments
Biasanya
committing
serunya momen
Spirit
Orang
Jadi
kalau udah
tuh,
potentially
passion,
around the
Nggak
area, and
peduli
they
COVID,
are.
bro.
Spirit
Kalau
happy to
ada
fight.
penontonnya,
LP at the ready.
go home
Big old
OG.
Sarah for PSG.LGD though as
Kalau ada
well.
penontonnya
Good to
pastinya
go
isinya
again for
yang
Arme.
nonton Cina semua.
300 gold away from the
Itu
Go
Manta
Manta
style
home
as well.
OG.
kalau di
Why leading the
Shanghai.
charge? All he needs
Nggak,
to do is
sekarang
get that tombstone
adu
down
nih
before the
Cina
fight
sama
starts, and he's
Rusia.
gonna do it as soon as the smoke
Kita gak ada yang
pops.
paham.
He's going to pop it down immediately to see what he can find. We'll just be
Masa
mirroring.
salah.
The Shadow Ram and the TP out. We'll get him
Masa
away
juga
from this.
lihat.
So now no tombstone for the fight.
Yeah, but he does have that level
Nyebelin
time.
banget itu
This
dah.
was recently added. The
Apa?
minus 15 seconds tombstone cooldown
Dark
makes
Willow.
it less of a committal when you use it.
Iya, Bang.
Toronto Tokyo.
Nah, Pak
He's going to
Iqbian.
walk into the woods. He commit fake behind. Just turns straight away upon him.
No.
Toronto Tokyo was not prepared for that at all.
Aduh, dokter
Just
Tirta,
standing
aduh,
there
aduh.
in the middle.
Dok, dok,
Faith
dok,
Beyond
dok, fokus
finds a
dikit,
Dok,
Dok.
very
darahmu
tasty surprise.
bocor, darahmu bocor.
And now, if the
Pakai
Undying would have had that
skin
tombstone ready, he would have had that ulti ready. You could have seen LGD potentially
aduh.
poking at the
Jadi
Roche,
akan
what they ideally want is for. Okay, they actually
Morok
already do have the
banget
Mantle
sih.
Inspector, so never mind. But that is their big Roche tool. Once you get Mantle Inspector, you have the Desolate to deal true damage to the Roche, and then it goes down very quickly. But they're happy with the pace of the game right now. They're happy with how it's playing
Putar
out.
terus mentang-mentang
Sharp
regen.
finished on PA.
He's coming across this tree line. He
Taruh
knows
terus.
that nothing to
Tangkap,
say
tangkap,
is
Bang.
playing here
Bang
behind the
collapse.
tower. He's going to try for the catch.
Oh,
won't get it.
aduh.
Goes for the
Waduh,
attempt, but nothing to say
sedih.
out of range.
Dapat itu.
Shit.
And power stolen by Rubik as well, by the way. So the Spectre is now matching the PA's farm speed.
Collab sayang sekali, salah.
About 2k in at the
Salah
moment
tempat
between
sih.
Arme and
Telat,
Yatora.
telat.
Iya,
Definitely
dia
having that ability on
memperhatikan
their side as
general
well. Will help him
posisi.
close the gap. Online for the Skadi next after the Manta.
Dian tuh bagus banget dia covernya.
Yeah, intense game. Both
Kok nggak
teams
se-over
used to playing their high
plan?
grounds, understanding where they're strong.
Lawan Secret
Neither
ya?
of them willing to fight into the other team's
Lawan
vision.
Secret
Iya,
So look
iya.
how Wise position.
Ya,
He's standing
gua,
right
Bang.
outside of that ward.
Ini
Until
bentar.
he's ready to run in.
Kuat masih ada anunya kok.
Do they want to fight this spirit? On the low
Aduh.
ground, Tombstone drops.
Switching reaction sama anunya.
As soon as it's out,
Willow
Team
mainnya
Spirit,
gitu
they'll
dah.
retreat.
Asik.
I think this is a very intelligent thing that LGD have recognized in this game. They've been dominated in vision for 2 games straight, and they feel like, you know what, maybe they're better at warding than me. How do I
Nah, nih
solve it?
fokus banget
Nah,
aja.
dorong
Dapat
dong.
bikin.
He's gonna look to get the grab on a Faith beyond the
Nah,
BKB
ini
spot.
fokus.
He's gonna look
Mantep.
down there. He catches the two concepts.
Salemnya agak jauh
Ah,
sih dia.
they kill off Faith
Ini
beyond.
nih ketemu nih Tinker.
It's onto Arme.
Ya.
Yatori's gonna look to bail out.
Udah ada
Collapse as well.
temennya.
Go for the TP away. Gets out.
Oh, lebih milih.
Selamat, Cok.
Down, Spirit.
Oh, Zinq, just barely
semua
missing
ini
the
pulang.
RP on the PA there. That would have been a massive kill. But you see this from Spirit, right? As soon as that BKB is ticking low, he has to TP out of the fight.
Yeah, they know
Padahal
exactly
tinggal satu
when to
tikan
sort
doang
of
gitu.
just get out of that.
Yeah.
They get their kill,
Iya.
they get their
Dia
trade.
digesek
They know
dikit
not
udah.
to push it for anything more. Team Spirit knowing the
Sempet
exact
aja.
moment to call it
Pokok
quits
clutch
and
banget dah
reset.
mainnya.
Itu ada yang
Collapse.
telat
Yeah,
itu
absolutely.
suaranya.
Yeah, Torres
Iya,
played
itu
this game
si
excellently.
Adrian.
But I do
Gangguan
worry
Adrian.
once this BKB starts sticking out,
Ganggu yan,
the Tinker's
ganggu
closing
yan.
in on a Hex, right? So even the
Getting
threat
big.
of potentially jumping on him is
Ganggu
going to
yan.
be hard.
Gile
You see
lagi.
Torres also buying that Desolator. It's not a basher. It's not
Bagusan
an item that will
Adrian yang
allow him to
palsu.
necessarily kill the Tinker if he has that Hex.
They're going to go for the Roche now. They know there's no
Ganggu yan,
RP.
bro. Udah telat, nggak
So take the
main.
damage to take this out and see if Spirit
Bocor
still want to
lagi.
try and make a jump into them.
Yeah, so
Anjing.
between the laser, the Mantle Spectre, the Undying damage
Gonna get the
application.
fear.
Berarti makin
Quite
cepet
nicely
juga dong.
timed. Roshan is very low.
Ayo,
Is there any
ayo.
potential for a
Siapa yang
steal?
bisa
Yeah,
nangkep?
absolutely. Yatora might go.
He's not able to get
Aduh,
in.
enggak.
He's not able to get in.
Jauh
Arme
banget.
gets the kill. The
Nek,
Aegis
Bang,
on the Spectre
Bang
now.
Yatoro.
Spirit, they've got to be cautious. Yatora pops the
Mundur, Bang.
BKB, but he's already been burst so low. A throw at the
Bisa
damage, but
BKB
he's
dulu
surrounded by
kali.
PSG.
Ih, dia pakai
The
BKB
Boss
pasti
goes
udah
well,
low.
caught in the
Mamam.
river.
Masih ada vision di situ.
They couldn't make the jump in time, and
Kejar
Yatora
semua.
just getting burst so heavily before he
Wih,
could actually get
tahu.
the BKB off.
Udah, udah,
Yep.
udah kelar.
Excellent gameplay
ininya.
from LGD right
Tinker
now.
langsung
They're banging on
defend.
all cylinders.
They are.
Bisa.
We did not see anything close to this in the first 2 games. PSG.LGD finding their confidence, their fire, as they're hitting back hard here in this third
Saya
game.
lapor kamu, ya dong,
Yeah,
ayo
absolutely. I just feel like the way
anjir
that
ada
they
yang
approach
komen
vision
ternyata
this
aku
game
gak sadar.
is just so smart. I think this is what they were missing in the first 2
Halo,
games.
Yi.
These tools that
Ayo,
provide
Yayat.
the vision
Siapa
and the
Yayat?
adaptation to recognize that is amazing.
And just Arme jumping around the map collapse this time round. The
Kamu stream
damage
tanpa
too
izin,
overbearing from
astaga.
Arme and his illusions.
Karena gak diajak dah.
All right. So for
Tapi
the side
ini
of Spirit here, I think
viewer
it's
kok.
getting increasingly difficult. You're
Yang
starting to
di
feel the
viewer
pressure of the Tinker. You recognize that, you know what?
Ya,
There's
ya,
that Hex,
siapa, Yi?
there's that Aghanims, and once my BKB's out, I'm not really sure how to
Kalau bisa
fight into
komen
these
ya,
heroes.
dulu.
And we haven't really seen Toronto Tokyo in this game. He hasn't really had a game, so this Tinker pick from PSG.LGD
Sumpah,
is
ganggu banget
played
anjing
out
suaranya.
beautifully.
It's definitely turning into a game where when you look at the farm and the cause, a lot is on Yatoro's shoulders, whereas on the side of PSG.LGD, the wealth very evenly split between Nothing to Say and Ame. Both of these cores, and just in combination with one another. Spectre, Tinker, nobody wants to play against a good incredibly farmed one of those. In mid lane as well, Jingchu! He's in, using the RP to catch Yatoro, completely off guard. He wasn't ready for that at all. We'll now see them try and turn towards Faith behind, but the Soul Reveal comes out.
Katanya Sinti, gua boleh gendut.
Crashing down on the Bloodseeker, they find him in return. Mirror
Tuyul
in
nih.
position here, wide, trying to look
Lu nggak
towards him,
tahu
but the field
copet
holds
Metro
back the
Mini
Undying.
nih?
Mirror
Hah?
gets away.
Tahu lu
But a
copet
quick
Metro
move there for
Mini.
Xingqiu.
Gue.
Yeah, there's still the haunt ready though. If
Ada
he wants to look
lagi
for more.
See, jump over towards Toronto Tokyo. He's out of mana, he's out of luck.
Amat menggambarkan gue.
Ame
Elah.
Algoritmnya
seems to be an
ganggu banget
absolute
anjing.
beast this game.
Pamit dulu nih.
The team fights are just so hard for Spirit, and especially if Yatoro isn't there
Aku udah
to
kecilin
play the
belum
fights
lagi.
for them. They really need him. What a beautiful initiation
Ini
from the
kenapa
Ruby player with the
masih
RP.
top net?
You know, with the one earlier up top, but
Ya,
Itu ya,
Ah,
gue.
yeah, mid.
gimana? Masalahnya gini ya.
Emang ya
Pertama-tama
terus
Spectre itu dia nggak bikin BM
Do
kan.
they just approach
Lawannya
any sort of
PA
team fights now at
pakai
this stage?
Empower.
Spectre just jumping
Itu.
into their
Itu
faces.
dia jawabannya.
Dan juga
And as you say, the vision,
farmnya
the
kayak di all
counter
in ke PA.
abilities from PSG.LGD to just disrupt
Yang lain nggak
any
ngambil
sort of
tapi.
move or jump that Spirit are trying to make
Midlane-nya
themselves.
lebih asik mundar
Seems that
mandir,
this
dia
time
cuma
round,
midas-midas
Spirit, they're the
doang.
ones in the impossible position.
Yeah, I think they're off balance, right? They've probably played this
Fitness
entire
Spirit
tournament
apa aja
playing
yang
off of
itu.
vision advantage, having information
tahu,
advantage. And in this game, they don't. They have one Tinker ward in an area where they can't really punish Tinker. That's far up top.
Nggak mau
They're not
tentu
really
benar.
going to bring their heroes to that side of the map. And then in the bottom area, the only ward that they have to fight around is also an area that you won't really see LGD approaching.
We'll see this move mid. Atos into the rupture. Toronto Tokyo in trouble. They'll put the BKB. We'll see Ame heading on top of him. We'll get glimpsed back.
Waduh,
And we'll give the space for Toronto
di
Tokyo to
pisau
stand
tapi
his
perutnya
ground. The
berasa
rupture
berdarah
wear
ya
off.
beliau kalau.
Looking for setup on the side. They get the catch onto White. Yatoro, he'll commit. Jumps in. Does get caught up.
BKB mu, Bang.
Iya,
untung aja.
Iya, cat banget.
Over the wall, Fabian he goes. He won't chase further. The Sunstrike
Ya,
just off
Oh
the
kemati
wall.
anjing.
Leset, leset.
Fabian will live.
Aduh.
So will Yatoro.
Wait,
That
wait,
time
wait.
getting so close once
Itu
again to
Yatoro.
being burst.
Bisa
The
gak
life
mati
still
anjir.
coming in big. Did just grab that
Laki.
paladin sword before that last play. Almost certainly saving his life there
Itu
with a big
kalau
first
si
heal through the crits.
siapa?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, where did
Tapi
that
ini
healing
namanya
come from?
nothing
I
to
did
say
not see
fokus
that coming. So yeah,
nge-
that does make a lot of sense. And
Udah itu.
you, he gets that second hex off. That's the one
Yeah,
team
that's
fight.
scary.
It's really coming down to, you know, those
Langsung bikin
micro
RO.
decisions that you make in these team fights. He thought he could get the burst damage out in time.
Akhirnya
Ada
Seemed like
Spectre
Toronto
ada.
Tokyo.
question mark sih.
Enggak jadi lah.
Questionable.
I mean, 32 minutes in, PSG.LGD still an incredibly comfortable position. Look at the map control as well. They've only
Kalau
lost
melihat
one tower so
Build-nya
far in this
Yatoro sih
32
pakai refresher
minutes.
enggak sih.
Very impressive control and just sort of forcing Spirit to
Dia
almost play a
cuman
different
buat
game
biar
than they would
BKB-nya
have
dua
wanted to.
kali.
It was clear that Spirit
Rada
came into
apa
this
ya?
wanting to deal with PSG.LGD the same way they had done in the first two of this series. It's not worked this time. Spirit, we're going to have to see something different from them. Something that we have seen
Lama
before in
terus kita.
previous series, but not something they've
Oh.
necessarily brought out today.
Yang
Yeah, and if you click on
neutralnya
Yatoro,
dipakai.
you're gonna notice that
Spectre
he's
tuh
feeling
kayak
the pressure on
Radiance ya.
Tinker. That is a refresher cue.
Iya,
You think about how
mini
PA works,
Radiance.
that's really mainly for the
Lebih
BKB.
enak itu
He
sih.
feels like he needs that extra duration of Black
Ada
Emperor in order to
apa,
be survivable in these
digit
fights and win the game. It's a really, if it works
Jadi
out, this
item
will be
carry
a
item
genius item. I'm really interested to see how it plays.
support dulu.
Focus around the mid lane here for Spirit.
Gila nih zombie man sehat banget aja.
Oh, what a play
Kepala
by
disetrum
Bagi.
terus
He put his
jalan-jalan.
warrior on the hill to scout out the ward.
Collapse is going to still get the jump on him, but immediately the telekinesis comes out for Xingqiu. Catching Collapse in the combo.
Anjir kolaps.
Collapse to go over the
Gak ada yang
TP,
bisa
the
gebuk
Yours is
kok,
there.
ada ini.
Trying to get in with the
Ada
BKB. He'll turn it all time, but Armin just jumping all over the place. Yatoro
Kena
out.
akhirnya
The
tuh
BKB
Collapse.
TP out. Collapse goes down. Yatoro will be able to save
Lawan
himself.
LGD itu cuma tinggal
PSG
DOTA.
either looks to see if they can chase for more. Faith Beyond trying to run down Toronto Tokyo.
Oh, udah.
And the Invoker, just as speedy as himself, will manage to break away.
What an unbelievable play by Y though. He just put his courier on this hill,
FB,
waiting for
yeah.
that ward to come
Wow.
out.
Oh, disamber
If
itu.
they smoke,
Kira-
middle lane's where they're
Kira-kira
gonna go.
game 4
They're
apa?
going for more. They're ready to try and get the jump in onto Yatoro, but Yatoro
Apakah lu
straight over
bakal
to the
Team
safety
Spirit?
mirror on the high ground.
Gua kayaknya
They
game
won't
4
get a
ini
further
3-2.
catch in. PSG.LGD
Iya.
now look to back off.
Gue yakin
Still 30
3-2 sih.
seconds without
Tapi
collapse.
kayak emang menang Team Spirit sih menurut gue.
Yep, the
Tapi
pressure's
tiga
on.
dua
We
aja,
see
jangan
nothing to
tiga
say.
satu jelek.
Buying that A on this,
Yeah.
he was queuing up the BKB, recognizing
Jadi
the
kayak
problem for me is
kalahnya-
not really the magic
kalahnya
damage. It's
gitu
potentially
loh.
getting locked down by the
Bakal
BKB and
normal.
getting bursted. So
Ketahuan
A on this
normal.
will solve
ya,
that problem
nggak
for
pantas
him.
menang
And
banget.
their items are just gearing them up to
Udah
not
upper
die.
bracket,
You see
lu
also,
bantai semua
same thing
tim.
for Ame.
Dibantai.
He doesn't
Balu
really
di
want to
final.
PA.
Iya.
It's not an item you
Kalau
traditionally see on
3-1
PA.
jelek
It forces
banget.
PA to deviate from a standard item build. So buying that butterfly
Tiga
Emang kayaknya
forced the PA
kudu
to play
rombak.
his game.
Apa ya,
And now
lebih
the
ke kayak
PA is suddenly
kutukan
reacting
sih,
to
Dra.
the Spectre's
Oh,
item instead of
3-1.
the other way around.
Because what
Pokoknya
do
kalau
you do in
kalah
this
itu juga
situation,
emang
Yatora?
lu
What
emang
is the
nggak
call with his
bisa
next
menang.
time?
It's a hard decision,
Sebenarnya
right?
aku
And this
tuh
is what LGD
kurang
are
suka
doing so
sama
well. They're
coachnya sih.
forcing you
Coachnya kayak lama
into a position where you might make a
Xiao
mistake.
Ek.
Maybe
Suka
he
lu.
buys the
Iya.
wrong item.
Yang
Maybe
tadi
he
itu
decides
dah.
to go for the MKB,
Trophy
but then
yang
his
game
BKB
kedua
is
itu.
too short to fight. Or you're just making this problematic
Coach
for
yang
Team Spirit. You want to make it as
ya
hard as
dari
possible
zaman
for
depan
Yatora to do
loh,
what's right.
LGD
He's
itu
even thinking about the Ags as well. A lot of options here for Yatora.
masukin item nggak pernah win. Coachnya yang ganti harusnya.
It's a difficult choice. I don't know what the right one
Coachnya udah
is.
ganti. Kemarin kan yang botak tuh. Sekarang kan ini apa? Xiao Ek. Beda itu.
We'll see if he does either.
Beda.
A very
Beda. Yang
tough
zaman
Yang
place
Songmas
to
itu
play
beda.
from.
Yeah.
Down 13K.
Sekarang bagus kok katanya. Coach.
Iya, sekarang bagus. Yang masih bisa ini juga. Yang bisa jadi stand-in.
And we
Bener-bener
talked
bisa
about
jadi
this a lot,
stand-in.
but you know Roshan's about to spawn.
Oh.
Heroes start moving.
Katanya
over.
anunya-
They can't secure that area.
Kemarin
Why already has
ESL
the ward
menang
down.
pakai
Notices
itu
there are no
stand-in.
heroes there.
Yang
That
lawan
means we
Team
know
Spirit
where
3-1.
Spirit are, and
Oke,
immediately take
kolaps,
over.
bang kolaps.
Wah, aku malah baru tahu.
Collapse.
Sorry, kok kira
Nice.
kira
He's out with the
Nah,
blade.
itu kenapa aku
Same can't
balik?
be said for Maposhka though.
si Kim ya berarti yang lama ya.
Gak tau deh gue namanya siapa. Pokoknya gue ngeliat mukanya nyebelin sih bro. Diki,
Anjir.
ini jual
Yeah, they'll
apa?
have a poke and an immediate TP out.
Peanut.
They're not messing around.
Anjir.
Kalau
They know how quick
Yes,
PSG.LGD is going to be with
teh.
these responses. It's collapse. He's on a
Bang,
cliff.
bang,
And
bang.
nothing to say. He's
Aduh,
right
bang,
up
bang,
in it.
kesel.
Join him.
Idi. Jadi babi ngepet
Not really
Depok.
quite sure what was going on there. Maybe he was attempting to
Mereka
D-ward
pede
while
dah.
we saw the hero's bottom and saw the
Berhasil
TP
ngalahin
from Tier 1
Magnus.
bot tower.
Udah mulai naik sih
But,
ini ya.
Roshan has
Udah
spawned.
pede banget.
Click on Y. He has
Kayak,
everything ready.
lu punya
Tombstone ready.
Magnus, gue
Ulti
punya
ready.
Sinti.
This Rosh is going to go
Emang
down
bener
extremely
katanya
quickly
si
as soon as
siapa,
Ame
Cypher?
connects over.
Semoga
50 seconds
sedikit
without
perut soalnya
collapse.
kuncinya kayak di
It's
sini juga.
unlikely they're going to be able to do anything without him alive. Is there any world that they buy
Semoga
back the
keracunan
contestants so
makanan.
they just let this
Dibilang
go?
strategi lo
I
apa
feel
lawan
like
PSG?
based on the
Ya
way they're
semoga
positioned,
sini.
it might be hard to get there in time. So the buyback option probably is not there.
Gitu.
It seems like Yatora now has seen this
Itu
Tinker
masih tetap
flying beyond
strategi
this.
walaupun
So what does he do?
kotor.
He buys the appropriate item to respond.
Kotor.
Sekarang diambil siapa nih?
All right. So many choices.
Sharknya
Yatora's got to make the right one.
Spectre
I
masih
think
bisa,
Team
Tinker
Spirit have
bisa.
recognized that as long as this Tinker's alive,
Ini anu
there's
Tinker.
no
Oh,
way that
kayak
we're going to
Rubik
win
sih,
the
kayak
long
Rubik
fight.
sih.
And we're going to
Biar bisa
constantly be
nolong.
forced to TP out as soon as Yatora's
Kayaknya nggak
TP
perlu
ends.
deh.
And
Enggak diambil Spectre tapi
for
Rubik
Team
udah
Spirit, I think the
punya
way that
soalnya.
you need to fight
Oh,
here
Rubik
is you
udah
need to
punya.
set it
Oh,
up
iya.
in a way where you initiate,
Jadi
force the Tinker to
tiga
show
hound bro.
himself, and then
Lu
have
mukul
Yatora
gua,
go
gua
in.
hound.
And at the same time, flip
Lu
side
diem,
for
gua
Team Spirit,
hound.
I mean for PSG.LGD, you know that
Lu
your
gak
foreman is
ngapa-ngapain.
stronger. If both
Udah.
Yatoro
Gua
and the
solo
Tinker
hound.
stay out of the fight, you
Pokoknya
have the advantage.
bikin
So just
tayang
don't
ini.
show nothing to say too early in a team fight. Allow your team to play the game 4v4, and then come
Playing,
in and beat the
playing,
PA
yeah.
as soon as he commits.
Nah, item Toronto Tokyo udah ini nih dong stuck nih.
Bit of a peaceful era here for Team Spirit at least.
Stuck gak
where
sih tadi? BKB,
they
oh
don't
ada
have
deck
any
doang
interest
sama.
in meeting PSG.LGD head to head whilst there is the Aegis on Arme.
And for the first time in this game, Spirit has finally been able to establish some sort of vision in the bottom area of the map. We noticed them doing this time after time. When they fall
Itu buat
behind,
counter
they like to
apa?
take over the enemy
Spectre
triangle.
bagus pakai
They
itu.
feel like it's a comfortable place for them to fight in. And even in this game, you notice it. Here we go again.
Pilihan
Up into
bagus
this
kan?
radiant
Tidak
triangle,
tidak
dire
tidak
triangle.
salah juga. Gak ada ruginya juga.
Wait for
Soalnya
the Tinker to
ngantiin
show up.
regen.
If the Tinker comes to that wave,
Regen
you're gonna be
tambahan
right
dari
on top
item.
of him. But it seems like nothing
Iya,
to say.
makanya
He's played
kalian dapetin
plenty of
itu.
Tinker games.
He's
Recognize
certainly
Buat
that this is
Spectre
the only
bagus.
way I might get caught.
Yeah, he's got a lot under his belt here, nothing to say. As Arme, a quick
Selain
check
itu
over
juga
the
buat
bottom lane,
DPS-nya
adding another kill to
ngehajar
his
si ini loh
scoreboard,
kan.
9-1
Si-
and
Ya
15.
pokoknya semuanya colok aja
And
besok.
interestingly enough, he's gone for the Haunt Illusion
Biar nggak bisa
damage
ngebeli.
on 25.
We'll see
Waduh.
it.
Waduh.
Attempt of a
Bela
play,
babi.
Yatora is gonna get caught
Telekinesisnya
by the
bagus
bash.
banget,
He's
anjing.
gotta get out of it.
Iya,
Yatora
itu
going to
tuh
the BKB team
lancar.
out. The disarmament is there onto the Spectre, so no chance
Hit
for
and
the
run,
match.
jir.
As Yatora will get
Yang
on the
satu
same
tidak berhasil
boat.
run.
Ah, ini kenapa?
Nothing to say. How's his
Cover
number?
Tirta. Aduh.
I mean, nothing
Mau
to say.
ngapain,
It's
Mas?
really turned it up this game.
Toronto
I mean,
solo.
I'm really impressed with his Tinker decision making.
Apa Toronto
It's just
tolol?
very, very very intelligent. Has not gotten caught a single time.
Masa karena satu game doang dikatain
And the way he
tolol sih,
team
nggak
fights
boleh
is
adik-adik.
beautiful.
Boleh,
He knows what to wait
gitu.
for. He knows who to look for.
Dia jago.
Katanya
Cuman ya,
S-game kok, S-game.
musuh
This is a completely different
musuh lebih
PSG
jago.
It really is.
compared
Ya,
to
tapi
PSG.
buat
gini,
Really is. It's looking
tapi
fantastic.
buat
This is the power that
tim
we've seen
underdog
from
bisa
PSG
ngedua
in the series
tigain
before
apa
this run.
PSG
In the upper
keren
bracket.
anjing.
And it's coming out just
Iya.
where it's needed the
Keren
most.
banget.
They were
Keren.
down hard in the first two
Keren.
games. There were a lot
Ngerempek
of
juga,
people
ngerempek.
were
2-1,
definitely going to
2-1.
be interested to see if
Ini
they
2-1
could
ini.
somehow
Oh,
regain that
tadi
control.
2-1.
It's not an
2-1.
easy place to be in, as you said, for them.
2-1.
The pressure
Masa 2-1?
incredibly high, and they're
2-1,
stable, not
game 1
accept
tuh
anything less than first
Bangsat,
place.
gue yang betting anjing gue
Yeah,
dengar.
absolutely. We have
Oh, yang
another fight
2-0
going. This is the
IG.
only side of the map that Spirit
Iya.
has wards on.
IG 2-0.
So Spirit are not willing to take
Padahal
this team
sebelumnya
fight
dia
into LGD.
Team Spirit di 2-0-in sama
I'm really
IG.
curious what fight they're gonna look for. This is the
2-1
one.
sama
I think.
IG.
Oh gitu. Tak kira yang sekarang 2-0.
Kalau atasnya
Yang upper bracket emang 2-1 ya?
The egg is protected.
2-1.
Oh iya 2-1 ya.
2
2-1.
minutes still with
Yang
that
comeback
safety.
itu tuh rampage ya.
yang objek
Oh, tadi berarti
But yeah,
PSG
if
game
we
1
think
game 2
about the
saya ngantuk
mentality
tuh.
of LGD coming
Baru
into this
keluar
game,
dari
right,
hotel.
the pressure was
Jam
definitely on them.
kerjanya
I
beda.
mean, Johan and Seth
Final.
talked
Ini
about
sementara
what they saw
rampage kan?
backstage,
Anu,
what they saw in their
finalin.
expressions. I'm sure this
Belum
kind of
ada.
momentum for them is huge.
Belum bisa menang. Terus
And
rampage
it's
dulu.
something that you need in order to win TI, right? You need to have that attitude of champions.
Look at this jump. They've got the dust out.
Langsung pada jadi
BKB was
fans
still
dadakan
sitting
semua.
Anjir, Spectre itu.
Chance at Toronto, Tokyo.
Oh,
Lu BKB, gue ham.
Oh my god.
He's playing with so much confidence on this Tinker. I was
I'm sorry bro.
On to Arme, it's not going to happen.
Ini
Forced
waduh
back to
udah
the
mulai ngaco
fountains.
Waleps.
PSG
Udah mulai
have all
ngaco.
the space in the world to push in
Apa-apa, Mas
onto
Waleps,
the
apa.
tier 3. Can Team Spirit get them out of here? There's no buyback on Toronto. Tokyo still down for 30 seconds.
Namanya manusia pasti
Without
punya salah mas.
Mampir as well.
Apa mas?
They'll have to, by the looks of it, at
Saya
least
dua kali
one
bener,
set of
Pak.
racks go
Aman,
down
aman.
here. There's no
Tahan
defense
dua
to the
kali
attack
sekali
yet for
salah.
Spirit.
That's so
Nothing
hard to
wrong
fight
with
into this
this.
tombstone. You saw Yatoro kind of
Doing
thinking,
well.
he was looking for that
Musuhnya
potential
juga nothing to
wraparound,
say.
recognizing that, you know what, my team won't be able to
Nah,
support
nah,
me. Even if I can
nah,
catch
kan
this Tinker in the
kalah.
backlines, I don't have the power to kill him on my own.
Tapi kalahnya tuh masih susah loh.
This money's got 6k.
Ini
Gold in the bank here.
nggak
Nothing to say. He can
under,
really start picking
over
up
malah.
whatever he
Nggak
wants
kena
now.
storm.
Just filling up those inventory slots.
iya. Soalnya early game-nya alot bro.
Absolutely finishes up that Octave
Kill
before.
beda
Just
kill
wants that mana
5
pool.
aja masih duitnya kurang dari 1000 beda gapnya.
Iya.
Ooh.
Sekarang udah
Have a
Apa ini?
momentary pause here.
jadi dari tadi nge-lag ternyata bro.
15 to 30.
Apa mau ke toilet?
24,000 net worth lead for
Aduh,
PSG.LGD.
sakit perut Sinki, sakit perut Sinki.
Numbers looking very good for them right now.
Bukan Sinki masalahnya. PS itu.
Aduh, Sinki sakit perut ini. Otaknya di video out nih.
Mulai.
Iya,
Mulai bereaksi.
nge-lag boleh. Pantatnya nge-lag. Aduh, lepas dulu. Aduh.
Itu kentut di dalam boot. Racun ke semuanya.
You kill these heroes,
Itu
they're buying back
kursinya
their
mah
boots and
buta.
traveling
Kayak
over.
gini.
They're haunting in, they're shadow stepping back into the
Juga
action.
lucu aja.
Killing them once is not going to be enough. PSG.LGD will use the opportunity to get in and destroy you, even
Yeah,
if they lose the
absolutely.
core at the start.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're totally right about that, Owen, and that is why they are so far ahead, right? They have all these options, they have all of these tools. But if anything could potentially catch them off guard, I mean, PA refresher, whenever
Tadi
you
si
see
Sep sama si
I think once that BKB runs out, expect nothing to say to blink in to be ready to
Ini ya?
next. And if he gets that
Analisis
refresher off,
ini ya draft ya?
if nothing to say
Analis.
didn't click on a PA, that could mean his death.
Iya tadi.
I mean, it would be quite something.
Ini kalah gara-gara Adit.
Does have the impact
Tadi
possible,
ganti foto profil ke tim Spirit.
but will it be
malah.
enough? It seems like a
Kena
pretty,
kurs
pretty
langsung
big
anjir.
ask
Padahal
here
udah
when they're as
2-0.
down as much as they are in this game.
Zamala apa coy?
Let me tell you, as a player in this position, these kind
Nasib
of
pengen
pauses,
gue cincong itu.
it's the worst thing that could possibly happen. It throws you off your momentum.
Well,
You
for
know,
who?
you're-
The team that's ahead or behind?
I mean, I'd say for
Aduh, Polep
both.
sakit
I think
perut.
it's really sad for both sides. I wouldn't say it's like, oh, Spirit's getting an
Polep.
advantage, but when you are
I'm sorry, I'm
playing
sorry.
with
Bayaran
pressure,
ini-
you're playing
ini
with the
nih,
way
apa?
LGD are, your mind is
Apa
so zoned
sebutannya?
in into thinking, what are they doing now? Where are they moving next? How
Apa
far could they have
Dra,
potentially
kalau
gone
bahasanya
in the
yang
time
di
that
betting
it's
bayaran
gone from
diterima,
we last
apa,
seeing
apa?
them on the map. And all of these
Apa?
small
Bentar,
micro
bentar.
senses
Transfer
on the
sukses,
map,
transfer
like,
sukses,
let's say
transfer
Yatoro shows in the
sukses.
top lane, and then
Apaan?
15 seconds
Dukun.
passes. You know where
Santetnya.
Yatoro
Enggak,
approximately could be
transfer
because you know how fast
maksudnya
the hero
match
moves.
fixing.
Everything like that
Alah,
is thrown off by this kind of pause. And
3-2-2.
that's why usually if you think about it, after pauses and pro
Ini
games,
baru ngobrol
you
nih,
see
mau
someone
gimana
getting
nih?
picked off or
Digalain
someone making the
langsung.
wrong judgment call.
Tiba-tiba
It's because
nge-troll,
this like
itu
micro
Tinker yang
senses that
mati.
you're used to playing off of gets
Berarti
thrown
gak
off.
ada buyback.
Itu HP-nya ada notifikasi. Tiba-tiba ke transfer berapa miliar gitu. Oh, oke nge-throw tim Spirit nih.
The international
Berapa
team.
miliarnya berapa miliar?
Nah, itu kolaps di
See,
telepon
up
PA.
2-0 right now in this best of
Wis
5.
tangan nih.
Namanya 18
As this
juta
game
dolar.
3 goes, looks like PSG.LGD
Enggak lah ya.
will
Miliar
be
dalam
able to
rupiah,
stop
rupiah.
the potential of a 3-0
Ada
clean sweep here for
51
Spirit.
juta lah ya.
I just really hope there's no initiation in the
Nah,
next 30
$1
seconds after
kasih
this
lah.
pause, because that would really suck for both sides.
Here we go.
Ready,
Ready to
bos.
get the action back on its
Press
way,
move.
ladies and gentlemen.
Bagus ya kedua tim nggak ada yang saling blok.
I can feel my
Kalau
heart
dulu sama
pounding with
Oji
that
kan
one
di
pause
blok.
there.
You know how the players are feeling.
Yeah,
Iya.
absolutely.
Iya.
Soalnya si tim Spirit tuh nggak toxic sih.
Yeah,
Kecuali musuhnya
looks like
toxic.
hopefully
Ini
there's
PSG nggak pernah main ini kan.
initiation here, so
Everyone
Tapi di-
survive the
jarang
pause.
banget.
pretty far away from one
Jadi
another.
kayak ya udah kita
Yatoro
emang fokus aja, nggak usah mental game. Lu mau menang ya lu fokus, nggak mau
certainly
menang
want
ya
to get
udah.
that done. Ideally, maybe
Tapi
at
lawan OG
25
es game tuh.
if he can before the next fight is forced.
Which talent do you take though? The coup de grace is great. You get more damage, but the tripling stifling dagger
Aduh,
might just catch
internet
out a support and one-shot it while you're not paying attention.
I feel like the coup de grace might be it because you got to kill someone. I mean, one of your items is a refresher. You're not maxed out on the damage,
Buat apaan coba?
Yep, you're
making
absolutely
sure
right.
that the crits are hitting harder.
Karena pressure buat apa anjing?
Could be
Absolutely
pretty
right.
essential here for Yatoro. But then again, the triple is nice if you know like mega creeps are going to be coming in.
Kayak
If you feel
arah
like you're
pressure
losing
berapa?
some lanes of barracks, you need to push back out. So
I'm also
the options
thinking
there.
for the team fight, right? How we know that Yatoro has to wait out. He can't fully commit straight at the start
That's
because then
true.
he'll be forced to waste his BKB.
and maybe they do have, of course, the empower. You know, the
Yeah.
triple stifling daggers with the empower on them. That's pretty nasty.
Quick fingers from Toronto Tokyo, but he's caught.
Yeah, they've got to catch it. BKB and he'll try and walk away. See if he's able to make it out. He's been ruptured.
Oke.
He's gone for the TP.
Wah,
BKB comes to an end. And so does his escape. He'll try and hold them back with the tornado, but there's nothing more to hold them back with. Yatoro is going to be the new focus. Static Storm from a get down into the trees to try and stop the chase. Behind for the BKB. But Yatoro will manage to make it out. Maposhka as well in the trees, hidden now as he TPs.
Yeah, beautiful reset there from Team Spirit. I actually thought they were going to have way more casualties, but quick fingers from Yatoro, blinking on top of Mboshka. Great team play there with the static storm cancel. Tinker potentially chasing for more kills.
So yeah, he has taken the
Jadi
chance here.
disiplin
Having up the
mainnya
damage.
lama banget ini.
The gold for
Bisa
that
kelas
refresher
pagi
roll,
lagi,
just a few hundred away.
I'm so excited for this refresher.
Just
I'm
if
gonna
some
be
sort of
honest. I
big
just wanna
brain
see.
play comes
yeah,
out.
exactly. I want to know how it plays out. And now he has it.
He does.
Immediate smoke up.
They would have seen him building it, of course, with the
Cindy jadi pocong.
perseverances, but it's just a question of whether
Oh,
nothing to
langsung
say in
anjing.
particular
Jadi
is
kuntilanak
ready for it
dia.
to be complete for the next fight. As you mentioned, if he's out of position, he comes in with a second round of BKB and nullifier. It could be deadly for nothing to say.
Itu gak ada yang nge-save
A man on his Tinku who's had a pretty
Waduh, internetku kenapa dah?
free game so far, jumping all over the place and bursting down the line.
Tapi masih emang bisa comeback sih. Satu
Emang main disiplin kok
Kuarti aja.
banget.
This undying is
LGD.
not easy to bring down.
Itu pas lawan T1 kayak gitu banget
positioning
mainnya.
as well, just
Ini andainya
stopping any
ada di
chance
BKB
of
loh.
Spirit being able to make a move from their triangle.
Pack grenade apa dah?
I mean, the problem really for Spirit, like,
Udah sering.
how do you kill the other heroes?
Iya.
If not PA. If PA can't commit on them, how does anything die?
Of course, PSG.LGD there. Going to be feeling very comfortable. Nothing to say in Army. More than happy to farm up sort of their sixth item. Looking for the Orchid into the Bloodthorn here for Army. Nothing to say. Getting close to having the comfort of the overwhelming blink, maybe even holding on for his buyback as well.
Yatoro?
He's caught. He has been caught. He needs help and he needs it now. The BKB comes out. He has been
Ada
ruptured
refresh.
though. Not much that he can do.
Refresh up.
He's in with the
Waduh,
illusion surrounds
kok
him.
ketiban
No
palanya
way for
sih.
Yatoro to get out.
NOBAR.
And of course he did spend up on that refresher, so 100 seconds, no buyback on the PA.
Yep, LGD
Benar,
firing
benar.
back strong. What a catch from Faith Beyond. And man, I feel like it
Yeah,
just all
benar,
ties back to the
benar.
vision. This game,
Benar.
PSG.LGD had vision. They were playing on even terms for most of the game. And
Oh, collapse, he tries to make the move, but the counter's there. ZQ with an instant lift. Holds him in his tracks. As it's another core out of the game. Collapse and Yatoro, no way of returning for this
Saya sempet
defense.
ya.
skewer back on
Wow,
Mirror.
siapa itu yang di skewer?
Also to be blown up.
Siapa
outside
itu?
of the
Kok ada
base.
Peter Pan, bro?
3 dead on Spirit. PSG.LGD, they're up to
Tapi saya mulai bener di counter sama Rubik.
That's gotta be so satisfying.
Iya, makanya.
For
Invoker
ZQ. Oh, yeah,
bukan
after that mag, just constantly skewering
karena
them back.
ada
And now
Rubik.
finally he
bikin
gets
Invoker
to do it
sih?
himself.
Yeah, collapse, giving Xinq the respect as
Tak
well
tak
there.
suruh barusan.
Yang lain.
Nggak tak suruh
Words
nggak
of
bisa.
purge in the tip.
Le bikin poker le. Api gue.
Biar menang betku.
Rambutnya tuh.
I mean, this is what
Gon.
the PSG.LGD fans
Bagi
expected to see from them.
WWE
this grand final
Smackdown
stages.
langsung.
Took a bit of time to turn up today. Needed a bit of warm-up. The first 2 games, that was that. But this game 3,
Terpas
full
ada
power
Rubik.
here. Even just into the base, Arme. Just killing off
Best
poor
indeed.
old Maposhka.
LGD are playing with such confidence. But at the same time, patience.
Global kill.
Whenever they need to slow down, you know, they're doing it. Oh, the immediate roach spawn. Nice. They're very happy about this, I'm sure.
And
Tapi
nothing to be
juga
done
apa,
about
tim
this
Spirit
for
kayaknya
Spirit
terlalu
whatsoever. So fall straight into the hands of PSG.LGD. As we'll see, poor old Maposhka is trying his best to defend against the creeps.
Prima banget,
And then
anjir ini orang
suddenly,
udah main 5 game. 6 game ini malah.
appears
Game
on
ke-6
top, who
bisa.
disappears as quickly as he appears.
Kayak masih
Ya
stay
mereka
sharp.
kayak 2
The job
game
is done.
2
Maposhka
game
taken
lawan
out.
Secret menang, 2 game
No
lawan
place
City menang.
is
Terus
safe
game
right
ketiga
now from
kasih
the Spectre.
Nano Magnus lagi.
Yeah, and the Rubik
Terus
gets the
Olaf.
Aghanim
Ya hitungannya menang 4 game ya.
It's probably
Yang
one of
orang
my favorite
kan
Aghanim's
game
in the
1
league.
sih kan, game
It's always a
3
great
kan
feeling
tim
when you have it as
Spirit, terus
Rubik,
game
so
1 game 2 tim
one of the
Spirit
cool
juga
things
yang
about
LGD.
this that I don't think we've ever talked about is
Iya,
when you
makanya
spell
mereka
steal,
kayak
and most teams aren't aware that you have an Ags, they kind of think, all right, Rubik used it. You hear that
baru mentalnya mental
sound, and then you're, okay, I can use my spells however I want. But with the Ags, that throws it off. That just makes it easier for you to get those big steals that you want to get. So, highly doubt
capek
Ya
sih.
ini
Spirit
apa
for
sih?
this, but to be fair, they've had a lot of time to sit in the base.
Harga 9
Usually what you do during this time is you're
gold
starting
lead.
to discuss everything. What is it that LGD can do? How do they approach this fight? What are they going to be looking
Jadi
for?
kayak
What are we
nyepelein
looking
lah,
for?
santai
What
mah.
are our objectives here? Which heroes do we need to go on? What spells do we
LGD
need to use?
jalan-jalan.
All these things should be discussed for Spirit, and they should have a structured fight in mind here, because you can predict what's
Buat
going to happen.
ngurangi mentalnya PS doang.
I mean, 40,000 gold down right now, Spirit. PSG.LGD. It looks like a pretty smooth sailing here to the victory. Is there really anything the Spirit can pull off whilst this far behind?
I mean, it's a matter of finding the tinker. I really think so. Of course, you can always win. In Dota, I feel like you always have the option of winning. And especially in late game, yeah, there's 40,000 net worth differentiating you, but there's no lot of net worth that will make up for a bad positioning or, you know, the clutch play. So, formations is really important here for LGD. And if Yatora can find some sort of backline kill, that could open the fight up entirely.
Ketikan drag.
Iya,
Approaching
merah,
the final
bingung
set of
warna
barracks.
merah.
Hit the jump in underneath the tier 4s. They're in on him, Maposhka.
Kelihatan bling warna
He's got
Oh,
the collapse. We'll try and jump
si
in
Mira
with the
sore
stroke.
ini
Into armor.
pink merah.
Yatora is
Pink
coming
merah.
on the front lines
Oh,
with
ini
the
pink
game.
merah.
He's been disarmed, gets the Phantom Knives off.
Blink merah tuh
Down to
Ockwell
level 1,
Blinking.
look how much HP
Kalau lu
Yatora
ngeblink,
Yatora.
damage dia
Doesn't
ngasih
look
damage
around.
nih
Nothing to
sesuai
save
strength yang lu
him.
punya. Nah, udah GG.
Iya. Damage-nya segede strength-nya.
Makanya
Ketika
itu
pas
cocok
ngeblink.
kayak buat Centaur tuh. Centaur 3 taras terus pakai ini dah. Gituan. Kalau loncat berat. Nggak ada agun anjing. Tapi sekebun.
Arme won't be grabbed back yet. Steps back to the safety of his team.
Sama nge-slow musuh kan juga
PSG
kasar.
respecting the
Iya,
buyback here
langsung
from
itu juga.
Spirit. They
Makanya
won't
buat
instantly
Doom,
push in onto the
oh hero
main
strength kayak
but the
Doom,
rocket
Senta,
spam begins from
Antidote
nothing
kan
to
nggak
say.
pakai Degre.
Yatora, he's gonna look to try and jump outside of the base. He's
Itu
gonna
tuh
jump
susah.
outside. He's gonna go for nothing to say, but nothing to say. Gets the blink off in time. Back out of the high ground. He
Gak
goes.
dapet
Oh,
loh.
he's trying to get in. They get
Ah,
the
udah
stun.
gini.
Ayo ke airport.
He's in the fountain.
Akhirnya, Cuk. Tapi Aegis gak? Aegis ya?
Aegis dong.
Aduh,
Cuek.
masih Aegis dong, bukan OG.
Gue sih
It's just the
cuek.
three of them. The meatball's coming down.
Kasih
He
bang.
needs help. He's in the fountain and it is in his
Aduh, ada no.
Ah,
Ada Rubik ya. Asik.
Rubik
Rubiknya musuh. Wah, didorong balik. Bagus. Sinki ini cuy.
I love Dota so much.
Sinki adalah
That was so
Bagi.
beautiful.
Sinki.
Everything
Beda
about
sama
it.
ini.
Here's the fountain.
Ya, Pak,
Oh my
sama
God,
Cash
the
Cube.
fountain. They try to blink the Spearman again, but no, the Yule.
Beda sama
And then the
Razor
Spearman.
Post 5 lah.
And you pull out a hero of your
Gila
own.
ya, emang Sinki ya. Dikasih Rubik, Magnus Team Spirit yang gak pernah kalah.
Didorong balik.
Habis ini udah gak mau ngambil Magnus lagi sih.
Udah tak gitu sih bisa diselamatin loh tadi.
Iya, makanya itu
Apa sih,
rada imbang. Sama slow apapun lu cuma gitu doang anjir.
Ada crowdnya tuh?
Insania, could this be
Ya,
the beginning of
dibuat.
a PSG.LGD reverse sweep?
I mean, I absolutely think so. I think they identified a couple of really crucial things for themselves. This was
Apa
not like a fluke win. This is
penonton
not like,
bayaran?
oh, we just did something right. I think they
Penonton belakang
strategically
dulu.
understood we're getting
Tapi di
outvoted.
belakang kayak ada
We don't
orang
have vision.
berarti.
We don't have information. And they addressed that
Di
in
atas,
this game. I think
atas.
they picked heroes that allow them to have vision in team fights, and they had the ability to fight back.
Wow, well, there we have it. We've had 2 scary games from Spirit, and now 1 very scary one from PSG.LGD. We'll see if Spirit's able to turn back up
Tidak
big
jadi
time in the
3-0.
4th game, or if PSG.LGD have maybe figured them out here at the all-important point in the grand finals. As PSG.LGD, they'll take game 3.
3-1 please.
Thank you very much, Odie, Pixel, and Insania. And indeed, we are going to a game 4. It will not be a clean sweep for Team Spirit, and you heard it from our commentary team. They think maybe PSG.LGD has figured something out. Well, I know they figured one thing out. Let's have nothing to say. Play on his Tinker. He used to be a hero spammer on that hero, and he absolutely crushed
Kukira
it.
hubungan kita
All
istimewa.
these people saying, "Oh, you're playing against Team Spirit. You don't ban Magnus."
Atau
Well, you're not Xiao 8, you're not Xiao Ba. Things have changed, and they have now their own specialty being revealed. They had shown it 2 times during the group stage. In fact, it was against Team Secret. Whenever they had lost the first game against Secret, they whipped out a last pick, nothing to say, Tinker, and they won that game. It was with a completely different lineup outside of that, but this time the problem they were trying to answer was the Magnus. We were getting vision from the Bloodseeker. We were getting instant cancels with the Rubik and the Yules. Every single box was ticked for that.
They literally did everything they could to make
Jadi
Magnus look bad
katanya
when played that way, right?
semua combo
So
Magnus
you pick Rubik for the lift,
bisa kehalang
you
sama
have
Rubik.
all of the vision from Haunt, Tombstone, and Bloodright, and you couple that up with a Tinker. And I think, honestly, on the draft panel, I think Seb had a really good point that Collapse didn't do in this game. Maybe you should have played the Magnus completely differently. Like, maybe you don't play on the Skewer setup if it's this hard. You could have taken a different approach, maybe picked a different carry that was more geared toward
Apa kira-kira
solving the
emang,
Spectre. They picked
hero
the
lainnya
PA for the
Collapse
break
ini?
and for the high burst damage. Perhaps a pushing type of
Mars.
carry could have worked better here, like,
Mars.
say, a Juggernaut or, you know, something to that effect where then you play on the Empower, you had a really strong mid-game timing, take Roche and try to end the game. But obviously, you know, you've played this way on Magnus, like, with 10 wins in a row, whatever, as Collapse, right? And it works every time, so you just want to keep rolling, right? But LGD, they had a really good plan this time.
And also with that plan, right, I think we've really seen how Spectre and Tinker in the patch kind of course, that tail end to see how why they are so good together, right? You have, you know, Spectre with the Ags, that 30-second cooldown, Astral Step. Before, you're always playing on Haunt, you have big cooldown guys, got to wait it off. But no, now it's just every time you see a hero, you're instantly jumping. If the support shows underneath a ward, if like an Undying just walking around and find someone, bam, Spectre's there. And of course, Tinker as well, equally can match that and is tanky enough to also get into the middle of these fights. So yeah, PSG, they now have the confidence that we needed to see them have to be able to bounce back in this series. And you see like both the cores, right? On the screen here, you have nothing to say. 14-1-13. Oh, 15, sorry, I can't read, on his Tinker. And then you have Spectre as well, you know, I think he ended the game like 15-1-23 as well. Like, both cores really came out into this game and just said, no, we can come back into this series, we can show off on these, you know, signature heroes.
To me, what's interesting about this draft as well, we're talking a lot about the Tinker because he popped off and had a really great game. I actually don't think this pick was necessary for them to win the game. I think it was the best pick for them in the given situation, but if that would have been banned, I wouldn't have been like, uh-oh, what are PSG.LGD going to do? Because I still think the integral parts of the strategy is getting that vision. Tinker obviously plays amazing around it, so it's an awesome pick. But if that isn't there in the pool, maybe you can get another mid hero that takes advantage of it, like any of the spirits, like Storm Ember. I think a lot of them were banned though.
Were, yeah.
But there would have been, there's always something left, right, that can play with some sort of tempo there. So obviously it was an insane game for him on that Tinker. Love to see it. You know, a lot of people don't like playing against that hero in pubs for reasons that might have been highlighted in this game. But to me, that's important, right? Because if you're going into this game, you're like, okay, they won because of this Tinker pick, then next time it's going to be banned, right? What are you going to do? And what was the last ban of Spirit that game? I'm trying to remember.
The last ban of Spirit that game was a Void Spirit.
Void Spirit, right. So they were looking the Spirit direction. I think PSG.LGD themselves banned both Storm and Ember as their last 2. So that kind of forced the hand there for Team Spirit to get rid of the last one.
Also, what was encouraging to me is that this also didn't seem like an anti-Magnus draft. It seemed that the first 2 picks, I got the Rubik, I got the Undying. I think we can start to play it by ear now, and then depending on what Spirit started selecting after that, then they were like, oh, okay, maybe, you know, we'll put a Spectre on top of this. So I wouldn't even be surprised if they let Magnus go again, or if they maybe even first phase pick it this time on LGD.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's now Spirit have lost with the Magnus after crushing the first game, or the second game set technically with the Magnus, and everyone now going, whoa, Collapse is amazing. Now, the second game he plays it, he'll probably say to the guys, right, if they draft like this and itemize like this, I can't play the game that we've been, coming into this TI with. So potentially Spirit might even be questioning themselves on Magnus, and this is the beauty of TI and like the mini meta of best of fives, right? It's because we spoke about IO being the reason why PSG was unable to really
Ini
capitalize
kenapa
on the
ada
first two
dua orang
games.
yang bocoran?
Magnus why they won
Hah?
game 2 on
Iya,
Spirit.
heran
Certainly
dah.
game 3, we might even question
Jadi
if they
nonton
were
nggak,
able to
Riz?
go near it because PSG
Nonton.
feels like they've
Oke,
discovered it,
kamu
understood it
temanku,
throughout
Riz.
this, 3-game
Hebat.
series so far.
And I feel like it's also, something you could be concerned about with PSG.LGD after those first two games is like the whole, like, the confidence, the mentality. They third pick their carry, right? It's not like, okay, we need, these guys are good, we need to go late game, play slow, get Ame the perfect game. They're willing to open up and do some different things. They identify, this is the hero we want for this game, we have a strategy, and it worked great. So, has me pretty hopeful for them going into the next game. And for Spirit, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be too phased by a one-game loss. They've been here plenty of times already this tournament, so they're going to have something else up their sleeves for sure.
The Mars was even uncontested previous game, so we know the collapse is
Ini si Collapse dia mohon sama Miposka buat tolong jangan pick Mapos ya, tolong ya. Tolong banget. Tolong ya,
maybe
Burik ya.
they're crumbling a little bit under the pressure, and I think this
Kita udah menang
game
pakai Magnus, kita
proves
pakai
everybody
hero
that said that
lain
100% wrong
dong.
because they were both on
Mari
fire,
kita
and this
buktikan
mental
kita
game we
menang bukan karena
highlighted so
Magnus.
much, Tsunami, because it is so important in a best-of-5 grand finals with $13 million on the line.
Yeah, on both sides we can see maybe the nerves of, oh my gosh, it's all these Royal Roaders on this side of Spirit. It's all mostly a bunch of first-timers, but then they are joined in union with that lack of tension or extremely high tension, depending on how they've been reacting to it. Meanwhile, on LGD, you have nothing to say to Shin-Q, who may feel out of their element whenever they're paired up with Faith Beyond and Y and Ame and Shao8. But both of them have different approaches to the mental game. And so far, Spirit's lower bracket run inspires confidence that I don't think they're going to be shaken by a one loss here and there.
Same, and you mentioned Xingqiu there, of course. This is his second international, but definitely his most successful one to date. We've highlighted Xingqiu a lot throughout this entire tournament because he was mentioned as the best
Kalah gara-gara ini nih.
right now in
Adit.
Dota 2. Tigov, how do you feel he's doing this series so far? Of course, he played a fantastic Rubik just now.
Yeah, I mean, that was the main thing, right? That's Rubik just there. We saw a beautiful little skewer as well on the Rubik, and I think he was just always in position, right? I think Collapse, again, the Magnus, we've said it so many times now, I think when you have this Rubik in your arsenal within the game, it's always so nice. You have the instant lift, you have the still, like, it puts this pressure. And I think Xingqiu, if he can find that confidence and he plays that level of Rubik game, suddenly he's going to be going into that next game with that next kind of pull. And maybe we see another Rubik game. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see the same type of draft pattern happen. Maybe Spirit still have the confidence in that Magnus, and then we get to see another Rubik game because, we love to see Rubik at TI. It's a really, a showy-offy hero.
I think they'll only pick Rubik if there's a Mag in the enemy team.
Yes.
I actually think that's the only thing that's going to prompt them to do it. A specific targeted counter pick. I don't think they see enough value in it in the first phase because they've barely played it all tournament. It's just a solution they went to in a time of need here, which is interesting because it might mean that the bans could also be turned around here a little bit, so Team Spirit can try to take advantage of it with perhaps a Rubik ban could force out a Magnus ban, then you could get the Mars opener if you want to go that route.
That also depends on if LGD want to opt for second pick again also.
Rizjan nih anjing, temen gue pada nge-story Dota dia Gensinin pack sendiri bang.
Then we're going to get our Rubik Undying.
Gila dari
And all this kind of theory crafting we're doing, this is basically where Spirit, they need to kind of overcome the issues that they've had throughout the season against PSG, because throughout, I think it was like ESL 4, they lost to PSG. I think it was then OGA, they lost to PSG. And this was also with Xiaowei as a stand-in. At any major, I believe they drew 1-1. Like, they have never been able to actually beat and overcome PSG. In these series, they've been able to take that first game, that first kind of momentum swing, but it's been the experience of PSG that has come through and shined through that series where they've been able to kind of best Spirit throughout the year. So even though Spirit is up 2-0, or sorry, 2-1 now, it's kind of like the same as the past, right? So this is where Spirit, in this specific game, I feel like if they want to kind of get rid of that, they need to come in with that confidence. They can't let this one game hit them because history, throughout the 2021 season, PSG has always bested them, even if PSG was down.
That is true. PSG.LGD has bested most teams throughout 2021. They've done incredibly well, of course. You could also say that, yeah, they've done well and they are the end boss, but that also means that in terms of improvement, they didn't have as much need to improve compared to Team Spirit, who has seen tremendous growth throughout the entire season, Tsunami.
That was even mentioned in Slax's interview with Miposhka previously. It was just like, well, you guys got pretty rocked on day number 1 of group stage, and he was just like, yeah, but we were playing some hard opponents, and progressively, the thing is that most of the time whenever I see development from a team, it comes from the draft. Here it just seems like pure gameplay oriented. They're still playing things that are very comfortable for them, namely collapse in specifics, but in general, this team gives me a lot of encouragement for the Eastern European region.
And it is an interesting point about the group stage. This is something we've been discussing throughout the years. What is the good way to start off a group stage? Would you rather play the really tough opponents first or last? And if you play them first, maybe you can learn a lot from those games and then improve throughout the group against easier opponents. Whereas if you have them last, maybe you've dropped a game here or there learning against weaker opponents, and then when you're against the Giants, you just get rocked, right? So for Team Spirit, it might actually work out really well for them that they played some of the Giants to begin with.
Yeah, and here they go, both now Giants in their own rights, taking their spaces here in the pods. It's game 4 of the grand finals, best of 5. Of course, Team Spirit is on match point, but PSG.LGD might just have found their momentum, found their swing that they need to reverse sweep these grand finals against Team Spirit. Will they be able to do it? We know they have the mental fortitude too. The question is, I think it's all going to come back very simply, very clearly on the draft team.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think it's been second pick has won every game so far, I believe. So maybe whoever gets second pick this game, they're going to win it. So maybe a coin toss dictates the winner of TI. I don't know.
Sounds kind of unlikely. I think it's maybe a little bit more depth than that. But
listen, everything's a 50-50 if you look at it.
Forced
it
50.
Can happen or it doesn't.
That's true.
Speaking of odds, you guys reminded me of something. Because, of course, we mentioned earlier today that at the start of the day, there was still one person on the planet that had their prediction bracket intact, which was ruined by the lower bracket finals going the way of Team Spirit. There were only 4 people in total that only had that had 20 predictions out of the 21 predictions correct. I also have an extra stat. There has been a total of 1.5 million people that have filled in their brackets in the compendium. Of those 1.5 million people, 1.4% said that Team Spirit would be the champion.
That's more than I would expect.
Yeah, that's higher.
Yeah, that's more than I would have thought. Because you had to place that before the main event even began, right? But you could do it after the groups. Team Spirit, I would have said, what were they? They were 4th in their group, and they looked definitely a step below some of the other teams. But you know, sometimes you got to believe in that miracle run, right? And we're here, and obviously, I think it's also a little bit of like the human. Like just the emotion, you know. You want to. If I'm right, it'll be so cool. You know? So some people just go for
those 1.4% people love a good story.
Exactly. It's not the brain speaking. I would say in a lot of these guesses, but you know, maybe they identified something in the groups. They were like, you know what? I genuinely believe that Spirit can do it, and those people could very well end up being right now.
Yeah, or maybe they heard from a lot of players out there how the scrims were going, because apparently Team Spirit. Quite good in those, and definitely managed to hold their own against the majority of the teams.
Yeah, but that's like the beauty of Team Spirit, right? I feel like when you look at their roster and actually really dive deep, other than Miposhka, it's like 2019, 2020. That's when these professional careers actually started, right? I think 3 of the 4 players was on Yellow Submarine, which was kind of like the hidden like trial team for Team Spirit, where like the current manager, I think his name's Corbin, he was the guy that was like kind of sifting through the ranks, like trying to find. I think they had like 80 players in the end trial for this team. They finally kind of crafted this down into this roster, and they eventually brought in Miroslav later. But it's the fact that they went through this kind of trial period, brought in all fresh faces, then brought in Poshka to captain it, and it's got to this position. Like, that alone is an insane story, and I think that is inspirational. The fact that you don't have to be a 10-year veteran to be able to compete at the highest level. You can, like, in a year's time, or 2 years' time, of course, they put so much time to play the game, but you get the idea, right? Like, it's the fact that they can, if they put their minds to it, you can achieve anything, and Team Spirit being in the grand final in itself is an inspirational story.
Absolutely. Also, just the organization itself, of course, has been in Dota since only 2015. So, I mean, that's still 6 years, but compared to PSG.LGD, it's relatively new, of course. But this team, this is the first time this organization has had a horse in the race at TI Tsunami.
Yeah, and it's always encouraging that even during the COVID times of 2020, many organizations were no longer able to support because they were like, we don't really have the infrastructure in this era of online Dota. But Team Spirit stuck through it, and it was a difficult region to do it also. Eastern Europe was dropping organizations left and right, and building off of T's topic also of having so many tryouts, having so many players, it's also very encouraging to see how much of a unit and how friendly all these players are, because in contrast to VP, VP was a group of 5 players who had wanted to play together with each other for a very long time. They were friends before the game started, before the team started. This one seems like quite the opposite, and it's a wonderful thing to see.
Yeah, it's a unity story for sure. It's an example for, I think, a lot of people watching from home right now. It's like, wait a second, these guys have only been playing for 2 years. That means that they, in 2 years' time, have a chance of being on that main stage. But for now, it is all Team Spirit and PSG.LGD, and they're ready for Game 4.
Team Spirit versus PSG.LGD. Grand Finals, Game 4.
Kalau PSG-nya kan Paris Saint-Germain, LGD-nya
the TI10 Grand Finals, again with Seb and Nota and myself. And I want to ask you guys, how important do you think that victory was for LGD? Like, how is it going to affect their mental game?
It's massive for them, of course. They have no more room to fail. Whereas Team Spirit, they might get a super challenge coming their way if they don't close it out now. They're going to have to go into a Game 5, same position. You have no more losses to take. So for LGD, they need to get as much confidence and as much freedom so that they can be themselves again, or like their full potential. Mega important victory, of course. If you lose, you're out. But mentally, they need to take something from this. I think we saw a little bit of a better body language, if I want to go that far, and say that they do look like they feel better.
Now we see the switch up, and we were talking about it before the draft started, right?
Yep.
LGD broke Team Spirit Magnus, and I think they broke it in a very convincing way. And now the question was, so the second pick won all 3 games, and both teams kind of realized second pick works better. So far, this can still change. Team Spirit got the choice, which is a very big deal. It's probably not going to decide the outcome of the game, but it gives them definitely like an upper hand. And now with this first pick, LGD, they had to choose: do we want a mag, or do we want to give them mag and play against it? And then if you do that, mainly the Rubik was the big counter, right? And Team Spirit, they actually decide to not go for the Rubik versus the mag. They end up going for the Wyvern, which so far has been one of the best answers to Tiny. Nevertheless, though, in this opener, Tiny is banned. They go for the Wyvern anyway. So, yeah, I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how they cope with this Magnus, because I don't think the Wyvern quite does it.
Is there a reason you think they banned Dark Willow over the Wyvern? Because in the previous 2 games, I think LGD had been banning Wyvern. I mean, Seb, you even mentioned to me, you thought maybe the Wyvern ban was a mistake.
Yeah.
But in my head, if you're going for Magnus first pick, Wyvern seems like a better ban than Willow.
I think so. At the same time, I think both bans, to be honest, I want to say I'm not a fan of the Willow ban, but then I'm just going to go with I don't quite understand it. I think I'm just missing something here.
Itu Lion biar bisa ulti yang
would also help them do the
kena ulti
more
Wyvern.
second phase if they want. I mean, it's a hero that they're also very familiar with. I think the Bramble value is still there. I don't know if it's worth a ban either. I think there are some very powerful game-changing bans that shouldn't be overlooked, but Wyvern might be a very high-rated hero, or should be higher rated than some teams maybe give it credit for. Statistically speaking, he's won a lot of games here, and it is a classic mag counter to at least a classic mag gameplay, but still the skewer play is very strong, and we saw it addressed last game, where the Rubik got a lot of good lifts on, and also the shard lift eventually makes carries feel really safe against this.
Irritating banget lihat.
So yeah, let's see. And now the Lion is in already from the first phase. Also quite unconventional to open Byron Lion.
Yeah. And there's a lot to say about the Bane pick also, in my opinion. I mean, Team Spirit, the Lion, they didn't get it the last games, and it has been a hero that worked really well for them. The way they play, they play so well around vision. They always set up this Lion for great kind of hexes fight. He starts to fight with hex, and it's hard to stop it. I'm really surprised that the Tide didn't come for Team Spirit. I mean, it's one of Collapse's best heroes. Mars is out. Mag is out by being first picked by LGD, and then the third Collapse hero, which is much more than just a Collapse hero. Like Team Spirit, they play around it, they build around it so well. It's Tide. Tide is a counter to Magnus, and yet they don't go for it. Meaning, LGD might have had a second pick, like a second first pick. I think they have to. But
right?
if they don't, maybe it means they have a great answer to it, and Team Spirit knows it.
I think they're going to be banning out a lot of team fight. They start with the Doom probably now, and I think that's also, you're not going to pick Mag or Tide yourself next phase. You're most likely going to ban it. You have a Bane and a Mag, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. They don't ban it yet?
So the Doom ban versus Mag is a very simple concept. It's like you play a Mag lineup, you want to empower a guy, and you want that guy to just go ham, and of course, if he gets doomed, then the whole lineup doesn't make so much sense anymore. You kind of break the way they want to take the fights. I want to talk quickly just about the Bane versus Wyvern and Feeble. It counters Wyvern heal completely. Also, you know, like, it's really good at catching Bane, catching heroes. I think it's just a very interesting hero versus Wyvern in terms of how he's going to beat him on the lane, and also has great things to do in the game against him. They do ban the Ember. Obviously, Ember itself already has been a great combo, great hero at, you know, messing with the backline. Lion and Wyvern, they don't want to be messed with. If these supports are allowed to cast their spells, especially in the hands of such talented players as Miposhka and Mira, like, they will win the fight for them.
Yeah,
So
I was expecting to see 3 sort of backline jump bans coming out from Team Spirit. I mean, I feel like Lion Wyvern, it's a bit vulnerable, so you have to like protect your supports with bans. I've always felt when I'm drafting that I don't like picking 2 supports like this, because then you're spending bans on picking supports. But do you think there's like to your knowledge, is there any reason to pick 2 supports like this instead of picking a quarter?
I think it's only if you're afraid that you're not going to get them and you value them so much that you need them. But in my opinion, it's very abusable, and I think LGD will take the bet, like, will get the most out of that.
Interesting to note is ET has not been removed, right? Yeah. I think the Lion was also a potential answer to a Mag ET, and they're also rushing it because it's most likely going to get banned next phase. I'm still very surprised that the Tide has not been banned. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Collapse is going to ask for this hero this game.
They must have they must have an answer, LGD, right? I think if they don't ban it, they for sure know it's coming, or it could be coming. They must be ready for it. That's how I view it. Maybe they're planning on picking the Juggernaut already, or the Slarks.
But they're not in full control either. As Team Spirit do have a ban, they do have like kind of a way to dictate. They banned the Ursa.
But if you think about it, it doesn't sound so Team Spirit-ish to pick the mid or the carry here. Most likely they will pick Collapse. So maybe LGD is like, we don't have to worry about a closing second phase pick.
You're right. Yeah.
And that anyway they're gonna show it to us here.
That's thinking far ahead, which I'm sure they are. Like this double support opener is vulnerable, very vulnerable in that sense. Is that you're now you still have to reveal, and they're able to get 2 really strong picks.
Never mind, they actually go for it, and that also is a statement from Team Spirit in which they maybe thought that the Spectre was the bigger problem last game versus the Rubik. You know, these were the answers, and this is exactly what I think should be done. This is precisely what should be done in a Mag versus Spectre game and in a Mag versus Rubik game. This Magnus does not want to RP anybody. He doesn't care about getting his blink cancelled. He doesn't care about getting blink at all. He does not want to skewer anybody. This Magnus is going to empower Luna. He's going to build aura items. They're going to plant the tombstone. Luna's going to hit the buildings, and that is going to be the fight. And heroes like Spectre actually are probably the worst out of all the carry pool to deal with that. You have to fight into this massive ball that is coming, and Spectre hates that.
The only good thing that they have right now is a Winter's Curse. The Lion is disabled. Most of Iron spells are disabled. Like this playstyle versus playstyle heavily for now favors LGD heroes. Like these heroes on the bottom, they will not enjoy a strong ball coming to hit their tower.
So to make it very simple, basically what has happened in Game 3 and Game 4 draft is, you know, Spirit got their Magnus, LGD broke it. Spirit had to find another way to abuse the Magnus hero. And LGD now are showing how do you turn. They beat Magnus with Spectre, and they also showed them you can beat Spectre with Magnus if you understand what's happening. And I think this draft is what's happening in a nutshell.
Do you think that Axe does anything to stop that plan? Because to me, Axe is very single target, you know, a bit lane focused almost.
I don't think he helps at all. I think this is a hero that does not jump into the ball unless something good is happening already from your teammates. Like they're running away from some Tinker, they're running away from a Phoenix Egg. They have none of that. Lion and Axe are both going to be waiting for LGD to be afraid or overwhelmed by some sort of damage ability or teamfight ability, but it's not coming so far. Like I think Team Spirit need to find a really good pick right now. They need to find a really, really strong pick or something that allows them to then force LGD into their playstyle.
I'm always scared when I have the last pick though. Like if I have the last pick a hero that has to solve conditions and be good in lane and do so many things, like it's so hard to find that perfect pick, right?
Ideally it's 24 and not 23 especially then.
Yeah.
And he also is gonna have to deal with the one-on-one matchup that's gonna come his way in. So I wanna
do you have the final?
Yeah, in the Concat. You see this ball,
perfect.
Like how do you fight into this? Honestly, it is so hard for heroes to fight into this, and they have literally 0 damage. The Spectre Axe is very low damage. This this axe is very low damage. They have no
support's
way.
only on one finger.
Yeah,
all the damage they have.
It's gonna be very difficult, and I want to also mention the Undying versus Spectre. What he does is you plant the Tombstone, and now there's a zombie on every Illu, so there's no Desolate damage, meaning Spectre damage drops dramatically. In my opinion, I mean, I'm very happy to be proven wrong, and there's a reason why these teams are playing the finals and not, but I still see this as being a strategical misread from Spirit.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that changes Dota.
So they're going for the lane snowball here, right? You want to get the TA timing, snowball off that. You have single target, Spectre, you can take control of the map, you get a lot of pickoffs. I can see that as a possible answer, but it's looking scary for me.
They need to play the TA game right now. The TA is a very fast hero. He can go into Roche early, he can snowball and get openings on the map with Deso Blink. I don't know if you know Aghanim's this game so that they can actually do more on the map, but they cannot run into this ball and just click their spells. This is not going to work for Team Spirit.
Yeah, this is not a Spectre versus Magnus game anymore. Like, this is a TA game, they have to win on the back of it, and if they don't, then most likely the game is going to look quite grim for them.
Or they go really late, the Spectre manages to create a lot of chaos, or the TA manages to create a lot of chaos, and Spectre will get bigger and become kind of like a team fight impact, and then maybe you're going to see Axe and Spectre and all these heroes actually come out and shine. A lot of weight on TA's shoulders.
Yeah, LGD has really done a great job with this draft, in my opinion. I think the momentum right now has completely shifted. But yet again, Team Spirit, incredibly talented players, great laning team, great vision, great execution in team fights. They can pull this off. They definitely can.
Keep an eye on those traps.
And we're getting into Game 4 now, but before that, we'll have an interview with Sumi and LGD's coach, Xiaowei.
Hello, everybody, and I am here with PSG.LGD's coach, Xiaoba. It seems that you and the team have managed to put a stop to the momentum of Team Spirit. How did you manage to keep the team calm and reset for this game?
你们把他们的势头止住了，你们是如何保持冷静，然后重组的呢？
我就跟他们说不要怕呀，输了一起扛呀，然后也没什么好怕的，因为就保好自己的，如果就万一就输了也没啥，就明年再干了。
I told them, don't be afraid. If we lose, we tank it together. And I've also told them that if we lose
together, slay together, slay together.
I love that confidence and that team, just that team synergy. The analysts think that you have managed to figure out Team Spirit's strategy. Do you think you have them figured out?
解说们都认为你们已经破解了 Spirit 的战术，你觉得你破解了他们战术吗？
我觉得前两把主要是一个是对面的战术我们比较不适应吧，然后我们自己准备的东西有点打他们不太适合，所以我们打完两把以后做出了调整，我觉得我们应该能拿冠军。
I think for the first two games, what we prepared doesn't really work against their style, but after the first two games, we've adjusted, and as long as we play our own game, I think we'll win the champions.
They will play their own game and also download complete. Thank you very much, Xiaoba. Let's take it to Lyrical and Trent.
Squeeze.
And already right on into this one. Sumi Mira's gonna get caught and gonna get killed. How's that for a start, Trent?
Oh, such a good coach. He just gets us there right in time. Well done. As his team will take first blood.
Very, very good start. Play their own game. That's what we're hearing right now from the coach. Xiaowei so often has been the one to be able to lead his team to success and Aegis himself, but we'll see if they can do it here again. As nothing to say why, they're all invading. Dude, LGD coming out with some confidence saying, this is our high ground, we're coming to take it.
And this is what you get when you keep coming back with this Undying, right? You're very willing to brawl right now.
So they are going to stick around for a moment. Ame spotting out the rest of Team Spirit, moving in that area, getting that extra vision.
Yeah.
The passive, and will we see another round of bounty runes stolen away? Collapse walks on in. Why there? Gets the click-off win. So LGD, they're going to claim 3.
Turns back for more. Wants the brain sap, but can't quite find it here. So yeah, another focus on the lanes for sure here from LGD, but the lanes also seeming to be the win condition right now for Team Spirit. I have to say, you know, it's difficult to disagree when there's a combined 5, you know, Aegis is won by that drafting panel. So I think they might be on something for this whole concept of like needing to snowball things pretty hard here, needing to play around their Templar Assassin, and there's always a chance going late, of course, especially with like the way the Templar Assassin now functions because of her Aghanims, where you can actually get like a little bit of split push out of this hero, which you didn't used to get in the past. But you'd much rather be leading things ahead of the game right now for Team Spirit, and if they don't get that, like they can easily do that with these heroes on the side of PSG.LGD.
Totally. The snowball can definitely occur. And I really liked what we sort of heard about the mentality that was going on as well, as we see Nothing to Say get a D ward there on the Observer ward. Like, you think about the way that Team Spirit has played throughout this. They're playing, you know, just for fun, they say. They're playing without any fear. But for some of these players, that's not an option. Ame, he's been so close before to winning the Aegis and then snatched away at the last second. This is a story for him for redemption.
Yeah, we often hear the pressure of the Chinese community on this team just because, you know, they've obviously looked so good and they've been so close before, and particularly Ame, he's shielded. You know, he's taken some of that blame before in the past, particularly at TI, particularly in a Game 4. You know, the pressure has been there, and it's been a bit much at times. But I have to say, after last game, I think he's probably feeling pretty comfortable here with his Luna.
He's looked amazing in that Spectre game, so we'll see how they deal, as Xingqiu was able to get that pull through and only get the half pull on these creeps connecting it, as Maposhka wants to keep that pressure on Xingqiu. Needs to be careful here. Obviously, only level 1, so doesn't have that Splinter Blast yet on the Wyvern. But they will throw out one more dagger on his way back home.
Just to send him all the way back here. And now, yeah, Collapse. So we talked a lot about Collapse and his hero pool. And, of course, you've heard a lot, I'm sure, about the Mars. Heard a lot about this Magnus that's looked pretty good, but the other hero that he has played a ton of games on professionally is the Axe. Not a hero that's been very big at this TI though.
No, but can often make those huge plays if you can get the opening. The panel did talk a lot about how maybe there's going to be some overlapping things going on with Mira and the Axe, both trying to find that big jump.
That Seb guy? Oh,
yeah.
That's that guy.
Yeah, that's the
with
one.
The Axe. Wow.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But we'll see how it goes here in this one. As you can see already, the chase down, Faith Beyond, taking a little bit of a beating here on this Magnus. Xingqiu moves into position though, and at least for the moment, you can see that Spectre taking a little bit of heat early, not able to get all those last hits yet. Collapse also trying to go toe-to-toe with Ame in the bottom lane on that Luna.
Yeah, there's a reason that statistically Undying has almost always been one of the absolute best heroes versus the Spectre. Whenever you're just talking about like just raw data in terms of games played, and that's because like you get some pressure in lane sometimes if you get this sort of a matchup. That's always nice, right? Spectre likes to be left alone. But more importantly, when you get into the mid game with the Tombstone drop down, you actually get all these zombies popping up, right? And it really ruins the team fight for the Spectre, especially when you're trying to deal some damage there with the Desolate.
You can see a bit of a rundown again as Toro playing as far forward as he can, but has to be very wary of those skewer backs that we've seen time and again, is why we'll get a little bit of a chase onto Mira. The Lucid Beam and dead. I just takes him down.
Collapse just can't do anything. Just like, no. Sorry, you know, I'm just going for some creeps here. It does have 20 last hits compared to the 9 of Ame, so, you know, I mean, that's a sacrifice that you're willing to make.
He's hitting pretty hard. Already the Ring of Health done. Obviously came there with that Quelling Blade and a lot of armor. Collapse having a good one on the Axe in the laning stage. This is what they need.
Well, that is actually a really interesting one too, right? Actually going for this this Vanguard. Because, you know, a lot of heroes, they're going for the Helm. They're building into something else based off of the Helm, the Iron Will. But Collapse able to go for this cheaper Vanguard. But for Axe, that's an item that can actually accelerate your farm quite a bit with the Ancients.
Why? Get chased a little bit there, but will back out afterwards. And you can see at least now the very slight lead that we're seeing into the favor of LGD. Nothing really to write home about. Both the mids doing fine. We haven't really seen either that many stacks on the Ancients. None done up yet, as some good damage there out on the Bane. Gonna chase down Lucid Beam. Will it be enough? I don't think so. Why? Oh, maybe it will. All right, the rotation comes in, and they will be able to keep their Bane alive.
Yeah, he was buying out there. He wasn't sure he was gonna live, so he's gonna run all the way home. But there are the stacks that you were just mentioning. A double done there by Maposhka in the dire jungle. So something for this Templar Assassin to fall back to. They want to stack her up nice and early. When you're trying to play around this Templar Assassin, you can stack your Ancients, you can stack all of your neutrals across the map, and she can cleave through them very, very quickly. Just trying to align these earlier items like the Blink or the Deso, maybe a Falcon Blade in these times right now. So they need to enable her to get this game online.
Yeah, and of course, then if you're LGD, you're going to look to try and go in there and invade those stacks and get some damage dealt. But already, a Torrent combo comes out. Y makes that move towards the mid lane that he always does. and just trying to burn through the refraction instances and make Toronto Tokyo a little bit less comfortable.
Yeah, not a matchup we see all too often, honestly, with the Kunkka and the Templar, but you do have that interaction, as you're mentioning, where you can get multiple instances of damage from the Torrent, so burning through that, and, well, Toronto Tokyo, I'm going to come take a look here and say, oh, yeah, nicely done. I think I'll stack this up one more time.
And Mira also stacks all across the map.
What I really like, too, is this defensive ward that they have right next to that stack they're doing, because you often see this ward used like late game when you're talking about like Roche and everything, you're trying to cover that, but a lot of teams are coming in contesting neutral stacks right now. It's one of the themes of this tournament is up top. Well, that's another good theme.
Toro, is he going to live, though? With the cold embrace, they don't feel confident going for him.
On the level 6 rotation from the Kunkka, very disappointing to not get the kill, and they can't even really follow up the tower pressure, but on the other side of the map.
Collapse. Going to take some damage there. Creeps run off of him. And with a couple quick hits, will they have another Lucent Beam for the finish? Vanguard keeping him very ticky. It goes away for the spin.
Swing
Has
lagi.
to be careful on why. There's the Fairy Fire living, but the brain sap. Enough to finish him.
I can tell you, this guy must not have got very many Crimson Witnesses, because he is not lucky.
No. Not enough spins there for the Axe, and a good usage of the Nightmare to take those creeps off to stop the potential counterplay.
Well, they get their kill in the bottom lane, but the missed gank on the Spectre gave so much free time to Toronto Tokyo, as again, another stack. And well, if you don't go for that kill, the other option for the Kunkka is moving through that jungle, doing that rotation, checking out the stack, seeing what's there, maybe stealing a couple, of course. And yeah, will surely make his way over there. And why I'm just going to say, I think we'd like to maybe get an eye on these ones at the very least. We'll block for future stacks, but can they even come and contest this?
There's already a lot of gold built into that. That's going to be such a big injection. And the thing about the TA is you just take it so quickly, and maybe if they pair together with Collapse, already having that Vanguard done.
Yeah, it's a tough call too, right? Like, because if you want to move in there, let's say, PSG.LGD. Oh, good, we have time to think about it at the very least. You have the night vision bonus. That's there, right?
Sekarang Toronto Tokyo yang sakit perut.
2.5 minutes to work with. You're not going to have any Eclipse early there. So, you're obviously stacking with Blessing, you're getting yourselves your Glaives. But you also have Undying, you have Kunkka. I would say it's very tempting for them to come and contest this and at least like try and mess with them to try and get some of the XP.
Well, they're going to drop the boat already. Mira a little bit off the mark with the stun.
Kan dia bikin nickname kan Toronto Tokyo gara-gara ini ya. Katanya Tokyo itu kelihatan keren dari namanya terlihat indah. Sama Toronto itu juga jadi fans gue.
Jadi digabung.
Orang Indonesia begini mana ya? Bogor orang ini.
Apa kalau Indonesia? Bogor Jember.
Are they really going to go for the
Jakarta Bandung udah kayak gitu kayak LDR-an.
I say do it. Yeah,
he goes for it.
Saya pengen tempat di
sini. For the team, the two support,
Udah
there's an
ambil,
Axe and a Templar Assassin.
Oh my God, they're just going to get him.
There's another lane.
Dah. Beruber.
Iya emang enak sih. Andain tuh. Tonton gedein terus bisa ngambil aja. Bantuin ancient.
Game changernya Andain.
Kalau kayak gini udah kacau sih. Soalnya makan bang. Ancient yang tadinya di stack malah diembat.
Dia kalau udah agak gendut dikit juga sulit mati. Bisa ngeteng, bisa.
Kan jadi space banget kan. Nih kenapa space Ancient diambil, nggak ada yang dapat Team Spirit. Terus 4 orang, 5 orang datang ke Ancient. Sementara carry-nya PSG ngadem di atas. Ngadem di atas sama di bawah. Portnya juga. Makanya kan.
LGD, they found their mojo. This is what they needed.
That is a large lead. 4K right now at 9 minutes.
Langsung 4K. Kena satu aksi.
And look where it is. I mean, it's just all stacked on the cores right now for PSG.LGD.
Poshka scouting out. Y off to the side. Toro there as well. He's looking for it. They move over. Faith Beyond's here as well. And with this Helm of the Dominator creep, it should be enough. And also
apakah kita akan melihat Dokter Tirta menangis di game 5?
It's so cheap, right? It's just a nightmare into a torrent. They're threatening the whole time. We've got RP. We've got Vote. You don't want to come contest this. They're going to have Fiend's Grip pretty soon here as well for Y. As he goes for a real deep ward.
Sudah tahu siapa yang menang.
That was ping though. All right, they have an idea that that's there.
That ward is going to scout it out.
Yeah, good thing that was there. So those very deep wards on the earlier end will be instantly TP2 by Maposhka, and just give them that. I don't think so.
Yeah, see, this is the LGD we expected to see. Up 5,000 net worth right now at 10 minutes in. What a turnaround that they've been able to have. As this series was looking dire straits for them after the first 2 games, but now coming into this, game number 4. everything's going their way.
All right, well, in the past, what has turned these games around for Team Spirit? It's been collapse. Showing up, making the plays, but he's got some time. Wants to get that Blink Dagger done on the Axe first. In the meantime, there are a lot of heroes coming to his mid tower.
Oh my god, they're bringing numbers. Everybody's here. Maposhka, level 5 on that Wyvern, going to try and throw out these Splinter Blasts and slow things down as much as possible, but that tier 1 tower is already dead.
Yeah, they're just holding the Tombstone. Again, such a great job of just like not expending anything, right? They're just threatening. They're just holding all this strength.
And collapse. They caught him again. The Nightmare's there. Do they have enough for the kill, though?
Oh, yeah.
They are going to chase him down. Wait for it. Fiend's Grip afterwards. Easy as pie. They take him down.
Again, dia DP juga bisa di skill 2.
This is a stomping we got right here.
Beda sama Taat.
Toro is going to need to play his heart out right now.
He is so far behind Ame.
It's insane.
He's almost getting doubled up on right now.
Like, the Undying is almost caught up to him in terms of net worth with that Tombstone dropping in the Ancient Steel. Such an impressive performance for them in Team Spirit. They just really don't have an answer right now.
It felt like they got lost halfway through the draft, and they still haven't found their way.
Well, and you think about that draft, right? They burned through so much of that reserve time early on. And in the end, we're left trying to find a perfect hero, and so far the TA hasn't been able to do it for him.
Part of that is just that it's such a one-dimensional plan that not only can you like prepare during the draft as what to do, but in the actual game, like they were so quick to come in and ward up these agents. Sure, they missed out on some of the plays in the top of some of those neutrals, but the contestant there, the space
gara-gara fokusnya ke TA. TA-nya juga dibilang miskin enggak banget, tapi ke preso.
And this has to be like the biggest
gede di hutan anjing.
And Deso reveal on a TA of all
12 menit 6k
TA-nya nyari ini.
Of course, that also means that LGD need to be the ones that
tapi kalau kata gue sih, game 3 Team Spirit kenapa nggak LGD yang menang karena kutukan sih.
You've got that winner's curse.
Itu doang.
Gue percaya sama kutukan Cina, bro.
The combo is there if they can find
ini masalahnya Team Spirit lagi dikutuk Adit tuh. Foto profilnya.
And now the slowdown, Mira in some trouble, collapsed back behind the tower.
Kok ya tiap dia ganti foto profil ke siapa dari kemarin kalah terus timnya.
Ini kalau bahasa Cinanya kontol.
Kemarin ya dia ganti Oji, besoknya Oji kalah, ganti T1, besoknya T1 kalah. Nah, tadi dia kan masih T1, terus kan menang 2 kali Team Spirit, dia ganti Team Spirit langsung kalah.
Maposhka was thinking about leaving himself in behind there and maybe finding a winner's curse if they want to actually contest to the tower, but I think the call's been made from the rest of Team Spirit that they're just not ready for that yet.
Yeah, they need those items. Need to hit that timing.
7 kill lead, 7,000 gold lead, and Ame's still hitting creeps.
I mean, he's just doing what he needs to in this one. Taking a look already at that win probability, they're heavily into the favor of LGD.
Put that away. Don't, come on. We got a game going here.
My goodness gracious. The Nightmare is down. Poshka going to trade it over onto him. They have this blink. Want to reveal, but the only people down here are supports. And that's not big enough.
Game 2
also covering it all.
Rada game 4 ngorok aja.
Maybe now Team Spirit can at least try and pressure and get this tower and get some momentum going for themselves.
Langsung Ame main game kok gampang banget. Tadi masih ngantuk game 1-2.
You can already see them struggling here though, right? Like they're bringing everyone down here. They're looking for that fight.
Yeah.
Everything that they
need.
Trying to find the sight lines for the Templar assassin.
Oh, and Toro caught. Fiend's Grip is there. No help nearby. Oh, they're going to kill off that Spectre.
I love seeing Q doing that, just dropping the Tombstone. It's just such an important kill for them that they're willing to throw at everything that they have right there.
And immediately afterwards, they're thinking about going to Roche. I mean, why not at this point?
They could Roche, they could start pressuring that tier 2 top, but the tier 2 top is a lot riskier, right? You're going to have this attempted call from the Axe. I will say they actually don't have great vision right now onto that high ground, so theoretically, if there was something there from Team Spirit, maybe they'd have a chance, but perhaps they just have a really good read that they are all in the bottom lane right now, waiting for them to come to that bottom tower. And it's taken so fast.
So Roche gonna be claimed. And again, Team Spirit needing to find an answer as LGD want to try and close
Kenapa Cina bakal kalah? LGD bakal kalah? Karena bulu tangkisnya kalah nih.
in a dominant position.
Dan TI juga kalah.
Already Y is going to head up here, try and get down to D4.
Tapi ini bener loh, kalau Nur nonton langsung menang LGD, Cok.
LGD will retreat back, get their next set of items, and then be ready to go.
Kalah, Cok. Dia tadi kan nonton game 1 game 2.
Oh gitu. Ya suruh nonton aja.
Enggak, jangan lah.
Masalahnya nontonnya gak mabar masalahnya.
Ntar aja game 5 baru dia nonton.
Team Spirit now find themselves in that situation. And one thing that they obviously recognized when they played that Luna strat was just stay together. Don't let the pickoffs happen. Can they find a pickoff right here? No. Look how safe. Nothing safe playing there with the X.
Zinq might be the one that gets found. The jump forward call, it's off the mark. And instead, he just heads off to the side. There's the root. Collapse has to back out of here. I mean, there's more people coming nearby. Toronto, Tokyo gets skewered back.
Oh, di skewer.
Dibales kau. But the winner's course is trying to turn this boat afterwards. Finishes off. That's it, but it's not enough.
Iya.
It's not nearly enough.
Ya,
And if they're not careful, they
ngantuk itu
might
dari
lose
LGD.
more. The chase forward has Mira
Biasanya kan
on the
disiplin ya,
X.
sekarang maju-maju udah. Ngantuk nih bos,
Lion back
cepet selesain.
And find another kill. LGD no mercy.
No mercy.
No mercy. Mercy kan.
Apa nih judul terus yang bagus nih?
It is looking right for Team Spirit.
Nggak bisa bahasa Inggris.
I don't know.
Because something happened.
They turned up on
Redemption lah.
Not gonna go out like that.
Dark Horse versus Redemption. Waduh.
It's looking like a
The
completely
Young
different
Boss
series
versus
this
veteran.
Team Spirit, you know, the fun loving. We're just having a good
The
time.
another fail sih kalau kata gua kalau LGD
Good times
kalah.
might have come to an end right now, at least in this game, and you know it gets to the
Itu
point where the
udah
game
offensive
continues.
banget
You
sih.
just wonder like how much
Langsung
is this impacting
ngomel
the
ke
looking like
Volvo.
potential game 5.
Fail.
Judul yang bener dong.
Again,
Yang
you
bikin
never
judul
count
bener
this out.
dong.
We've seen
gini.
teams come back from more than this against
Old
LGD.
straight by
That's a win a
Yo,
try.
kan pemain baru nih, TS.
Can they
Nge-slay
do it
pemain
again
tua,
here? Spectre,
LGD.
so often that late game answer, and they just need to find a good fight on Team Spirit to pull this one back. Question is, will LGD give it to them? Underneath a ward, this could be the way it starts.
They've played so ridiculously clean this game, though. Just not offering up anything over to Team Spirit. Now, they do have some good vision down in that bottom jungle. If there was ever a chance to go for something, it's probably towards that part of the map right now. But Faith Beyond not acting like it, you know? Sitting directly on a trap, and they still can't go.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to really fight into this. Oh, Toronto, Tokyo, skewer!
Dapat tuh.
They'll find the TA, wants to get out of here.
Kok hilang?
MMR 2 kakak.
Tokyo able to get a little bit of separation, but they still have that night vision and
Yeah.
Faith Beyond. With the chase down, they got him there to the side. Nobody coming to help the TA.
Udah capek sih itu.
Tokyo falls
Toronto tuh.
again.
Udah kayak bisa ngomong kayak gini nggak sih kita?
12K gold lead.
Ya udahlah.
Tapi Toronto Tokyo nggak mau ini, nggak mau ngetik GG gara-gara yang megang game dia doang.
That is going to be their go play. They might have
Ya Toro
email
juga.
there too.
He just gets caught.
Iya, Toronya di
Until
mana
then,
dia
it's
tuh?
just throwing out heroes. You know, take me.
Makanya jadi yang turn
Try and
back-nya
slow
tuh
down
kudu
this
si
tower push.
Toronto yang berjasa.
How close are we now to that Aghanim Scepter? It's what, 50 gold away
Ya,
for this
Toronto
Spectre?
doang lah.
It's been a
minoritas
fantastic
tidak
item,
punya suara.
but as you heard Seb and Notail say, the damage is lacking, and they needed that early lead to actually provide some damage. They needed the items on Team Spirit. They don't have the items.
Right.
Gini, coba Rijan. Isi Instagram gua story-nya tuh Dota. Kenapa lu 4 biji Genshin?
Chaos happens and you get a giant curse or something. They're just not being presented that opportunity.
Lu kenapa?
If there is one hero that's very good at
Ini
bringing
zamannya
Spectre,
internasional,
there's
bukan
question
dari
marks
Impact.
everywhere. You're not sure
Genshin
where the
Impact
real one
bukan.
is, and then it's providing vision to the rest of Team Spirit, and then you find the jump. An Axe, a hero that
Mengganggu banget kan gue cek Dota dokter kita juga isinya nge-Dota. Gue Ronaldo Dota. Tiba-tiba Rizan Rida kenapa Genshin nyanyi-nyanyi? Gue nggak ngerti bro. Tolong jelasin kenapa. Kalau kayak pantat, kenapa?
Gak boleh rasis bro. Menghargai.
Gua
harus
nggak masalah. Lu gay, lu lesbi, lu cewek.
Selalu kan pemain Genshin.
Lu pemain Genshin Impact. Tapi kalau lu pemain Genshin Impact, gak ada itu yang namanya toleransi. Muka lu butai.
Team Spirit, you know, they felt the situation.
Ada Genshin Impact di story-story gua gak boleh.
It's not a good one though.
Dota, pemain Dota kan katanya friendly.
That is really painful. Maybe if there's an opportunity right here, but jump in!
Kata siapa friendly?
Are you kidding me? Faith Beyond able to make the play happen. And now focusing down the barracks at 20 minutes. 17 to 1.
I mean, Collapse is smoked up here, but I don't even know if there's a play. Obviously, you have to wait till the Templar Assassin's back.
They're hoping for something, anything at this point.
They just got mana for Shadow Step.
There's a chance, there's a hope, but will it actually come to fruition? I am not sure. Team Spirit just do not have an answer at all.
They pop drums, jump them, collapse.
Oh my goodness. They just have to give it up. There's no other answer. There's still a tier 1 down bottom at the very least. But, I mean, at this point, LGD
lagi
can
nonton
tier 4 maybe.
soal sendiri.
Iya bang.
Genshin bisa apa?
Not a lot of teams really
Bacok ngepamer apa damage di grup.
Dota masa nggak ada pamer damage?
Sieging ability that they have, as well as
Pamer
the
menang,
Soul Crest
bos.
too. So
Pamer
there's so many
hasil.
teams looking for these saving heroes and empowering
Pamer
heroes on
skill.
like the one big carry.
Pamer
And
duit.
Undying just looking like a perfect answer when you
Kalau
also have Spectre
bagi
in the
orang
game.
memang
And I just think again,
apa yang mau dibanggain itu pure hoki.
to be able to pull this
Apa
back
yang mau
on that
dibanggain?
Spectre in game 3 and now
Karena
in game
CCP
4
bro.
on the Luna playing incredibly
CCP
clean
apa
Dota.
cecep?
Constantly 4-0 and 7.
Yep.
Ya bro,
Does
itu
not
gak ada
want to
skillnya
repeat
bro,
history
artefak hoki-hokian.
Oh god, did I cast a
Dota
curse?
tuh.
Oh no.
Skillnya ada 6, ada 5. Genshin skill cuma 2. Sama
I don't
apa?
think you have that much power.
Ulti.
Skill biasa.
Sama skill biasa.
Hold on, let me check Kyle's Twitter.
Yeah.
Just make sure.
Dani Aditya aja yang pincang.
Aduh.
Does manage to
Genshin
escape,
2
but
skillnya.
the axe is down. Toronto, Tokyo.
ML aja
Cancels?
3.
Nah, ML 3. Ada yang 4 pakai Sun.
I mean, I
Ini
guess
2.
that, yeah.
Dan dia bilang game terbaik.
That's true. Fair enough.
Now where do you go is a bit of a question.
I
I'll
mean,
give you
might
that.
just be dead if you're not careful.
Terbaik dari apa?
Tokyo, gotta
Game
be careful there.
3D.
Oh, I know this one from my pubs. Yeah.
Ya, Dota 3D juga, Cok.
Gak ada ujungnya. Mending lu main Winning Eleven ada ujungnya.
But nothing to say. Still got him in the
Bola.
sights. Able to throw out that Earth Spike, but they're hunting for more.
Ini gila Mira.
Oh, good blink away by Mira, and Toro able to get the TP out.
Mira
but
ketangkep.
Mira,
Ini kenapa
the
bisa
one that's
18
gonna pay for the sins, will end up falling there to ZQ, and now they're heading up again.
Game apa
Take
ini,
Beyond
Jin?
has had this troll for so long. I feel like he wants to end the game with it. You know, like reward it.
Ini
for
udah
his
makin
servitude.
pede lagi sih.
Ini Team Spirit perlu reset lah.
Iya, udah nggak bisa, udah
Capable
nggak
of
bisa.
respawning, but they're looking to just try and end
X-nya
this
udah
right
BM
now.
belum sih?
No Magnus to
Oh,
pull him back
udah.
into the fountain. There's the jump to start it.
This has to be
Berharap
the jump, right?
ada titik
Voshka
balik.
behind. He's got Winner's Curse waiting
Ngarep
for an
apa,
opportunity,
Cin?
but can they get an opening?
Kayak
No TA for
begini.
10 seconds.
Tapi gimana ya? Itu call-nya X juga bisa di cancel pakai ban anjir. Tinggal tidulin aja carry. Udah nggak bakal nyerang.
Maju pun
Have to let it go for the moment
Andai
from
masih
Voshka. They still got a
beneran
ward
mengganggu
here.
war.
And now they
Expect
don't.
Masih bisa,
Collapse has been smoked
masih
for
bisa
so
nge-up, bisa
They just
apa.
can't
Udah
find
lah,
an opening.
gue next
LGD
aja,
just
bukan
this
apa-apa.
impenetrable
Belum
wall
ada
that doesn't break formation.
Yeah, they just keep
bak
popping
ultinya
them, they can't
Magnus
find
sama
their
ultinya
fight.
Luna.
Belum juga ada.
They might even be running low at
Kalau
this point.
BM lu sakit gak ada ban,
19-1.
tinggal di kapal. Keras.
Hit dari jauh, plus 5 orang kena crit.
Respawned.
Iya,
LGD.
itu kenapa ban-nya bisa 6-0 masalahnya. Jago, Cin. Lunanya 4-0, ban-nya 6-0, itu kenapa?
This is not the way you want to go into a game 5 from Team Spirit. It's one thing to just like have a loss and sort of be like,
Aku
okay,
paling
you know, we couldn't close it out in 3. but
cuma
that's
main
cool.
Team Spirit ya, kita main aja dulu lah, biar gak kayak kalah-kalah
Ya,
banget lah ya.
kita hack-an aja ya.
Biar gak kayak OG kalahnya setidaknya gitu.
Faith Beyond pulls back
Masih
there.
berapa menit
Dual
gitu.
scepter afterwards,
OG
but
lebih
nobody's
mending
close
tuh kalahnya.
enough to turn that into a fight. Another shadow step used just to
Iya sih,
slow
kayak
down
gini
Faith
juga.
Beyond from going in for another round of this.
Toronto Tokyo's
19
POP ini Team Spirit dijokin sama anak
possible to hold on that
Genshin.
one tier 2, right?
Ini ngapain
Force them to
dah?
go for the throne.
Ya udah mau ngapain lagi, udah capek gripin aja udah.
Ame, he's ready.
Ya,
Tuh kan, tuh lihat tuh. Winter Covernya nggak diserang, tiba-tiba mati.
Gigi segan.
And so
Kalah
far,
pun
he's
tak mau.
doing it. Turns now onto the ancient hot out afterwards. Where's the fight? I'm not seeing it.
Sudah,
Going
sudah.
deadless so far. They turn now into Y. Just
Udah lama-lama.
Dikasihani sama LGD. Di lawan warnya disamperin, gak ngehit ancurin.
Udah capek-capek ya kan bikin BKB, kena counter digelitikin badannya. Langsung
Did he get a blink call?
It didn't happen.
Ayo bro.
Like,
it was just too good.
Whole game, that was
S
crazy.
game kata LGD.
They never came online. Quite frankly, like this
Stay
lineup
down.
was not allowed to
Tadi
operate
kita
in
2-0
any
kalah
facet
lawan game.
whatsoever for Team Spirit.
Timnas.
And it may be even in game score. It's 2-2, but it's not feeling like there's much of a chance right now.
I mean,
you got to regroup.
You know, No-Tail and Seb, they were talking about
Ini
body
ada
language coming into
apa?
that. How about this body
Bantuan
language
jalinan
right here?
kasih gitu. Terus gambarnya nenek makan nasi pakai mie. Terus ada komen bang kok makannya pakai nasi. Ya karena nggak ada duit. Terus dilihat dari mukanya nggak ada duit. Kenapa tuh nanya?
TI repeat potentially for some. All right.
They're okay though.
Siapa itu BTW ngebetim Spirit tadi?
But what an unbelievable experience.
Aku sih
LGD to be able to pull this back from that 2-0 start.
3-2 lah ya.
All right, it's okay though. You just say like.
Tim Spirit pas ngelihat
I think we can all agree the draft looked rough. The game looked rough. So you go forward, you shift
Lagian
things
cuma
up, and
125.000
Team Spirit
ini
will hopefully
kan.
give us more of a challenge for LGD in Game 5.
Optimistic as always. We'll see if it ends up playing out. But for now, let's head back to the panel.
The series is tied 2-2. We will go into a Game 5 here in these grand finals at the International 10. I'm joined by BSJ, Effie, and Jenkins, and we're going to break down that Game 4. Jenkins, I want to start with well, let's start with Team Spirit doubling their skill score there in the final second.
I don't know if there's any breaking down these games. Like, I legit don't. This shit is scripted. It's scripted. Like, how does every TI end like this? At some point, it's got to stop. I don't understand.
Berarti benar tadi dapat transferan itu. Yang waktu di Paris sama Team Spirit, Valve nge-SMS, CC mas. Ngalas ya mas.
Oh my god.
Malah
LGD's lost it. They're done.
Mesti transfer
And
ini.
then that happens.
Literally
whatever you think will happen
Mas Gaben.
won't happen. So what do we do? How can I break that down?
Jangan
I'm
dulu
sorry.
Spirit dong.
I just can't believe it. Year after year, TI, it just delivers.
It is just delivering, Effie. It's a great series.
Well, there's so much to say, but I just want to comment on the mental fortitude that PSG.LGD just showed, because a lot of us in the green room, we were sitting and watching the game, right? And after those two stomps, quite frankly, by Spirit, we were just thinking, did they do it? Did they mentally break down PSG.LGD? But no, they walked off, they regrouped. Everyone thought they were so stubborn with that Magnus, but they beat them.
Nobody expected that. Everybody was like, oh my god, they let Magnus through again. They're so stubborn. What are they doing? Literally everybody was wrong. I can tell you, I was
Itu rambutnya ngeselin dah, kena headset.
in that stadium. Every single person was saying, what is wrong with them? I was reading Twitter. What is wrong with them? They let the Magnus through.
But that's why they're on Twitter. That's why they're in the stadium, and that's why they're not playing.
Experts.
Okay, so we talk about the fact that they lost the draft in Game 4, but we have to think about the mind games coming through this entire 4-game series so far, and they got Mag, lost with it, to a Spectre, and then they're like, oh, we'll give LGD Mag this time. We'll pick Spectre. But it was the Undying with the Spectre that was really causing the issues. And it's just not... They lost to the way that they lost, which has to be some sort of mental defeat.
Tiru aja draftnya tadi.
I hope whatever I said made more sense than what Jenkins was talking about.
Nothing makes sense. You're pretending. This is a facade. Nobody knows what's going on right now. Probably not even LGD or Spirit.
I think they have a little bit of an idea what's going on. Right? So they let the Magnus through twice. They lost to it. I think they just didn't expect Spirit to be so strong. Like they were coming off of their win against Secret, and they were feeling themselves.
Ngikutin draftnya aja. Tapi mainnya gimana?
They kept up the tempo. They cast all their spells correctly. They played with confidence. But that Mag loss, that first one, broke them. And then to take it the next game and beat them with it convincingly. I'm worried about Spirit's mental state right now, actually, because this is where the difference in experience comes in between these two teams.
I'm better all up by myself. So I'm better off all by myself. I'm feeling kinda empty without somebody.
They have so far there's been 3
lebih baik
before this is the third TI that there's a Game 5
better
in
off
a
all
grand
by
final.
myself.
So PSG.LGD has already
Ketika
experienced this. They were already in a game 5
sendiri ya kayaknya.
with Ame actually as well.
Ketika
It's a little
Eji
bit different this
jauh
time
gitu
because
dengan
in the previous one they were
Nah, ini
up
dari
2-1 going into
quote
game 4.
quote
They were
sedih
up by
Quote
50K,
dari
I believe, in
quote
game
sedih
4,
dari
and OG
ini
made this
dari
crazy
Discordnya
comeback,
YouTuber
and
kita.
instead they've got
Iya
all
dah.
the momentum going
Gimana
in.
gimana?
I
I'm
feel like
better
they feel
all by myself.
strategically
Stop and
superior.
kinda
They're like, oh, those
envy
first two
because somebody
games, like
else.
Oh
whatever
alah,
happened,
jadi
you know,
aku
shake it
lebih
off.
baik
They
sendiri,
had only
Iya,
lost
kan
two
lebih
games
sendiri kan.
throughout the
aku
entirety
rasa
of the TI
ada yang
prior to that
kosong kalau gak ada
series.
orang
So
lain.
this, I think LGD is
Itu
in a way better
dari
spot.
VTuber favorit kita.
They looked broken. I'm
Gue
not
lebih baik
gonna
sendiri
beat around the bush.
daripada
I saw
gue
the
merasa
cameras on
kosong,
them and I was
tapi
thinking,
ada
oh
ada
god, they're
seseorang. Ya
done.
intinya
They
gitu lah.
looked so
Intinya
good.
ya,
They looked
ya
sad. Their eyes were
intinya
watering.
sih
Like, and then that
Enggak
happened.
itu
I
arti
saw
arti yang kamu artikan itu
Intinya-
lebih parah itu.
Intinya
turning
ansos,
point. I
intinya
think that
ansos.
draft
Enggak sih,
pokoknya dia
dia
lebih
selalu bilang
mending
gini,
sendiri lah.
it
kalau
gave
bisa
them
sendiri
it
ya
gave
ngapain
them
sama
the
orang
taste
lain
for
gitu.
blood again.
Ya,
And then in
Mungkin
the
karena dia
next
emang
game, it's just
bukan
like
ansos juga,
they're just
kayak
back to like
Tahu
Cap-
MO
LGD,
withoutnya
you
ya,
know,
without.
it's what they said in an
capek
interview.
berurusan dengan
They learned from the
orang
losses
yang
and they're
rame,
salah.
grateful
capek
to the
rame-rame.
enemy teams
Dengan
for
orang yang
giving them
salah.
the opportunity
Itu
to win.
capek
That's how I
rame-rame
felt
kayaknya
after
tetangga lu
the
lagi
Tinker
nikahan
game.
masang dangdut.
We
Lu
we
capek
heard
rame-rame.
Shawty right after
Mana dari jam 9
and he
malam
was saying
baru dimulai
that
dangdut.
some of the things that he told the team in
Coba
between
kita
games
baca-bacain lagi
before game 4
quote
was
sedih.
don't be
Itu ngomong di
afraid.
mana BTW?
If we lose
Mbak,
together, we
ini
lose
apa namanya?
together. And
Bio-nya
otherwise, we
gitu.
always have next year, Effie.
B-nya yang
Yang
sekarang.
bilang
I mean, that's just
Gue pengen lihat
like
itu.
coach to be, but
youtubernya.
I think that right
Kemarin.
now
Bio player
LGD
ini
are just
Genshin
in
nih.
a position to take it all. And
Oh,
as
di
amazing as
Genshin.
their trip
Orang
has been,
orang
they've
yang
got the
join.
momentum now on LGD. And
Orang-orang cringe.
just hopefully, regardless of the outcome,
Oh,
both teams should be proud of
benar
themselves
sih.
for what they've done today.
Yeah, we've highlighted team spirit a lot because obviously they were on match point
Bakal
for
nonton
2 games.
timnya
Now,
ternyata
we are going to highlight PSG.LGD a little bit
You
more
taught the
because
lesson to
now
me
they
that I
are
had to
also
learn.
on match point, and
Anjay.
one of these two teams will take
Oke,
home
kamu
$18 million
mengajarkanku pelajaran yang
and the
harus
World
Harus
Championship.
tahu yang
harus
harus
aku
apa jadi.
pelajari.
A lot on the line
Jadi
for
learn
this
it the hard
one
way.
game of Dota 2.
Be better and
So far,
greedy
we
ya.
only have
Ini Israel
5
nih. Ini
players
Yahudi ini.
in the world
Be
that have
better and greedy.
a
Orang
two-time
Israel
TI
itu mata
championship
duitan
to
tuh.
their names. If PSG.LGD were to
Enggak
win
tahu.
this
Mana sih
game
yang
5,
sedih-sedih
we'll have
VTuber
7 in
kok.
total because Faith Beyond and Y were on the
Aku
winning
nanti
roster
Orang-orang
jadi
going into TI
VTuber
season.
depressing.
And they will also have a
Bentar
100%
ini
win
Aris ya?
rate at TI because they have only played
Aris.
TI 6
Lu ada
prior.
ini
Isn't that
tell the
crazy?
world a little
Yeah,
about
they're
yourself.
doing the OG, but instead of taking like 6 months off, they take 4 years.
Kenapa Haris?
Ini.
But you know,
Gimana,
we talk
gimana?
about the money. I'm
Ikutin
a bit
dari
of a math nerd
Haris.
myself.
Kirim
I'm looking
di
at
General
$13
Boss.
million between
Ya,
the two
itu
teams, between
lu
first and
Hidup
kalau
seperti
second.
mau
roda.
bikin
Average 40-minute game.
status
That's
di
about 300K
Discord kan
a
defaultnya
minute
itu ya
that
buat
they're playing
tebelin
game with Dota.
doang.
If you average 10 CS a minute,
Oh,
that seems
itu
pretty
anunya
reasonable.
Discord
Mau
anjir.
Every
bikin
time you
mau
hit a
bikin
creep,
status di
that's
Discord dah.
$30,000
Itu
to
deskripsi di
win this game.
Discord.
Abotnya
Itu
Discord itu.
That is such a
placeholdernya
carry
itu
when
tell the
breaking it
world a little about yourself ya.
down.
Buat
Okay,
tebelin
so
doang.
from an perspective,
Gua
for every
kontol.
death, it's
Di user profile kan ada.
$300,000 for every
Iya,
death
set
you
profile.
feed. There's the offlane
Tapi
perspective.
aku lagi
It's more
ini
like a
streamer
million.
mode jadi
You're
gak
not
bisa
gonna.
lihat.
Actually, for you, you'd probably die that
Managers.
math. Never mind.
Keren banget kata-kata.
No, there
User
is a lot
user
of pressure
profile.
indeed with the money on the
Yang
line.
mana
Working,
sih?
sleeping,
Prestige
eating
on
every
the
day,
line
but
as
there's no
well.
rock at
And
all. Ya gimana
on the,
orang
on
lu?
the flip side,
Oh
having
iya, user
two-time
profile,
champ,
tell the
nothing to say, has
but
not
yourself.
been
Itu
at his
default
best
Akbar
anjir.
deh, lu lihat Akbar deh,
This
lu
is
lihat
his
punya
first
Akbar.
one, and he is
Gue.
has a potential to
Punya
become
Akbar.
the next Royal Road. The last Royal Road we had was Thompson and TI8. Before that, it was GH, TI7.
Si monyet
It before that,
Aku juga
full
bodo
wings
amat.
lineup.
Mana Akbar? Oh ini.
It is pretty crazy because all those
Chief
names we
Miner.
hear.
Anjir, wah, Chief Miner. Oh, ini nih.
Tops and DH, they're some of the best
Dagang
players
organ ini
in their
nih.
roles still are.
Kacau nih
And
mafia
it
nih.
just gives me
Mana
a
sih lihat
lot of giddiness
Mana
for
si
the
siapa
season
Tot?
and the seasons to come, Effie.
BDM game
And
jelek.
just speaking of
Goblok.
nothing to say,
Apa
he
BDM
rose to
lagi?
prominence and kind of made himself known through Tinker. He was just a pub
Lihat
star
gimana itu
spam Tinker,
kata-kata
much to
sebut
everyone's
tadi.
annoyance.
Hah?
And the hero
Di
that kept
lihat
them
di
in
mana?
the TI Grand
Masjid,
Finals
nggak bisa kan lu
was
masjid?
Tinker. So it's just everything goes back full circle. Every
Panas
TI
Tot
has
ke
some
masjid
kind of
Tot.
magical story, and it's
Tapi
just
dulu lu
incredible that we
ke
can see
masjid
this
gak sih?
level of Dota come out
Ya kayak masjid
consistently
lah
from
dia.
new players
Enggak apa gak
every
pernah
year, it
ke
feels
masjid?
It's very reminiscent of
Iya,
Tops
pernah
and
lah.
Pug, though.
Oh pernah.
I got
Tahu
hanging
berarti.
out in the last series.
All right.
Oh no.
I believe
Just a thing.
that
Yoi, just a thing. Trying to understand human. Waduh.
a best of 5 like this. If you do this,
Hanya
every
sesuatu
CS is worth
yang mencoba
30,000
mengerti manusia.
goddamn dollars. Then you should receive an
Ini namanya
honorary
banget.
PhD in
If you
psychology
aim at
from
nothing, you
like
hit nothing.
Harvard
Bener.
or wherever.
Gak salah.
I don't know if it works that way, but I will tell you that
You think you are
TI grand
everything
finals
but
history
nothing.
it's never happened
Mak
that someone
minta
did a
kikut lah,
reverse sweep.
bocah.
This year alone, we did see the reverse sweep with
Lu.
BG versus IG in the grand finals of the Singapore Major.
Kok
Of course,
isinya
it all
orang-orang
started
kayak
with that
gitu?
question mark.
Loh,
They should get
memang
masterclass.
pasarnya
This is
orang-orangnya kayak
PhD.
gini. Kalau orang-orang kayak kita
Is
tuh
being able to
rasis bro yang
recover
ada bro
from
bikin
that
e-sport
level
itu.
of pressure
Enggak,
and
Anda serius.
stress that is on that final game.
Kalau
But I also
ini
think
keren.
that it is
Orang
with
yang
game
merasa
5,
dirinya
Effie,
tidak
it's very
tersesat,
simple
maka
for
itu
Team Spirit to also
tanda dia
probably
berada di
reset
jalan yang
because
salah.
they have also
Tetapi
been
jika kita
in
sendiri
this
merasa
situation
tersesat,
before.
I think every team is
Itu
gimana sih?
able to reset in a way, but
Enggak,
we don't
ini
actually know
anjing
what goes on
itu.
behind
Apa
the scenes
apa
in
Cok?
their
Gimana?
Orang yang
their
merasa
little
dirinya tidak
powwow, I guess,
tersesat,
after the game goes
maka
on.
apa
But
sih itu
what we
cara
have right now
penggunaan
is
budget? Masa
PSG
orang yang merasa tidak
LGD
dirinya tidak
beat
tersesat,
them
titik.
for playing their hero
Maka itu
momentum.
tanda
They
dia
won
berada di
game
jalan
1,
salah, koma.
and now they've
Tapi
got
jika
the
kita
2
sendiri
game
merasa
momentum, and
tersesat,
they also have
titik,
first
maka
stretch
itu
win
tanda
over
apaan sih?
next
Tanda
week.
baca lu
So
ada
it's
pokoknya.
looking a lot harder for Spirit.
Itu
Quote-nya
kenapa titik sih?
serius.
Kenapa gak koma?
Looking pretty rough.
Itu kayaknya pengennya di enter gitu
Dia
loh.
ngomong gitu.
Nice to meet you all.
Behind them.
Pathetic
They
human.
are
Nah
the
ini yang gue
first
cari nih, orang-orang kayak
Eastern
gini nih, menghina
European
diri sendiri
team
nih.
to be standing on these grand
Pathetic human.
finals since
Manusia menyedihkan.
2013. It's been a long
I have
time
two mood,
coming. That being
depression
said,
and harmony.
PSG.LGD of course
Nyimak
also
saja
has a lot of
hehehe.
pressure because it has
Asik.
been quite a while since
Beli
a Chinese
kon-kon.
team lifted that Aegis, and they know
Din mana
what it
Din?
would mean to not just their organization and their team, but to the entire
Iya, Pak,
country
bikin
if
Memo.
it were to
juga
indeed lift that
gitu
Aegis.
sih.
We'll see
Ayo.
who gets to do it though. We'll see who
Bikin
will take
kata-kata di
home
situ juga.
that Aegis. Is going to be either
Bikinin
Team
kata-kata
Spirit
yang
or
keren.
PSG.LGD. It is one game.
Enggak, kamu yang bikin.
One game of Dota
Aku ada tot kalau mau
and
tot.
I think it's going to be very important for
Enggak, Kak,
both these
maksudnya
teams
bikin
to
terus
strip
ikutan.
away these
Oh.
grand finals, to just relax. We see a lot of players, by the way, always take off their shoes. You know, they gotta
Anjing, stop
recreate
asking
how
me to
they
trust
feel when
you
they play at
while
home.
I'm
In
still
the
out of
past, we
breath.
have had
The last
Ice
time you let me
Ice
drown.
taking off his pants because he preferred to play in his boxers, and that's allowed because you just gotta make
Stop
yourself
asking
comfortable.
me.
Oh iya, tot.
It's
BTW
very
doa
important.
ini ada gak
Also,
di Kristen? Tot?
interesting fun
Tidur.
fact for you all at home. I know you see sometimes
Doa apa? Doa
players
tidur.
play with these heat packs. You've got
Ya
to
Allah.
Doa kepada
Lu
kedua orang tua
baik
gitu.
banget sih lu sama orang yang non-is.
It's not cold.
Enggak, cuy, aku
Jadi,
penasaran ini nih.
enggak si
adrenaline
Rijan
makes your blood vessels
Lah,
tighten.
kirain
Rumah
tadi
balik
nanyain
Pump that blood real fast.
nggak
Itu
boleh gitu dong.
tak
Masih
kirim
ada
ke
Your
PM.
extremities,
Tot.
your
Itu
fingers.
ada gak
You need
kata-katanya
those
di
to play the game. It's a
Alkitab?
sport with your hands, so you gotta have
Nggak,
those heat packs
Totot
to make
kan
your blood vessels
nggak doa
wide
gitu.
again. Did you know
Nyanyi
that,
kan
Jonas?
Totot.
No, I had absolutely.
Aita kata gitu dah.
Lu bisa nggak di remix
Why I was
gitu
saying
tuh?
they should
Tas
receive
lagu pakai
Apanya?
ngedrop gitu. Jadi ada EDM-nya.
Ada kata-kata itu gak tot
Misalnya
di Alkitab?
apa ya? Apa ya?
get a PhD in whatever the hell they
Kayak pas
want.
sudah mau
They're gonna
mau
reverse
ngomong
sweep
Yesus lalu dead.
a TI, but also
Sudah.
I
Kayaknya
feel
itu
like Team Spirit
ininya
had all
dari
the odds
Alkitabnya.
stacked against them just a few games
Kalau
ago.
enggak ya
And
orangnya
they're in the
doanya
same
kayak gitu
position.
sendiri.
So what the hell do we
Alan
do?
Walker pernah nggak ke gereja lu?
Masalahnya ini tot. Aku kan nge-quote itu ya. Kalau aku nge-quote itu ternyata itu dari Alkitab, apa dosa aku?
Ya enggak dong.
Enggak.
Ya enggak dong.
Bagus aja itu doanya soalnya. Di Islam ada yang mirip, tapi aku lebih suka phrasingnya yang ini. Itu doang, phrasingnya.
Iya. Di Islam kadang rada bingung sih. Ini translate.
Ya agak lebih
Banyak yang
kaku
bagus.
gitu. Sedangkan
Kayak
ini
apa ya yang gue suka ya? Ada nggak sih kita? Kayak lupa deh gue. Apa gue nggak pernah baca kayaknya?
oh ada Jaya ngalangi wajahku sih tak pindah.
People kind of just let this team grow into something big without
If you are not a
knowing
good,
it's just
if you're not a
awesome.
good shot today, don't worry.
Not
There's
just a
other way
team
to
where you
get.
don't want to feel bad by being like they're gonna get eliminated.
Lah
They're
hilang.
an actual dark horse.
We can call them a dark dragon because they do have the dragon logo that is
Ah,
like
that's all of
actually
it.
like dark dragon, right?
They've earned it at this point.
They really did.
Remember?
Also, want to remind people
Stay
that
on fire.
said right before their
Super
tournament
high top lagi here, remember?
question upper bracket,
Ini
lower
di
bracket, and he
chat
without
ada yang
hesitation said
bilang
lower
go
bracket.
Taiwan,
So
go
he
Taiwan,
likes to be with the
goblok.
back against the wall, Brian. It makes him perform better.
Taiwan,
keren sih.
Taiwan Barat, Taiwan Barat. Bener sih.
Tapi ini sih Cina ada Twitch.
Ada
Gak ada anjir.
Ada.
Ada itu. Apa itu yang
Masa?
Dota?
Ada
Dota
karena
yang
apa? Gua ngeliat si
DN.
apa nge-stream kok. di Switch.
Agreed. Pick your best
Ini nih,
heroes, and
tak
that's
chat
how
juga
they
dah.
beat Secret today.
Yang nggak ada sih Nemo TV,
The
bro.
draft was looking grim until they pulled out that last pick storm for Toronto
Coba
Tokyo,
lihat
and they
itu, apa
absolutely
itu
destroyed
channel
it.
feednya
So
yang
just go
Dota
for comfort,
TI yang
play
Cina.
like you're at
Iya
home.
iya ini Animajor terus
Selamat,
OS Taiwan. Anjir aku di bandar gara-gara press nomor 144. Jadi Taiwan dilarang. Kata-kata Taiwan dilarang. Parah sih, parah sih. Apa salahnya menyebut sebuah negara? Apa salahnya? Ayo, Twitch, tolong. Negara.
Emang salah soalnya nanti dia bisa munculin konflik gitu.
Ya, masih legit gak sih Taiwan ini? Ini masih negara loh. Kenapa diblokir? Nanti Palestina juga diblokir, parah sih ini Twitch. Ini buatan Yahudi nih.
Taiwan emang negara cuman.
Oh udah official ROC ternyata. Taiwan officially Republic of China. It's shares maritime border. Jadi udah jadi bagian Republic of China ini.
That is what I want to see. I want to see both teams getting their comfort zone. I want to see both teams getting solid drafts and being able to fight full force and show the world and show themselves and us, like everybody, what they have to offer. That's what I want to see.
I mean, this is one of
Ayo Pak, dokter
miracle moments.
Suntik musuhnya.
People working their lives, years and hours and so much.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh wow. They actually decide. Okay, but Mag is also in. So this is something that we know that LGD they chose first pick. Yeah. And
gua pastinya gak mau nonton sih bro.
Mag for nothing trade, or they believe that
Tapi
these guys were not
omongannya
now Team Spirit is changing it up one more time. Which is really going to be awesome.
Enggaknya belajar bahasa Inggris gitulah. Aduh nih.
Back against the wall for both teams. This is like
Emang kamu bisa bahasa Inggris tuh?
these people have probably ever been under in their whole
Enggak.
lives, or for Ahmed like
Bahasa Inggris tuh UN nilainya 4.
Kayak ngono nyuruh wong. Wis bahasa Jawa.
Enggak sih tadi kok.
team become the best humans you can, become like the best teammates that you can become.
Alkitabmu ada yang bahasa Jawa gak?
This is your day. This is your moment.
Enggak ada lah.
Gak ada, Indo doang ya.
Indo aja.
And it's amazing to witness.
Indo, Inggris, terus kalau buat orang Batak ya Batak
Already
banget.
this opener from both
Batak.
teams shows us our confidence. So I feel like the teams, they found their momentum again. They found their
Tergantung
form,
ras paling tinggi
and
lah
they
ya.
found their confidence, and that's what matters at this point. And there's a lot to say.
Ras paling tinggi mah Madura sih bro.
They had the choice.
Kan
And they
Batak,
ended up, so
Batak
second
ada
pick has
gereja
won.
sendiri.
Kitab
Game
kuning
1, 2,
aja.
and 3, they were about second.
Arah miringnya Madura bro.
Cowok keren, jangan masa cowok keren biasanya main game
In the game
Genshin,
before that we just
gak ada
witnessed,
Dota.
They took the mag and they showed how
Masa gitu, Jan?
they can make it work,
Hah?
and they can also counter and show us gameplay.
Jan,
Team
nih Jan,
Spirit in game
gua
4,
kasih
they
di Discord
showed
aja.
that, in my opinion, they showed LGD that
Karena
they have
ini
the best
opini
understanding,
TikTok.
and they're going for it. Yeah, here.
Oh,
Yang
itu
berarti
yang cewek
opini lo.
TikTok itu.
Iya.
They
Yang berarti
Yang
apa
ada
ini?
ada Genshinnya.
Tiny is their
Ada
best
tulisan
strategy, as we
Genshinnya
said
dah
before,
lihat
that
dah.
they
Udah lihat belum,
were
Luris?
into the meta. They were the team
Oh, belum.
making it happen. They were
Oke, tinilikan lagi tuh.
Karena ini
Nah, itu
dari
ya benar.
They have played the
opini
Tiny
lu tuh
versus
bau tai, tau
Secret
nggak?
the other day.
Kita tidak keren
Against
bro
the Secret
karena
Mag, and they made it work.
PUBG Genshin.
Today,
Buset bro.
Spirit, they played versus the Secret
Main
Tiny
Genshin
with the
keren
Mag.
bro.
Enggak bro, sebentar bro. Ada Mobile Legend di paling bawah bro.
Maybe they are, you can only assume.
Bisa bro.
Tapi Mobile Legend juga gampang bro dapet ceweknya. Pokoknya nggak gampang dapet cewek tuh PUBG sama ML sih.
CODM sulit.
Kalau lebih ke lu bakal gampang ketemu cewek doang. Tapi kalau masa deketin tuh nggak tahu.
ML malah
Tapi
sering.
Genshin kok nggak bisa ketemu bro?
Aku ketemu. Aku lumayan ketemu.
Enggak, maksudnya ketemu di 1 tahun gitu nggak bisa bro. Emang game cacat bro.
Iya, kan maksudnya nggak ada nge-match terus ketemu cewek kan.
Oh,
Kita nggak tahu.
Kan bukan Tinder.
Oh, PUBG kan kadang ada yang pakai voice changer ya kan, jadi
Oh
cewek.
iya, tahu.
Nggak masalah gini.
Temanku
Kalau
cewek pakai
ketemu
voice
match
changer jadi
gitu.
cowok.
Jadi jangan download Tinder, ketemu genderuwo bro di Kalimantan. Nggak ada yang main Tinder orang Kalimantan. Adanya santet.
Kayaknya nggak ditemukan kemarin tuh.
Ketemunya ketemunya sama Baca Sawit.
Iya sama
kuntilanak.
Oh ini
Nggak, sekali dapet cewek cakep, ternyata kuyang anjing.
Janda-janda yang lipstiknya tebel gitu apa.
Jadi wajahnya cantik.
Kayak di rumah yang ada ketemu
Wajahnya
SMP,
cantik.
anjing.
Pas lihat badannya organ semua.
Itu tebel kayaknya bukan pakai lipstick sih itu. Bukan pakai lipstick.
Darah itu.
Pakai no pain namanya. Pakai no drop, pakai cat deh. Ini pas dicium nempel tuh kerak-kerak tuh di mulut lo, merah-merah.
BTW nge-counter ini gimana dah Likan ini?
Matiin PC-nya sih bro.
Internet.
Iya. Shutdown sih.
Aduh, orangnya aja sih.
Kalau gampang sih badan yang gede bro. Jadi kalau lu menang, kalau lu kalah, lu bisa ngejegat orangnya di luar. Itu sih bro. Terus tapi lu siapin duit juga bro, buat bayar pengacara bro.
Salah pencet ya, tak kira lagi main di game. Ternyata dunia nyata.
Waktu spinnya di
Ada siapa ini?
Ah,
Wah, ini yang bakal kalah nih LGD.
Kenapa kita ajak lu nonton ke sini? Karena pas lu nonton game 1 game 2 LGD kalah. Kalau lu nonton game 2 Kak, aku ya kak, taruh di stream boleh?
Kumbuginian lagi, bajingan. Bosan anjing.
Ingat bro,
Anjir aku gak dibales dong.
aja kalah bro. Ingat aja nih, info aja nih.
Kak, mau aku taruh ke stream boleh?
Tentu saja Bang Haji. Ini kan sama seperti game 1 Bang Haji.
Benar.
Ini disco traffic.
Soal pakai likan sama ini likannya dirubah, ini jadi odong-odong ini. Mainnya ngaco.
Ya turun lagi. Ngor ini udah.
Ya turun itu di sebelahnya air putih, kirinya mixagrip itu. Jadi kalau mati dia ngobat kan. Main kebanyakan ngobat ngantuk anjing main. Efek samping.
Nyalain mic-nya ini VC
Udah berat banget.
Ngapain VC gak ngomong?
Maksud lu sejarah 6 kali kalah di final kah? Iya sih. Masa iya sih? Masa 5 kali? 6 lah.
Artinya cewek apa cowok?
Yang pastinya sih Islam.
Waduh. Iya. Oh cowok, gak jadi lah. Kakaknya ada kalau gitu ya.
Pencapaian lu selama TI apa aja? Enggak masuk final doang.
Iya.
Juara dua Mas.
Enggak, gue lebih ke aneh. 5 kali masuk ke TI dan final tuh. Tapi nggak pernah menang tuh ngapain?
Mejeng lah bro.
Kayaknya dagang batagor sih.
5 tahun nggak ngapa-ngapain.
Ini sih TB sih.
Yang LGD ya?
Enggak, Team Spirit.
Yakin?
LGD udah tiny bro.
Oh iya sih. Midnya kungka terus kurang support lagi ya. Masa?
Kalau
sudah ada komplain juga. Ternyata ini.
Troll kah mungkin?
Troll susah. Ada kontrolnya.
Menurut gua sih ya ini sih apa kalau nggak Juggernaut ya Terminator.
TB bisa emang buat itu, kena hit langsung tuker nyawa. Dianus fan-nya si Bennett.
Tidak mungkin adik-adik. Kita tak kabur ntar kayak ini apa namanya kayak secret.
Dan Tinker dong. Oh udah. Bangsat itu.
Benar. Bangsat kita.
Marah. Let's go cetak sejarah. Sejarah kalah 6 kali.
If he wasn't going to play Invoker, which was not banned, then this Scarra Silence is always good against the Spirits. And I think they picked this knowing what's coming, knowing what this Dota game is already kind of shaping out to be. So I think it was also a good pick to, now you see this Ember, you see this Byron.
Mereka pick Magnus lagi, kenapa gak di ban sih? Wah, pede udah LGD, tadi menang lawan Magnusnya. Sama first pick-nya emang Magnus
Kenapa
tadi
nggak di-ban?
nggak bisa
Karena
di-ban.
Team Spirit pengen menang. Karena LGD bakal kalah. Rubik di-banned. Nggak apa Sinki? Bisa boker anjing. Lagi di in-game tadi.
Ya nggak ada.
Tim Spirit tadi first pick.
Nggak bisa lagi.
Jadi nggak bisa. Pasti
Rubik.
langsung di
Nih, mamam
Magnus.
nih Rubik.
This Wyvern's
Rubik.
gonna have free fights. Same for the Max, same for the Bane, and that worries me a lot.
Gue sih cukup optimis Team Spirit punya kartu andalan yang amat sangat
Ya
terakhir.
Toro ngeluarin hero ke-15-nya. Ayo.
Lihat nih. Sah. Apa Yun Zhao nih yang keluar nih.
Oh, oke.
Morpling. Morpling nggak di-banned ya?
Tapi Morpling nggak bagus karena ada siapa? Skyrat. Terus ada iya kurang bagus sih. Tapi one-on-one ini masih oke sih. Defense-nya tebel tapi mendingan TB sih. Gue prefer TB. Karena ada empower.
Tapi bisa dipukul sekali 2 kali doang.
Mantap ini.
Kalau nggak hati-hati
Gue
main TB.
bukan TB kan.
Oh iya, TB.
Kenapa TB?
Gue suruh.
Ya Toro udah gue WA. Ini WA-nya ada nih. Gue punya nomor Rusia nih, jangan salah lu. Tor.
TB ber.
Ini orang soal kenapa sekarang
Aku kira
sama gue jangan baca komen nih. Dia nge-pick karena
Ini game gampang amat ya bang.
ini kita Skyward buat ini
buat Ember Skyward.
nggak buat band.
Oh iya,
lagi
buat band
bisa di
Ember.
silent dia itu range-nya jauh. Terus
Bagus
nggak perlu
Skyward
ini kan,
itu.
cuman jadinya
Magnus juga bisa.
Kenapa kamu nanya kenapa terus?
Kenapa lu nggak dukung Team Spirit? Apa?
Gak yakin si LGD ini. Hah? Apanya gak yakin? Udah combo haram sama Kuka pula.
Nih udah Kungka, Tini, Likan, kalah.
Dan ini analis ini.
Oh dari draft sih gue lebih pede. Tahu lah siapa.
Kalau dari cara mainnya sama draft ini sebenarnya aku pede
Dia udah pakai
LGD.
5 kali nih.
Tapi kalau kecutik terus sih ya Team Spirit. Soalnya late game TB Empower lawan Likan Tini mah kayaknya TB deh. Masih asal armornya bagus.
Di saat TB membara, LGD-mu ke bandara, anjing.
Yang susah itu supportnya. Lead supportnya Team Spirit ini gila.
Nih ngapain last pick-nya?
Nah iya, ini bisa ngejaga TB itu maksudnya.
Enggak, ini ngapain juga last pick-nya Enchantress nih Peter Pan
Nah,
nih.
gak paham. Aku kira Leon mungkin atau entah, nggak ngerti juga. Ayo LGD. Sejarah 6 kali.
And for the Team Spirit side, do you think there's anyone who can sort of stop that onslaught early?
They're gonna look at the Ember. Everybody's looking at
Ngawur
Ember.
dah lah. Ya ampun, kasihan.
And now we're going to the final game of TI-10. But before we go into the game, we'll be coming to Sumi with Team Spirit's coach Silent.
Predik Tosanke. Siapa Radian? Siapa Dyer anjir?
Enggak sih. Ya mau yang manapun Radian Dyer sih kita udah tahu sih siapa yang menang.
What is your team's strategy to win?
Our best strategy is just luck.
Radian this, Radian that.
Magic or pure magic atau pure ya Toronto lah kasih. Siapa ini? The Radian.
Ini kita beda kapal. Lu boleh gitu.
Beda kapal ini.
Oke, Ram, bentar.
Kalau kalah, si Aji tidak bisa membayarin.
Saya
menunggu transfer.
Anjir fotonya Ram bahaya kalau aku taruh.
Ini apa? Jakarta atau apa?
Apaan?
Lu mau kemana? Kok beli tiket bandara?
Gue mau balik ke Sulawesi.
Mau nyusul LGD.
Gue mau balik ke Sulawesi.
Kirain lu orang LGD, makanya siap-siap tiket bandara. Kirain lu stoknya LGD. Ternyata bukan.
Startnya Spirit, Cok.
Sosokan HF-an nih, lu kalah, sosokan HF lu Yuda, GL,
last game nih, last
Surat
game.
lagan.
GL itu dibalik, LG, last game.
Ini ribet nih, betina.
Apa?
Kita ngomong apa aja kita ngomongnya dibilang apaan sih. Ram nih, enak Ram, gini Ram, kita nggak bisa orang bacot Ram. Nggak tenang Hayati. Bukan Magnus Winter versus Tinilikan. Nah,
I think this is going to be a battle of
Sulawesi versus Jakarta nih.
phase. I think the laning phase
Ini nih
is
Ram.
going to be fairly even. Both heroes will farm fairly well, but that 6-minute rune, Owen. I think whoever gets that 6-minute rune actually has a massive.
Tuh lihat tuh fight dia tuh nyawa udah setengah aja tuh. Tuh. Udah tuh kan. Nah tuh si Sinki juga nyawa udah setengah tuh. Tapi kolaps nyawanya.
Tapi kolapsnya setengah juga, Cok.
Kolaps menjadi kolap.
Kolapsnya
Kolaps beneran kolaps ini nih.
Sakit bang, Enchanter ya, sama Tini.
Enchanter sakit, satunya pure.
Iya. Itu tujuannya kan.
Lu explode nggak, Ji?
Tujuannya Enchanter ini buat damage.
So I expect all 6 cores of this game to have a fairly decent start.
Aduh, Proto Tokyo nggak bisa farming, Cok.
Yeah. Very even so far.
Farming tidak perlu. Kill nomor 1.
Kenapa ya Ram? Diam kok gampang. Aduh kok udah low aja masin gini. Aduh.
Sakit perut kok.
Yep, so the metamorphosis have been popped, but they have lane control up top.
Tapi sulit nih
The advantage of having lane control is that TB can't really
Masuk
work
iki
down
KP di pangan, iki keyboard di pangan iki cuk.
Kelawar di pangan.
To use it right outside of your own tier 1 tower, you can kind of zone out any other hero.
Jatuh udah berubah jadi hitam. Udah jadi Just Floyd.
Sukatoro. Jadi Sukatoro.
Jadi jadi ya Amerika.
Jadi kriminal.
Yeah, nothing to say is doing very well.
Gak mau ngomong. Komen aku.
Jadi Akbar.
Sakit
temen gua pangkat masih kecil udah sosokan pada ngomong udahlah ini mah udah mah ini. Stack aja sih gak bener.
Ngepul lagi gak bisa ya.
Apa dari kolaps lagi
suara putus.
Yeah, this mid lane is going excellently for nothing to say. Toronto Tokyo here has a hard choice of do I go for the bounce rune or do I
ini nothing to say jadi nothing to win ini bro.
Sleight of fist. Apologies out to Torrent.
Nothing to say beneran gak ngomong apa-apa abis ini.
But yeah, overall
bisu kan soalnya.
Ini kayak yang wanita ke Discord kita gak ngomong.
Ada orang bisu juga.
Iya ada sih di Discord.
The setups that he'll be able to offer to the team, they're going to be huge and a fair bit of damage to follow up each and every time that nothing to say gets a catch.
Bapak gua bangun
itu. Really on top of refilling the bottle, right? You see, Toronto Tokyo's not quite getting the same support mid. And that's because their heroes are forced to stay in the lanes right now. They can't really move their pieces on the map. And already winning the lane, getting that free bottle refill, he's going to be able to steal the small camp away from Ember. This is huge. Nothing to say is off to a great start.
Belum dikasih klip-klip manja nih. Ini Toronto udah gua inilah kasih apa sih?
Wejangan.
Masukan iya nih jangan apa sih?
Ajian.
Yep, and up top you see like this is generally how the early
sudah menghina pribadi nih bro, kenapa? Kenapa lo takut kalah bro? Ini gue sebagai fansnya ini nih. Apa namanya? Main games. Fansnya Blunder, dia dirasa kayak gini nih, langsung main.
Putus suara lu anjing.
Iya cok.
Iya putus ya, bentar gue pasang.
Lalu gue minum aus.
I feel like
banyak
one small edge PSG.LGD has had in the grand final is they're able to
Tapi
keep
masalahnya
their
gini
teams
lah.
really close to their tower
Ini
constantly.
Mira.
And it's allowing for them to have very good
Mira ngapain ini Mira ini?
Ngancurin stack. Ngehalau stack.
Nggak nyampe ya, nggak kuat.
Itu pun masih dikejar anjir. Padahal speednya lo gak ada. Okay.
He's actually a player that very often manages to get these jukes where he kind of takes a route that people don't expect him to, and gets out of these tricky situations.
Wow.
Wonder if he can get out now though. Wise on top of him.
Yes, a fair bit of damage. Does still have the skewer for a follow-up impetus, or the combo of Arme can close in on him.
Yep. Faith Beyond getting initiated on bottom. Flies used, meta's used, but immediate TP out.
Oh, TP, Jin.
Presence of mind. You can tell why these players are
Lainnya dikasih ke TB, Jin.
It's not like either team's attempting to make moves. It's just both teams are really on top of it. As mid.
Oh, okay.
The setup here with the combo. Nice dodge.
Okay, nothing to say.
Waduh,
kena kau.
They're able to catch out. Oh, in fact, well, he did deny the boundary, but it will cost him his life. Coming over for that one there, as Team Spirit were prepared for that move.
Yeah, and Tokyo picks up the illusion rune there. So a little bit of miscoordination there. I think if you time that Ancient Seal a bit better, generally speaking, you know, you're going to use an X into Torrent. If you get the silence after the Torrent goes off, then the potential to get the boat in is there. And I think if they did the combo that way, they might have gotten the kill. But of course, the fear of Ember potentially dodging the Torrent with a slide forced them to use it too early.
And now they've sort of shown
Mainkan
their
yang
hand.
nge-throw.
It's going to be hard for them to make that play again. Top lane. The nightmare set up onto Arme.
Waduh, kok dibalikin lagi tininya.
Waduh, dilempar. Kaipor. Oh, gak kena cuy. Coba kena. Udah, dia yang kaipor.
Bulldog kayaknya tadi.
Iya, tapi kurang ke kanan.
That's good pressure though. They force them off of the lane. They finally have managed to get lane control up
Kalah
top.
farming
Immediately when they did, they have the
anjing.
opportunity to pressure the Tiny. So force them off the wave. Force them to go
Beda
into the
berapa ribu
jungle.
tuh?
And
Dapat
he doesn't have any
1.200.
sustain, right? So
Mundur
Curang
bang ya Toro.
curang.
Mundur bang ya Toro.
Curang, carry gue dihajar.
Ya, kok gitu sih keroyokan.
Rungkul.
Tahu.
Gue kira buy one, ternyata bawa kawan.
Ya. Panggil anakannya, asik.
Malah ditidurin. Ngantuk kata tim itu. Senang ini. Yang wanita.
yeah, battle of the power rune now resumes. It's about 30 seconds left, so both teams probably talking about which supports can we bring to the
Ini lambat ya kayaknya yang dinonton Haji ini. Siapa ini?
Adrian.
It can change the flow of the game entirely.
Delay anjing.
Tamit.
Delay.
Itu pun nggak ngomong dia dari tadi anjir.
Iya nggak ngomong tapi bocor. Tidur.
Isinya doang nyala itu.
Ngantuk paling nonton
Sama
game.
kayak siapa ya? Sering kayak gitu ya.
PD.
PC-nya nyala, orangnya tidur anjing.
Bangun lagu di Palosi.
And Faith Down's really good on his tower. And now that he's forced out
Demo itu goblok.
Miposhka has to live
Dibuatin
sit there
Jaya.
and be as annoying anymore.
Palosi 10 jam lagi.
Continuously nuke the creeps.
Di loop.
Expect this bottom tower to start falling. Meanwhile,
10 jam di loop lagi
Ahmed is
kan.
doing a great job of just defending.
Aduh, TB-nya sulit sih.
Something that Team Spirit can't quite do themselves here down bottom. Faith beyond.
So here, it's an important smoke here that LGD are
Wah,
doing.
lu
They recognize that
jangan
Ahmed's gonna sit at the
meremehkan
tower.
ini dong.
The Radiant team can't really defend their own
Ingat
bottom
kemarin
tower.
pro kayak
So
gimana
what are they
game
gonna do?
skinnya?
They're gonna
Terus
mirror your
tiba-tiba
play.
di
They're gonna go
recall
and
dengan
attempt to
uang
take
yang sangat
top
banyak.
lane tier 1 tower. So the smoke up here
Emang
is
potensial
preemptive.
farmingnya bagus sih TB itu.
Petani handal anjing.
But the Spirit reads it
Aku
perfectly.
juga pakai TB farming
They are
simulator.
aware.
Tapi lawannya LGD, makanya khawatir.
Ini bertumpu lagi sama si Collapse ini.
Ini Mira max space. Jadi kalau misalnya tadi dia
Thor
ketemu
actually gives
ya
his position away.
kan
He used the reflection there, so now they know the Terror Blades in
jadi
the triangle.
Mira yang paling
And you can look bottom.
Daripada
Faith
ke
Down
atas
has
ya kan.
absolutely no fear.
Iya.
Here
Kalau
we
atas
go.
kan mendingan
Shape
Mira nih,
so
gue serahin
he's off
badan
to
gue.
a really, really good
Gitu.
start. And when we talked about the
Badan
draft coming
dan
into
jiwa
it, it's
gue
all about
buat lu.
timings, right? So
Iya,
you want
menurut gue.
ideally for him to
Space.
finish up his Helm of the
Space.
Overlord
Kadang-kadang.
and the
Space
Agate
created.
for 20 minutes. And if the game continues the way it is right now, it's
Apa?
highly likely to happen.
Ah, nggak apa-apa. Santai.
Datang lagi mau.
Cok, bunuh tiny-nya, Cok. Bunuh tiny-nya, Cok.
Enggak ini, dari tadi. Dede itu bos, jangan dimacam-macam bos.
Enggak tuh. Petir tak nih. Tiba-tiba ada anjing gua kan.
Serigala. Oh, ke atas.
Ke atas. Anjing lewat ya guys.
Anjing ke atas.
Anjingnya naik ke atas guys.
Pulang telat pulang. Oh enggak.
Telat kau pulang Ujang.
Bang Mira.
Jadi gitu guys.
Ini guys.
Ini
nahan kolaps.
Ya iyalah.
Space.
Core-nya 2 ya kali masa. Lu berkorban dong buat band. Berkorban demi band.
Yep, they absolutely are. And purge creep here on the
maksudnya X pakai berhasil kabur.
Aku
baru tahu loh X Max bisa digituin gitu.
Ada ngegensin ya.
Ditahan pakai skill lo ya.
Bang Ejay 29
bisa. Kalau timingnya pas.
Iya, aku baru tahu cuy.
Skill weight itu tuh
ya
nggak bisa
bro ini kita ini yang main di TI bro, kita ini masih di bawah-bawah ancient anjing. Yang kayak gitu nggak bakalan sampai otaknya bro.
Oke.
Bro, sorry.
Timingnya nggak sampai bro.
Masih legend 4.
Tapi malah gampang Ram, kalau misalnya udah dikeluarin apa namanya torrent kan jadi ketahuan kalau dia mau bakal ngembalikin elunya kapan.
Nah,
kalau nggak
tapi itu kan perlu timingnya pas juga sih.
Iya, tapi yang penting sih creep banyak aja udah aman dulu. Soalnya kan nebasnya jadi lama. Berarti bang masih.
Gak ada mana kamu bang Tokyo. Berani banget.
Oh dia bikinnya
anjir Likan ganggu banget.
Bang itu kurir kok.
Kurir bang. Mantap dijaga kurirnya tuh.
Sih lebih ke Fediannya meleng sih.
Fedianya lebih pilih farming cok.
Lebih kenyang.
Itu baru ini tolong dong anjing-anjingan Fedian tolong ini ya ditertipin. Ganggu banget.
Anjing-anjingnya cari-cari kurir bangsa.
Anjingnya
lihat nih, ini kenapa Centaur tempel nih? Itu kenapa Centaur tempel?
Iya kan gua ngasih makan. Aku pada makan Cin, Centaurnya Cin. Terima kasih goldnya. Apakah yang menang anak ajaib, Nothing to say, atau
And if we take a look at the vision game, which we've been talking about so much during this series, because it's just so important, you notice you have the scouting wolves from Faith Beyond, so there's extra 2 wards basically that are running around the map and providing vision for LGD. And then on top of that, the Team Spirit wards are so defensively placed right outside of their own towers.
Iya sih, tapi network bukan segalanya bro. Cuma kalau dilihat 3K jauhnya sih panik juga sih bro.
Makanya bukan segalanya bro, tapi itu objectively.
Nah iya.
Parameter yang bagus bro. Itu parameter bro.
Bukan parabola ini, sorry aja tuh.
Aduh.
Apalagi para setan
udah nguasai map bro. Ya Toro mau kemana bos?
Udah beli bodrex Ji.
Waduh belum nih. Harusnya lu sih. Ini
ada yang cengar-cengir di sini sendirian.
Looking at the minimap, understanding what LGD is doing and responding to it perfectly. There was no information of that play coming. Wonderfully done. There's a little bit of a play attempt set up in the bottom lane.
Masih percaya sama terrorblade supremasi dari Mas Yatoro sih. Impact terbanyak di TI saat ini. Tapi ngomong-ngomong itemnya mana ya?
Masih ada pisau biru tuh. Ngehalangi stack sendiri bro.
Kritikin aku dong.
Please.
Wah itu.
Pukul.
Kolam itu kolam.
Sudah mundur. Jangan ke kiri ke bawah bang, salah jalan.
Pak, ada winter curse ini, ada kutukan musim dingin.
Ada ultinya TB juga.
Mira,
wah distun. Nice.
Oh nggak ada heal dia. Ada heal, ambil heal coy.
Kurs ke siapa?
But he will still end up going down. Still those
Toronto
Spirit,
Tirta belum
they'll
gerak.
take that. They got in, they're able to take army off the map. Yatura is able to continue to farm here with benefit
Lu
collapse
lu
and
tolong
plenty of
jangan
power.
dukung LGD.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But
Lu
they
cukup
did use
ignoring.
both the Lycan form and the boat. And
Lu
if you think about how
Kristen
LGD wants to
sendiri
play
di
this
sini, lu
game,
duduk
it's important for them to have their cooldowns to get big kills or get big moments. Whilst Team Spirit are happy every time they
Agama
in the
kita
game,
boleh
they
beda,
feel like they're
tapi
getting ahead. They
dukungan
feel
tim
like
kita
progressing
kudu
their game.
sama.
And that's exactly what's going on now, right? They know there's no Lycan
Kita
form,
tim
there's no
Spirit
boat,
juga
there's no
Kristen
team fight that's
gitu.
going to happen in the next few minutes. And they're
Iya,
very
nggak ada
happy
yang
about
bisa
that.
kan.
We're seeing as well Toronto
Enggak dong, ini bukan diatur ya Allah kan.
Tapi bukan masalah agama. Kita Razor pos 5 gak milih soalnya.
Tahu nggak Razor 5 itu?
Tahu gak kalau Razor pos 5 itu Islam?
Itu tik-tikannya orang Islam itu. Islam drop. Sudah pada muslim anjing.
Apa sih sedih-sedih terus nih orang padahal menang anjir timnya.
Itu berarti apa itu namanya?
Gamenya gak sih?
Siapa? Liquid nggak? Soalnya terbiasa. Dia karbit udah. Dia cuman Ame doang, dia dukung LGD karena Ame doang.
Iya.
Ame pindah ke Persija juga dia dukung. Tiba-tiba dia main bola kan.
Jangan
dukung Ame, kontolnya kecil.
Emang kamu pernah lihat tuh?
Pernah sih.
Pernah ngocokin?
Jadi si Ame toxic bro. Gua nggak suka soalnya. Masa katanya
Mirasis ke tasnya sendiri.
Ini Mira ini kan Miramar.
Yep, I think the two supports from Team Spirit
Orang
are
Asia
going to
kan
be really
gitu.
important.
Hilang di sini.
Because if Bane is able to get a grip on the turret long enough for TB to take good positioning and output damage, that might just be enough for them to win the game. If this tiny goes down, PSG.LGD's draft has nothing.
Aduh Mira,
Oh,
Mira sih
Mira, mundur Mira. Paling lagi
Mira,
emang cok.
lu manusia ungu Mira, lu Barney Mira. Lu Mira itu namanya Amir. Nah iya.
He's just got himself Shinkyu behind him.
Amir.
The Shadow Blade in preparation to clear out the wave. We'll see if
Lu
Spirit
buku
hang around
agama
to
ya?
try and hunt him down.
Ya. Bang, tiba-tiba tuh di depan naga ada pohon.
Ada batu gede anjing.
Ada batu megang pohon.
Tadi ini lu tau gak sih nonton Filipin yang versi apa yang di Hang
It's all about getting the one good spell off. So having the positioning, staying back, and then blinking at the right moment, that's going to be what he's going for. And they're giving him space, right? They're letting Maposhka sit down here to try to finish up the blink. They understand.
Langsung flame guard yang bertahu, Cok.
It's going to be huge. These curses against a
Sudah
lineup where
dibilang
you're
kita
running these
tim-tim
three
di bawah
melee cores that
di
want
Vin.
to be charging in at you. Absolutely.
Enggak, gua kira flame guard itu sering dispel. Oh iya, kena tornado aja hilang,
It definitely is. And if you look at Yatoro,
makanya
he's building up
Invoker
for that
bisa
Eye of
jadi
Skadi. He wants to be
counternya
tanky enough to tank
Ember
the
juga
damage and then
di
potentially get a Sunder off.
lane.
That's going to be the game for him. If he's able to
Ya
stand his
dulu
ground with
Yatoro
Skadi
kalau udah jadi
and
Skadi
the Tiny initiates on anything
itu
but him,
badannya
he
tinggi,
might just be able to be
minta
tanky enough
tolak
to stay
angin,
alive.
dinginan anjing.
The one person who's really not getting any farm in this game right now is Collapse. He's kind of understood that,
Kan
you know
Skadi
what,
S.
I'm just going to get my
Itu
shard
kalau
and I'm going to
di
be happy with that. If I can have it by 20 minutes, that's everything I
yang
need.
nggak bisa di dispel ini kan ya, anunya Disruptor.
Nggak bisa itu, udah di BKB doang.
Magnus certainly something to be feared. Something that got tripped up in the game, of course.
Transferan aja
the Rubik to deal with it.
Aduh, gua sih ngotlok gede bro kalau bisa kalah.
So a bit more free of a game for Collapse to make his moves occur.
Yeah, I feel like both teams are just waiting for the
Temen gua tadi udah di Team Spirit kan. Awal game 1 awal game kok game 3 kalah, kok lanjut game 5 awal kok. Kok tadi berapa networknya sekarang 4K ya, rada yang aneh ini.
Tiba-tiba sesuatu terjadi.
Tiba-tiba serigala ada 2 nih.
Repot.
Tapi serigalanya bukan yang corang-corang, serigalanya yang gagah.
Bukan yang tadi ya.
Iya, yang jelmaan
Yang
serigala.
4 dead itu.
Bukan yang
Oke.
serigala buat
Bawa bang. Tapi Singkyu doang. Oh harus Singkyu bang.
Gak apa-apa bro. Kalau trade.
Oh mantap.
Itu
yang masih bisa keluarin.
Aduh,
Bang ulti Bang TB. Mantap. Dapat.
Lu tahu nggak?
Ini terlihat sangat ini.
Ram pentilnya. Nothing to say digelitikin Ram sama bandnya gua Ram.
Aduh, anjir likan, Cok.
Ini dinosaurusnya bangsat juga nih. Mata tua ini.
Sakit ya dinosaurusnya dia. Dan dinominate.
Kalahnya juga karena fight di tower ada armor. Harusnya mundur tadi LGD.
Kita sebagai yang lagi bermain dengan kenapa kita harus bermain dengan keuntungan suatu hal yang salah.
Kamu ngomong apa aja putus di aku aja.
Ya intinya sate Madura enak, orang Madura enggak.
Oke, setuju aku.
Benar.
Kamu orang Madura aja ya?
Ya, turunan paling kayaknya.
Madura Selatan paling.
Kayak gua sama orang Madura akrab sama
dari kakek nenek dari bapak.
Oh. Dapet Cin, tapi gak turun.
Benci Madura.
Tapi cukup.
Waduh, gua sih benci kelakuannya.
Kok gitu?
Sama demo banget.
Bener. Ini kok Rosan sendiri ya? Loyal dikit bisa kali ya?
Diloncati sama Tini dan Kungka. Kasih kapal.
Orang banget sih ini, aduh. Merasa ngantuk gak banget ini.
Aduh, ini Rosan kok gampang banget sih. Tini tapi
gue lebih ke heran. Rosan kok sepi ya? Oh iya, LGD ngorok. Pantes sepi banget nih.
Biasanya selalu pertama ke Rosan.
Ya, sampai
Gua ngatain gini udah siap sih kalau tadi ngatain balik sih. Gua tinggal keluar Discord, apa susahnya anjing. Gua ngorok gede aja gua. Minum obat tidur langsung. Lu pasang berapa?
Ya, banyak yo. Waduh, nice.
Kok lu nggak berani gede sih, Rem? Kan
ya itu yang gua bilang tadi di Facebook, Cok.
Chance menang LGD lebih gede, coy. Dilihat dari killnya, ya neck sih. Cuman kan network unggul LGD. Masa lu nggak berani sih? Gua kalau jadi lu sih
bilang tadi di Facebook.
Ya,
sosok mainnya value.
Oh, lu nggak greedy lagi.
Main yang pasti aja.
Bro, kalau yang pasti aja kerja, bro. Jangan ginian, bro. Ini nggak pasti, bro. Goblok.
Ginian bisa pasti juga. Kan kelihatan nge-branding.
Pasti kalah.
Ya kalau lawannya kayak apalagi Thunder Predator ya enggak salah lagi kalau gitu.
Iya, Thunder Predator itu TP kan. TP itu tim pulang sih, bro. Lebih tepatnya, bro. Daripada Thunder Predator. Sorry aja nih, bro. Main ke itu lebih bukan niat TI sih, bro. Emang pengen ke hotel aja. Dia dateng main 14 kali kalah nggak ada menang pulang.
Waduh.
Ya Tore. Iya, ini lebih kayak
mati.
Oh enggak.
Ya Allah sih.
Bagus, Cuk. Anunya, game sense-nya.
Bukan game sense.
Emang ada war kan? Tapi kan sebelum itu aja dia udah ke bawah.
Jangan.
Oh, udah ada itu
di silent anjing.
Dekat Rosan.
Ada dekat Rosan. Tapi kan smoke.
Lu bisa nggak sih nggak ngebela tim LG?
Bukan ngebela.
Oh iya,
kan itu
sorry.
Warno siapa collab anjing. BKB udah bagus.
Jangan
mending BKB lah. Karena pepatah Cina pernah mengatakan
artinya
kan selain
time to sleep.
Ini ya Toro buildnya setengah-setengah ya. Biasa sekali langsung butterfly. Butterfly bagus karena ada empower. Semakin gede agility lu, semakin gede bonus damage lu.
Begitu.
Semakin gede bet lu, semakin kalah LGD bang. Kok tadi 14 sekarang 1000 kurang itu kenapa ya kalau boleh tahu ya?
Kok turun bang?
Gini Ram, gini Ram. Mari kita realistis. Upper bracket LGD menang terus, oke? Gak pernah kalah. Tapi yang jadi masalah gini, 5 kali final tapi nggak pernah menang. Ngapain aja itu Ram kalau boleh tahu ya Ram? Dagang ikro apa gimana itu ya? Apa jus sama Ram? Heran sih.
Tapi kan beda orang sih, walaupun tetap tim
beda
LGD.
orang, tapi kalau sejarahnya sama semua Ram. Ya. Apakah lu percaya?
Dan gini,
gua
OG beda orang kalahkan two-time champion. LGD sama tahu. Nah.
Tapi gini, OG 2 kali menang, dua kali final menang dulu. Oke, LGD 5 kali final kalah semua. Apa kalau percaya dengan LGD atau gue lebih percaya Hitler pernah ngaji di Istiqlal sih bro daripada percaya LGD menang TI.
Tuh probability-nya cuk
81 padahal fans LGD yang mau nangis, sisanya adalah tim spirit yang mau bakar-bakar dan bikin syukuran di rumah. Lihat ya, TB-nya udah strong banget, udah cuek. Nih lagi sosok belum aja
dikasih tahu bang,
dikasih tahu kan,
kasih tahu bang.
Begini, cuma pengen tahu
itu nggak pindah posisi sih TB.
Magnus,
bukan masih makan terus.
Ini Magnus disundul langsung ke bandara bareng sama lu besok ke Sulawesi itu NTS.
Kok beda? Goal lead-nya siapa sekarang? Tadi ada 4.000.
Tadi 4.000 sih. Kok tiba-tiba ke kiri? Rada aneh tapi bisa dipercaya. Ini rekor dari LGD. Lo kalau nggak mau babel lo keluar anjing. Gua di sini buat ngapain?
Justru voice chat kalau nggak babel ya ngapain?
Iya.
Ngorok gede sih ini.
Udah kumit anjir.
Karena target gua Rama, bukan wanita Batam.
Gimana Ram?
Tidak peduli dengan wanita Batam, tapi saya hanya peduli dengan mas-mas Bali yang jualan kontol-kontolan di Pantai Kuta.
Waduh, kena lagi Cin. Kamu orang Bali Ram?
Tahu nggak ini call Magnus pakai Magnus udah kayak Puyol, nggak tahu kan lu? Nih sundulannya mantep. Yang bikin Spanyol menang itu collab.
Sampai Singkiu ngetip tuh ngakui.
Karena apa? Udah mules. Udah spirit itu di podium LG udah baut lagi.
Itu udah bau cuy.
Bau banget nih.
Singkiu cepat ke belakang deh.
Tiba Singki diem kan keringetan padahal di dalam AC.
Ini nih. Toronto.
Wah itu Ame udah gebrak keyboard di depan dia ngeliat Ember Spirit
itu
kabut begitu.
Emosi aku yakin.
Emosi dong. Ayo siapa?
Means now they expect most of the LGD heroes to be on the top side of the map.
All good Ram.
Tapi Ame masih nomor 2 ya namanya.
Gua lagi ngudut anjing.
Oh, sambil nangis kan.
Itu nggak perlu aku yang maju, tinggal ilusiku doang.
Tinggal gue yang aja. Like a box. Gue di belakang, lu pada di depan.
Gue punya banyak bawahan.
Nih, jadilah seperti Spirit. Tidak pernah toxic, paling cuma exit game doang.
Yes, emang
karena musuhnya emang toxic. Ngikuti asis sekali langsung menang sekali. Namanya manusia penuh dengan kesalahan. Oke, ini
komis anjir.
Lihat ya. Itu bisa-bisanya Nothing to Say maju-maju.
Nothing to Say ngapain?
Lihat nih. Toronto Tirta.
Tapi bagus loh mainnya Nothing to Say itu. Bisa selamat cuma ya udah tidak.
Lihat nih. Lihat baik-baik. Kenapa sekarang ada di high ground shit? Ini serigala udah 2 tuh. Serigala bisa melempar creep.
Kenapa gak lempar orang? Kenapa lempar creep?
Karena nanti dilempar ke bandara.
Udahlah, lempar tiket ke pesawat aja.
Sebenarnya sih dua-duanya sih di situ kenapa diincar dulu ya.
Dapat lagi tuh.
Ini begini Mas.
Bagus.
Dua-duanya sih sama-sama pemadam. Tapi yang beda satunya senyum.
Magnusnya nge-clutch lagi cuy.
Karena menang. Dan karena disundul ke belakang.
Mantep cuy, uyol anjir.
Uyol.
Gitu ini.
Drop by.
Game gampang amat ya bang.
Iya, S-game bro.
Main game gak susah.
Itu katanya orang LGD. Nanti main kalah. Ya, kok heran sih. Kalah mulu 5 TI final semua kok kalah.
LGD are coming in from behind. They recognize that they can't go on the front line. They need to catch the backline heroes.
They're going to try and go for the easy kill first, or at least they put the easier maybe, but no, it's not. TP out there,
Nice.
but to stop it. Arme's in with the combo.
Akhirnya dapat cuy, kasihan tuh serigala.
Ini mereka satu tim itu nggak ada baik.
Apa? Mira mati nggak apa-apa. Hanya Barney. Manusia ungu doang tuh. Thanos kalau masih
tapi
belum
menang berkat dia multi cuy.
Tapi Thanosnya dagang guduk nih, masih jadi band nih. Tapi kalau udah pakai Infinite Stone nih.
It's going to get even harder to deal with Yatoro now. He's got the full silver edge done, so the ability to sort of duck in and out of the fights.
Sosokan ada yang bilang match 5 draft sama-sama mabuk. Sama-sama mabuk dari nonton aja.
Dari
Siapa yang mabuk? Siapa yang mabuk
Itu beneran dying dia.
Masih kita kudu jelasin sih siapa yang mabuk. Yang mabuk Joe.
Mantap. Smoke-nya bang. Ubriknya cuk, parah cuk. Tapi tipis ya.
Gua baru saja melihat batu dilupikin. Dan gua baru saja melihat Dokter Tirta ngejahit.
Batu dikikis, Dokter Tirta mengais.
Ayo ini gak ada buyback ini.
Ada Pak nggak mau berubah.
Bang.
Karena apa? Cooldown dong. Mending gua jalan. Mantap dong.
Tidak.
Belikannya
Sudah GG sudah.
Jalan ke airport.
GG sudah.
Sudah lah tim LGD. Butuhkan monitor.
Wah, gue pengen lihat reaksi.
Tuh, kasihan banget Ame cu, sumpah.
Amenya kasihan kali, Cok.
Sumpah cu, ya apa ya?
Merasa kayak win 3 dia.
Masalahnya menangnya ini gede loh. Tadi lead 4K.
19 juta doang.
Sekarang 12K.
Wah, Dokter Tirta bangga sih.
Itu bagus yang ngasih space buat Yatoro dari tadi. Dan dia farmingnya ke atas ke bawah anjing. Gak pernah ketangkep. Tidur aja kamu Kungka. Tunggu kita ngehit anjir. Dapat Singkyu. Dapat Kungka.
Think to say, not
dapat uang berapa juta? 10 juta. Oh, masih ada Faid. Oh, disarm, oke. Protection, oke.
Apakah berpengaruh?
Apakah masih ada ulti TB? Ya? Masih ada satanik.
Oh, ini.
Ayo, ulti. Oh enggak, healing. Oke, respect.
Pulang dulu.
Makan yang ada di depan ini, bos. Gak usah pulang. Anjir, cok. Gak mati-mati, anjir.
LGD.
Toronto top gitu, cuy.
Ya tinggal TP dong. Susah banget. Game.
Ini mah makanan semua, snack.
Ini katanya, sini.
Litikin,
lihat enggak?
Ininya, Cing. Gak ada deteksi. Dilempar kemana itu, Cuk? TB, Cuk.
Sah, jalan. 800 gak tuh? Jalan lagi.
Iya. Wah, hampir mau dibawa ke air.
Lari lagi. Lari lagi.
Aduh. Kasihan cuy.
Oh my goodness.
There is a Roshan.
Ini kenapa kalah LGD? Bener gak kataku Ji? Kalah kenapa Ji?
Karena kutukan.
Enggak, karena ditonton.
Iya, bener kan? Makanya gue ngajak dia masuk ke PC kan.
Bener kan? Dia kalau udah nontonnya di sini.
Bener ya. Alasan
tadi kita udah bilang loh.
Gini. Game 1, game 2 ditonton sama dia kalah kan. Game gak ditonton menang.
Apalagi nonton di VK bareng.
Kok gampang.
Aduh. Mending kemarin pas
heran deh.
Menang deh.
Aduh.
Wah,
gua sih menunggu orang Rusia masuk terus sih, bro.
Waduh, oke. Aman ya.
Chill out.
Opo aman.
Enteng kali.
Yantoro datang lagi, Yantoro. Sama-sama jalan.
Ini kenapa nih ada war tapi ada orang juga nih? Apa kalau udah bet untuk menang jadinya lu lebih milih jadi war? Gua heran. Lu harusnya gebukin musuh bukan jadi war.
Oke.
Kenapa? Lu kenapa?
Gitu, aku adalah ward. Tidak ada yang melihat. Aku adalah ward.
Kan
dibawa ke bawah, Ci. Dibawa ke airport. Oke. Bagus cuy, ini kolaps cuy. Langsung ke anu tadi. Langsung terus.
Ini amat.
Game kok gampang banget ya. S-game.
Udah BG.
Aduh, game kok gampang banget ya. Gak ada panik-paniknya ya.
Grand final. S-game. Aduh. Dapat. Ini orang sakit perut. Aduh. Game kok gampang banget.
Let's memang tuh
gila sumpah cuy.
Gila gamenya anjing barang ini.
Percaya cuy.
Anjing dari bawah mereka main cok. Bangsat.
Gila kan. Ini dark horse story lah. Bagus ini banyak.
Aduh kok tidur nyenyak ya.
Dan tadi rempet juga LGD cok.
Gampang sih gua tinggal terima duit.
Tidur kok nyenyak ya.
Aduh cuy.
Aduh. Gua nggak ngantuk nih jadinya kenapa ya bro? Kalau boleh tahu bro, alasan gua nggak ngantuk ya bro.
Judi.
Kok nggak ngantuk ya bro?
Itu siapa menang 600.000?
Aduh.
Cium dulu dong botaknya.
This was all the heroes that PSG.LGD wanted. Like Seb touched on, Lycan, Tiny, they invented this. This was the most dominant combo of this tournament, and they beat it.
Dokter Tirta seneng bikin rumah sakit habis ini.
Iya.
Bikin rumah sakit kita boys.
That's crazy.
Namanya doang ngalah ya, tim Spirit. Sulit diduga.
Ya emang. Tolong jangan bilang ngalah ya sih bro. Karena mereka punya semangat.
Oh betul bro, memang timnya begitu
makanya.
sih. Maaf. Mungkin karena aku bermain tanpa Spirit sih.
Berapa juta ya yang paling juara satu ya?
10 juta lah ya. 8 juta.
12. Waduh ya Toro udah di depan.
Waduh udah gatal-gatal tangannya bos. Ini. Mau ini mah. Itu bang. Yang ini
bang apa? Tunjuk
18 juta anjing. 18 juta.
Ini harusnya ngasih nunjuk ke LGD. Mau ini bang.
Oh, mau ini bang. Mau ini bang.
Dari 6 tahun mau ini bang.
Biasa anjing. Yang pundaknya berat sendiri anjing.
Enam tahun kan ya? Ameru gak menang.
Iya.
6 apa 5? 6. Ini nangis bahagia. Nah LGD mana?
Masih gak percaya anjing.
Iya cuy.
Masih gak turun. Aduh.
Loh, aku gak screenshot.
Yang tuh heran deh.
2019, 2018, 2017.
Udah gak ada Cinayer, udah gak
2016 dia
No Cinayer udah.
No Cinayer ini.
Berapa tahun, Cuk?
Nothing Cinayer, nothing to say. Nothing for you.
Cina puasa gelar lagi, coy.
Aduh.
Gila, berapa nih? 18 bagi 5 ini enak kali ini.
Tapi emang ini
gua rada heran deh.
Mainnya kayak Ojin.
Gua rada heran sih. Kalau udah ada per bracket, tapi kok
ini miposkanya sih.
Oke, bros. Menangnya berapa?
Di game ini
18 juta.
Langsung dapat 3.900.000.
Ada translatornya nggak?
Banyak. Langsung uangnya langsung masuk loh dia.
Selfie dulu, Bos. Wawancara nanti ada.
Di Wikipedia ini.
Langsung udah ada pembagian sebelumnya.
Wih, langsung masuk uangnya di Wikipedia, Cok.
Iya, ini
langsung
kayaknya gini.
Banyak duitnya, Cok.
Udah mau bagi duit sebelum menang. Jadi kalau kalah dapat berapa, kalau menang dapat berapa. Biar gak ribut pas habis menang kok ya.
3,7 per orang.
You're so young, and this is only the beginning. What is next for you?
I have no idea actually. I don't have
ini orang gak ngerti Dota sosokan betul RD picking.
Iya, itu udah PSG.LGD tuh menang. Gak ngerti Jo.
Tapi mereka pick ini enggak. LGD kalah karena apa? Tim Spirit lebih bagus. Udah, sesimpel itu aja lu terima anjing.
Bagus emang ini yang aku gak nyangka game satunya itu draftnya bagus banget. Tim Spirit. Bahkan ini gak percaya kalau menang.
Gini Aram, lucu cuman aneh. LGD punya namanya hotel itu lebar. Oke. Bootcampnya lebar. Sementara Team Spirit bootcampnya isi sama dapur.
Oh, absolutely. There is so much going on right now. You just won a huge tournament, the biggest tournament. So to not know is totally fine. Look at your teammates. They are celebrating right now. Do you have anything that you want to say to your fans?
LGD pindah ke toilet gitu anjing. Ngerasain ini kalau kita menang.
Gua kan udah bet apalagi game 3 game 4 aja. 1-2 kan gua Spirit udah profit lah.
A lot of people wrote me a lot of messages.
Besok kan gua tinggal tunggu transferan lu aja.
Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Bayar utang, Bos.
Alright, go ahead and celebrate with your
Ini sih
team.
dibuat gara-gara Piantoro
Once again,
kalahnya
everyone,
botak.
I present to you
Tapi Alliance Lim botak gak menang, Bos.
Itu sih kanker bro, kemoterapi bro. Makanya kalah, karena mainnya juga kanker.
Iya, Cok. Gak mau peluk pula ya,
And
profit.
now, back to you.
Oh, jatuh itu anjing guys.
Bilang,
Allah.
profit yang penting kita menang anjing.
Spirit tuh, gak nyangka banget dah. Dia mengalahkan two-time champions.
Masalahnya ya,
performance from Team Spirit. They pulled through here in this best of 5. They take
Itu
game
cuma
5.
satu
That
orang
was
yang
their
bener
8th game
sampai
of
lower
Dota 2
bracket
they
final.
played today, by the way, and they crushed it.
Prediksinya di
Also,
apalagi
if you were to
kompendium.
look at Team Spirit's team earnings before today, you would have seen
Iya,
that
karena
they
kita
had
nggak expect sih. Gue cuman ya paling dia top 5
Gak ada yang expect
Iya tuh.
$500,000 to their name.
Soalnya ini dia berawal dari tim Yes kan. Kita aja nggak tahu Yes itu apa.
Added to the list, Brian.
Yes,
I mean, this
Yellow
team has
Submarine dari
been
namanya aja
fantastic. They
udah
delivered
norak.
some amazing
Terus
Dota.
tiba-tiba
Yang
direkrut
kemarin itu udah lama aja.
Iya, lama. Itu dari Dota 2 loh. Gue dari SMP. Terus tiba-tiba direkrut jadi Team Spirit ya kan. Habis dari Team Spirit. Terus dia main tuh turne-turne tier 2 di Rusia lawannya Unique, Hellraiser, pokoknya tim Rusia. Bisa mengungguli. Pokoknya dia sama Viking tuh udah kayak rival deh. Pasti ketemu terus di final. Viking bergigi. Terus tiba-tiba masuklah ke ISL.
keluar lah potensinya. Ih, tetap kalah. Karena emang kesalahannya. Tiba-tiba
group of guys to win this. This is so good for the Dota scene. There are so many more tier 2 players out there now that are now inspired to play the game and potentially win a TI. But these guys, you know, we heard the story. They clean up their rooms. They're the nicest guys ever. They're so nice to all the staff or whatever. They anime ran.
Ini sih kalau dibilang MVP-nya ya, kalau dibilang MVP-nya.
Keseluruhan ini
write a better storyline than this.
That's just the
Plannernya
charm of
tuh
this team.
anjing.
They're very
ya
beginning.
Toro nggak bakal
wanted to
seenak itu
record
kalau nggak ada
and-
kolaps.
Honestly, this is a Cinderella story.
Lu mau bilang,
which we have
iya
never
apa ya
seen
Toro
before
base carry
today.
enggak?
They
Ya Toro itu
started
lebih sering di
0-4
mid space daripada
in the
dominasi
groups,
di awal.
and then they just
Sekalinya offlanernya
made it.
nggak
They
dapat
barely made it
space
to upper
kayak
bracket.
pas-pasan
They lose
kalah
their first
doang.
game to
Tapi pas
AG.
udah di mid game itu
2-1, and then
nyeruduk-nyeruduknya
they
gila
just
sih itu.
stomp
Krusial
through the
banget
lower bracket,
anjir.
and here they are. They actually did it, and there's
Itu
something
melihat
so
kesan kayak
emotional about watching a group of
analis-analisnya.
young boys have their
Lu
entire
lebih lihat
lives
ke my
Lesu
prediction.
semua karena
It's a
mereka
feeling that you
ngikutin
can't
gua
really put into
PTLGD
words.
tadi.
I mean, they
Lu
didn't
lebih ke
put it
my
into words.
prediction
They
terus
don't
cek
words
apa
either.
yang
Right?
merah.
They're like on the floors, like,
Karena gue
what
hijau.
just happened? We saw it in the interviews. Like, we're just playing some Dota. They didn't really let it
Bukan
settle in,
apa-apa
right?
nih
When
Selamat,
we
tapi
heard from DM yesterday, he's like, that
Jadi
hasn't settled in. The
heran.
money hasn't settled in. It's just some Dota being played.
Yeah,
main kayak
I mean,
gini.
congratulations.
LGD capek 6 tahun anjing.
Just to be a part of that.
Itu ya dia Allah 5 doang.
I love the raw passion
doang.
of just like hugging
Katanya
the
gua
pasang
5 sama 18 tuh.
feeling that moment because I feel like in order
Katanya
to do what they
katanya
did, you have
Di
to have
VP
this
anjing.
raw
Ya
passion.
percuma
You can't
juga.
just
Itu kan masih belum tahu di VP
you know,
bisa di win
practice
apa
your
enggak.
way to winning a TI
Kalau
like
bisa
that.
mah
You
langsung
can't do
kaya
that.
gua, Jo.
You cannot be robotic. You have to have that human element, the
Masih 300
instinct
di sana.
that comes from the passion. There's no other way.
I just can't even imagine the highs and lows they experienced along the journey, but let alone that best of 5. You go
Yang
up
penting game
2-0,
1,
like we were
2,
talking
3,
about the
4
comeback from
bener.
LGD,
Ya,
but they
yang
lost 2
penting
games
gue
in
mah
a row in a
resultnya aja sih
convincing,
bro. Udah
stomping,
bilang
strategical
ini
fashion.
ini
And I feel like that
Sesuai
one play
benar.
in 19 minutes, it all just changed. You could
Karena
see it in
game
their
1
play.
game 2 tuh
You could
kita
be
nggak
watching this
ngobrol di
Dota game, and you
PC.
just be
Karena
like,
kalau di ngobrol PC lu bisa kata-katain
this is an entirely new team. They are
Game
ready to
5
take this.
bang.
Take this Aegis.
Game
It
1
gave them the
rampage ya.
confidence that they needed.
Apa game 2?
Injected it into them.
Game
They
Game
just they were
tiga,
playing
tiga,
for the
tiga.
win. They
Game
just
3
wanted to
rampage.
do it. And
Game 1.
Oh, game
I
1
don't
sih.
know. It's so hard to explain
Game 1
what we
secret
just
yang
saw,
menang.
but
Game
that was
2
incredible.
Bukan
I
pas
really-
secret, LGD.
Dota is just
Oh, LGD.
It's like
Iya,
it's
kalau-
a really good game,
kalau yang secret,
and
iya.
I also am very
Anu,
happy
Emang
sampai
that
LGD
habis
the
itu.
Dota that we
Enggak,
saw
nggak
throughout
repek
the
game 1
entire
LGD.
tournament.
Gak ada. Gak ada.
Bukan
Gak ada
LGD,
yang
great
TS.
Rampage tuh game 3.
As far
Game
as
3
like as
secret.
Dota goes,
Secret
obviously
Team
Game
if you take
3
a
lawan
look at
Secret
the
yang
teams
rampage.
that he
Oh
got the
gitu
game,
ya
right?
ya.
Ada
Terus
banget tuh Madura, baru gue yang nonton.
Yeah, it's
Gue tim spirit
the
tuh
thing
lu
is,
jangan
it's
salah
like
lu
salahin
baca
gue dong.
You know, we've seen a lot of heroes.
Tadi
get
aku
picked.
kan
I mean, look at the team
baru
that
ke
we
VC
played
pas
about
game 3
70
cok anjing.
different heroes,
Baru makan
even though
sambil
there weren't
makan
70
sambil
games.
apa aku.
But then you also have this development throughout the best of 5 grand
Anjing.
finals,
Gue
where
ntar kalau
the
misalnya
Lycan
punya
Tiny
istri,
was beaten.
gue
The
pengen anak gue pinter, gue
unbeatable
cium, gue pakai
strat
atau
for the unbeatable team was
ayo
beaten
gila.
by
Ketemu
the
LGD sih.
open qualifier team. It's just insane.
Main game
It's insane.
berapa
This
sih?
is like the most balanced patch ever.
The circle of life, right? Like you start the whole tournament, people realize this is the most broken
Empat orang
strat. It
yang
gets banned
predik.
for like almost every
Apalagi?
game throughout the course of the tournament,
Ah,
and you end
Team
the
Spirit
tournament
sampai
with the
di
team
situ.
losing with it.
Kayaknya pemainnya mereka
I
juga
don't
ya.
even think Team
Mereka
Spirit,
mungkin
they
expect-nya
didn't
Team
expect to
Spirit
make
tuh
it this
kalah
far.
antara lawan
They
T1
tweeted,
atau
we never
lawan
thought we would be
Secret.
playing at TI.
Pokoknya tim-tim ini
Ah,
lah.
itu dah.
They
Atau
just came
OG
to
sih,
this
paling gampang OG sih.
tournament to play the best that
Karena
they
dia
could.
ketemu
Soalnya
awal.
mereka
blew
udah
everyone away.
I mean, 4
injak-injak
non-TI
oke
players,
di
and to
easy
just
game
play
kan.
on
Aduh,
TI is good for 4 of them.
OG
And
sih
they
lu
just go and win
together, lu
just like
together
that.
terus
Yeah,
ya
and
lu
Mampir, I
together.
mean, he
Together.
had played at
Together,
TI, but he
Together.
played, he was top 8, and he
Ini
had to play
masalahnya
that
nggak
TI
kain
with the
pot, misalnya
stand-in because
bandaranya
their main
tiketnya
carry
habis,
couldn't
makanya
make it
tadi dia
over.
jadi
Top
analisis
8
bro.
still really good, especially especially
Dia
when you're playing with the
nganalisis
standard,
tim
of
yang
course, but this is a
ngehina dia
captain that
EZ
it's not,
bro.
he didn't come out of
Gua
nowhere.
sih
He's been grinding for a long
di
time,
dalam
but he
hotel
gets the
bro,
right
langsung
players in
naik
his
bro.
squad, and TI finals, here they go, Brian. It's just like that.
We watched them grow throughout the DPC season, we mentioned this entire time, but their identity never changed. It was more like just refining and finding out, like you can see them discovering themselves within the Dota game. Agreed to have followed their journey
Oke.
for this long
Tap, tap,
because
tap, tap.
Ini
it's it's like
orang
seeing
mikirnya
Sumail
juga
at
ya, Ji, ya.
TI5 where he's getting mentored by
Habis
his entire
BO3
team,
sama
but instead
Secret,
of seeing like one youngin come
capek
up
kan.
BO5
from
lagi
that,
sampai lihat
it's like
LGD
four
Nah
of
itu
them.
And an
gue mikirnya
oldie too, so it's
kan
good
game
for everybody.
1 gue makanya
The
milih apa
old Dota players out there, there's
LGD
hope
gara-gara
for you
apa? Ini
too.
sih ini baru main sementara
capek,
sih.
capek
Jadi
kan.
Can we?
seger lah
Iya,
mukanya
apalagi
dengarnya.
kudu konsekuen menang kan dari Secret sama LGD. Itu kan sulit lah, sulit banget lah, apalagi
He
pemain
hasn't
baru.
been
Tapi
forever.
lu
He's
nggak
been
tahu
around for a while.
perjuangannya
That's
League
fair.
sih bro. Dia Lord
I mean,
Breaker
we have Yatoro, of course. You mentioned Sumail. He's the youngest
menang.
player to have ever won
Terus
TI.
pas lawan
Yatoro
final
comes close.
ngebi
He was the
3-0.
youngest player at
Itu
this
Liquid bro.
international at 18 years, and
Pundak
he will
Miracle
with this
pegel.
team take home the
Tapi itu
championship.
Oki
And
gara-gara dia
also
dapat DD sih.
15 different heroes
Oke Dede
in
sama itu
17 games,
apalagi
which I
Kurang
don't think
1 hit atau berapa hit gitu.
timingnya
as a
Pokoknya
TI champ, as a TI
pokoknya
champion, I don't think
tinggal
any
dikit
TI
darahnya,
champion has ever
tinggal
done
dikit
that
darahnya.
throughout a TI.
Langsung omnislice.
Can anybody prove me
iya.
wrong?
He also
Tinggal dikit
only
langsung
rampage.
dia
He also
pencet.
owns half of the rampages TIs ever.
TI main
At this
stage.
Ini
point,
sih
TI main stage.
sosial
He
kreditnya
shaved his
LGD
head
udah
as an
minus sih
offering
bro.
to the
Karena
Dota gods.
5 kali juara
And
2.
I'm a
they
believer.
delivered their blessings.
Oh
and,
enggak Ji,
I
no,
think
juara
as
3-4
far
juga
as
itu.
superstition goes,
Spirit
Iya,
themselves. are
ya
not-
Gaben
kalau belum
giveth
menang sih
you-
tolong bro.
giveth him your hair.
Lu mending ngomong pancerin
Lu
gitu.
Ji, lu mau kasih
well,
gua item
I'm
atau mau
looking forward
mau
to
kasih
finding
gua
out
duit
if
nanti?
next year we're gonna see a
Gue
lot
sih
of
mau kasih
Valhalla
Inaan aja dulu
There's
sih.
gonna be a lot of
Itemnya
balls.
besar.
I mean, we were obviously earlier joking with the
Biar gua
Belarus
storein
versus
sekalian,
Hephaestus, but
Jo.
I mean, there's some form of superstition.
Ya
Obviously,
nih
every player
cuma
has a little
stok.
bit. It comes with competition. You
Udah
gotta
duit
ignore
aja ya.
that, and I'm very excited for Team Spirit was
Berapa
able
sih
to
duit?
make
GoFo
theirs
gua ya.
come true and
Wah,
make
gue
theirs
beneran.
550,
work.
Jo.
And of course, we want to
Kalau
hear more from
50
our
gue bisa
world champions. We want to hear more from Team
60 pak.
Spirit. And that's exactly what we're gonna get
Ya.
because later tonight
Ini ngasih
Kemarin
gue
we
gua
aja.
ngasih
have
lu
what's
berapa
in the name?
bangsat?
Late night.
Ngasih gue berapa sih?
Hello, Slax, how you doing?
5,
Woo!
3,
Shiver, hey everybody on
3,
that panel.
35
My
apa?
goodness gracious,
Berapa
that
sih?
is
Gue
right.
lupa coba
Late
bentar gue cek di
game
story.
is happening
Nah,
apparently
itu
right
3 sama
now. I
28.
thought we were teasing to it, but hell yeah,
Nyantap
let's
juga
get this shit
60-an
on.
gua kasih.
Let's
Masih
do it
di
live,
Salty-Hell
gentlemen.
goblok.
Team Spirit.
Iya,
Actually,
nama lu
look,
apa
we're
sih?
not
Rams ya?
going
Iya,
live.
3. Oh ya.
We're actually gonna pass it back. That's
Anjir,
on
Terus
dari
gua
me.
kasih lu
Mael?
You
gua
can't
kira
tell me I didn't just
gua
tease
kira
you
lu
and make
gak
you
ada
think that you were
modal
watching
anjing.
late game.
Ternyata
We'll
ada
see you
bangsat.
soon. Wrap it up.
Ya, ada
We got a good crew.
there is a will,
Thank you
there
very
is
much,
a
Jake.
spirit.
Yes, so we were just
Gitu,
checking in with Jake,
Ram.
see how he's doing. He's obviously, of course, still
Ya
waiting
Allah.
Di situ
for
ada
those
jalan.
champions to join
Tadi
him
lu lagi
as well, but that should be a great show.
Ini
Late
Ji,
game, of course, will start
kirim
when we
story-nya.
wrap up. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. So I'm going to ask for the final words from all of you
History.
because it's been over
Bro,
2
Kirim
merah.
years in the making, this international 10.
Iya, iya,
But
iya.
it has
ini
come to a
bakal
close. We got our
rusaknya
world champion in
spicy
Team
lah.
Spirit,
Ada
Ryan.
S game ya.
What's your thoughts?
I also just want
Tapi
to give a
mereka
shout
menang
out to
kayak
LGD.
nggak hip banget
I
gitu.
feel like
Kayak
there was a ton of
Iya,
capean
karena
mungkin udah terlalu seneng dan
Ame
nggak bisa
especially
diungkapin sih.
losing a
iya
second
sih.
game 5.
Gak nyangka juga kalau mereka menang kayaknya mereka
They played
sendiri.
amazing throughout the
8
entire tournament.
game
They were the most convincing team I've
sehari
seen in a
penuh
really long
tekanan
time.
anjing.
And
Iya,
it means even
Gua juga
more
habis
that
main
Team
habis
Spirit was
menang
able to
di ini
best
sih
them at
di
their
slot
best
sih.
in game 5.
I just gotta feel bad for them. They worked incredibly hard this entire
Capek.
season, more so than any other team, I would say, just because the sheer amount of pubs that they've played in the last month
Rusaknya
outnumber
mungkin lebih
any
ke
other
after
team.
game-nya.
And but that's just the nature of this game. It's heartbreaking and it's
Gak
painful.
nyangka.
And
Untung tadi pas
it's
ini
gut-wrenching
pas
even,
push
but it brings out all our
Ron
best and all our worst emotions.
sebelum
And
end itu
my
balik
closing thoughts
coba
are,
kalau nggak udah
even though the world changed a little bit, Dota didn't, you know, and we all shared this experience together all over the world, and that was
Witri sama
was
dengan
wonderful, really.
Di kick habis ini, Ame. Waduh.
Yeah, Dota is just the best
Oh,
game.
Ame
It really
itu
is.
nggak
I
bisa
know
di
it's so
kick.
generic, but I
Soalnya
legitimately
gimana
have
ya?
been
Lu
looking
mau
for
nyalain
other
Ame, tapi dia
games
juga
to give me
ngegendong
the
dari upper
high
bracketnya itu.
I came from other
Mereka nggak bisa ke
games that
final
were
kalau
kind
nggak
of
ada Ame.
Enggak, gara-gara Ram
Lebih
bilang bilang with Ritri sama dengan Ame. Jadi apa di kick juga.
Tapi mereka nggak bisa juara
Itu
sih bro.
Karena dia juga.
Draftnya, gue lebih bilang tadi draftnya sih. Niatnya pakai Skyward biar apa lagi lawan Ember, gak ada guna. Bener kan?
Ketangkep sama Magnus terus.
Ditangkap sama Magnus terus.
Dibawa ke air. Oh, pulang mas, pulang ke negaramu.
Ini mah bukan ini airline lagi. Magnus
Airport.
Ini sih Garuda Indonesia bro. Kolaks Indo Pipe tuh.
Beneran Tini Airline yang make Tini Airline.
Ini Ji, lu mau kasih gua nanti 61 atau 68
LGD.
That is the end of the road facing second place.
dulu ya.
It's still
Ini
really
masih belum
good.
semua.
You're still
Belum
second place.
semua
It's still
ini.
really good, but the
Nggak mau
players
syukuran dia.
and all their fans will probably not accept that as being really good until a
Wallet
little
Nggak ada
bit down the
syukur-syukuran.
road.
Gua
Takes
ada
a little
hobi baru.
time to
0,5
sink
gitu.
in, I would imagine.
Jadi
A lot to
300.000
process,
harga
for sure. A lot to
150.
process for Team Spirit and their
Menghisap
fans
aja
as
sih.
well, because TI1 was the only TI ever taken home by the Eastern
Ada Yi,
European.
ada
Game 5 nggak
Hari.
masuk akal. Katanya game 5 nggak masuk
Since then, they've
akal.
come
Ada
closer.
Yi, ada
TI2,
Hari.
Nggak tahu
TI3,
ya.
but then
Abis
since
ini
then,
nih kok
Itu ya
gendut.
Toro.
nothing. TI6 or
Pas
rather
lagi
top
sebelum
6
main dia langsung Jujutsu
some
Kaisen
other
langsung
TIs
jago
with the Virtus Pro
anjing.
squad, but Team Spirit here, they take it home, and we're gonna find
Ini ya
out if
Toro.
if they have fully accepted yet that they
Gua nggak
have this
terlalu ngitungnya
victory
Toronya
in the
Ji,
bag. Like
beneran.
nobody
Itu
can take
sih
that away
apalagi
from them anymore.
Olendernya
That
Cok.
Aegis is there.
Apa ya?
Collapse ya.
So we are gonna say
Yang bikin
goodbye
rempek
here
bener-bener rempek
from
tuh
the
cuman
desk
yang
as
gue
we
nonton sih yang
prepare for
game
late game.
satu
Thank you
IG
so
itu doang
much for
sih.
tuning
Itu
in.
yang bener-bener
It's been an absolute blast.
kata-katain
Late game will
rampage
be
gitu.
there
Cuman
with your
yang
champions, Team
gimana sih?
Spirit. Congratulations once again.
Sisa-sisanya tuh gara-gara
Lu liatin aja itu ya Toro buka ultinya ya Tuhan, timingnya pas betul Cok.
Iya,
Orang tim mana aja Cok.
Labs lebih ini anjing, lebih pas lagi kok.
Timingnya bener banget.
Dan siapa yang mau ditangkap juga
Nyulik.
bener terus gitu
Nyuliknya juga bangsat.
Gak justru bikin kalah. Kadang kan nyulik malah dikompor. Ini
Gua
enggak.
dan teman-teman gua sedang merayakan LGD kalah.
Buat viewer-viewer yang dukung LGD,
Ya, nggak apa-apa sih. Indo Pride kita T1 kalah. Yang penting ada Dokter Tirta ya, bisa membantu.
Kita turut menang. BTW ya, Hari ngirim halo ke kamu Kak Mai.
Harinya Hari Panca ya bro. Itu
Nggak tahu,
center dunia lain bukan?
Viewerku.
Ya.
LGD hadir. Gak dibales sih. Oh mending kirim donasi katanya. Ih, jangan cuma halo doang. Mana tuh? Mana donasinya? Cuma Yol cantik doang yang donasi.
Ini yang
Anjir, aku mungkin gak akan muncul lagi di Discord. Thank you guys.
Kenapa? Ame suami gue. Ame gue injek aja. Sama Dokter Tirta no, sama Kadel Plangas.
Kenapa begitu Hari? Kenapa kamu? Kenapa? Ada salam perpisahan. Aku bakal pindah ke Discord satunya untuk mendengarkan.
Pindah. Kita sudah cukup senang bro.
Sudah tercapai lah ya.
Bukan hari ini.
Bukan Dino Acur lagi.
Hari hancur. Wah, bukan Dino hancur dong.
Gak ada yang ganti apalagi emot gua ya di sini.
Adanya ini bro, emot strike kemarin ada tuh.
Emot Pepu point ini ya paling ngeselin aja.
Hari akan berinkarnasi menjadi Niko gendut.
Weh sih kalau gini ada kepikiran ngorok nggak sih?
Coba baca Ji di general Ji.
Gak bisa tidur dah padahal ngebet.
Wah, gua
mana Tot kirim donasi Tot, tak kirim pap kalau kamu mau sama Tot. Asu.
Kirim donasi ke Nur.
Ke aku yang streaming anjing. Kenapa ke dia? Tak kirim pap dah kalau mau. Apa yang kamu minta? Aku cosplay.
Pakai baju merah putih.
Pakai apa?
Coba Ji, baca Ji apa yang gua tulis di general Ji. Bener gak?
Mending lu biar aku denger kamu ngomong apa.
Nah,
Donasi terus ada teksnya tuh tak baca.
Gua bukan tim Spirit. Tapi kalau gua cuan dari tim Spirit,
gua gitu tim Spirit paling atas.
Gua paling depan. Bawa bendera slang ngebela tim Spirit.
Ji, coba baca chat gua di FB.
That's insane. There are 4 Royal Roaders. I don't know what's happening.
It's absolutely nuts. Bruno, you're a boomer. Do you feel the Zoomers? The
Pada
Zoomers came
dimensionnya
in
Toronto
sweet. It's
Tokyo.
been a rough 2 years for boomers, let me tell you. But this, especially even here in
Balas aja
Dota,
langsung
they're
di
in
Facebook.
danger.
Oh, ya
No,
udah.
this is
Oke.
actually
Udah.
fantastic, and I was trying to think back to when was the last time that we saw something like this.
Di tim
You know
Spirit
what? Actually, I
kuda
realized
hitam.
that every TI had his
Terima
story.
kasih yang udah menonton.
Iya.
Kalau ada yang
Gua
nonton.
nanya doang.
When the Chinese
Gua
scene
nggak
was
suka gitu.
overwhelming Dota.
Bye-bye.